is this?
Living in the city.
It's like a roller coaster.
Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield has been the bane of my existence recently. I mean, who knew that all you had to do to tear a fanbase apart was simply not give a shit? From the National Dex removal, to the Mega Evolution removal, to the contests removal, to the Triple Battles removal, to the Walking Pokemon removal, there were a lot of removals, alright? I really didn't want to support Game Freak or the Pokemon Company this time around after seeing what I had seen, so I thought, hey, I won't pre-order them or anything, I'll just get them secondhand or something. But then I thought, will I get that sweet YouTube cash money if I don't do it on time? I mean, it could be a few days, a few weeks, before I even find a copy, let alone get it delivered to my house. So here it is, Pokemon Shield. Yes, I am part of the problem. But why is there a problem? Why is this game one of the most controversial games of all time? Well, I'll tell you in this very video. Stick around. Also, you might have realized that while it was my intention to film, edit, and upload a video as quickly as possible, it's been a fair while, hasn't it? That's because I had to be a special snowflake and do a Nuzlocke. It wasn't the whole reason, but yes, it was part of the problem. If you're unfamiliar with a Nuzlocke, it's basically a self-enforced set of rules to make the game harder. The main three being, if a Pokemon faints, it's dead. Put it in the box, can't be used again. You can only catch the first Pokemon you encounter in each route, not including the ones before you obtain any Pokeballs. And lastly, if you lose to a trainer, game over. Restart the entire game. I might have... But more on that later. Let's get started with the beginning of the game, the bit where it asks what gender you are, and which of the 4 identical faces you want to pick. Listen, sorry to be a negative Nancy already, but how hard would it have been for Game Freak for their big switch outing to add in a simple character creator? One of these young strapping lads is meant to be me, right? Well, I have long hair, so instantly I can't relate on the level that they want me to. Unless they want me to relate to them on skin color? Shit, Sonic Forces had a character creator for crying out loud. You add an eye color, skin color, haircut, and hair color option, and then bam, instant improvement. And it wouldn't even take that long to implement, seeing as those options are already in the game. Just as a disclaimer for basically this whole video, I'm not upset or angry at the lower class workers at Game Freak, you know, the people who you have to code in the new Pokemon, or the artists, the designers, the route level people. Yeah, you know, not upset at any of those. You know, there's a lot of jobs there where I'm sure they're doing what they can to the best of their ability in the small time frame they had. I'm more upset at the ones calling the shots, you know, the higher ups, the ones like, you know, creating shortcuts in order to save a few dollar bills. Arr, I gotta get me money for me Krusty Krab. Just keep that in mind while I go through this. Thank you to everyone at Game Freak who are working their hardest while this is all going on. But those rich bastards at the top shaving bits off the Pokédex and rushing production? Well, you can just jog on, mates. I'd also like to point out that, literally minutes after I'd finished this gargantuan script, there was a Pokemon Direct, and I've opted to mostly leave out that information until the very end of the video, unless I contradict myself or unless I thought there was something I could talk about, such as, well, I won't say because it will be coming up in the video. So the game starts off without an introduction from the professor, instead opting in for a YouTube video. Guess they wanted the extra ad revenue, those greedy sons of bitches. Is that a fucking mouse cursor? At first I thought it was part of the cutscene, you know, seeing as this is a website and all. But then the mouse just vanishes suddenly. It doesn't click play on the video or anything, just... I really hope that was intentional. The introduction's being done this time by the president of something, I've forgotten because it's not memorable in the slightest. Anyway, he explains to the crowd of Galarians all about the region of Galar. Maybe the intro could have been a little more thought out. I'm pretty sure these people know Pokemon exist, dude. They're here to see a Pokemon battle. The suave man's name is Chairman Rose, and he'll be our villain for this evening. Yep, it's that obvious. It's actually one of the first things I wrote in my script. It's right there. And I just, what did they expect? I took one look at his Hunger Games ass beard and it was all over, baby. This cutscene tries its hardest to put us in the mood, to get us all excited to start our Pokemon adventure, but I'll be honest, it comes off cheap. Really cheap. Despite this being the Nintendo generation where every other game is making a huge effort to reach high levels of quality, Pokemon doesn't even bother with any voice acting. Hey, I get it. Pokemon has never had any voice acting. I know. But Pokemon has never had cutscenes like this either. They have Rose mouthing nothing at us while people scream and cheer in the background, and you can hear all the sound effects and Pokemon noises. It doesn't seem right. In previous games, the intro cutscene was mostly a static image of the professor on a white background, basically, and there was only a few sound effects here and there, like a Pokeball bounce or a Cincino scream, to name a few. Now they have a fully animated cutscene with literally every sound effect under the sun, and only one missing. The voices. But not the crowd's voices. Because everyone in the Galar region has a voice except for Rose here. Reminds me of that one cutscene in Sonic Generations where the Eggmans are meant to be arguing with each other from afar so we can't hear their voices, but for some reason we can still hear their footsteps.
You were the one who said you saw a door over here. Well, I know it was one of us. Shut up and keep looking.
Even Zelda got voice acting this time. For fuck's sake, Black and White 2 had more voice acting than this game. Elisa's gym, you know? Are you ready? And Roxy singing. The P-O-K-E-M-O-N! Pokemon! Also, not kidding around, that singer has the cutest voice ever. Give the Japanese version a listen when you can. In fact, give the whole soundtrack a listen. Just fucking...
Play the game already! Play the game already!
Once that's over, the game really starts off, presenting us with pretty much what every other Pokemon game's done since inception. Meet with rival, get starter Pokemon, start gym badge collecting adventure. I thought for a while the Pokemon games were going to try introducing our starters in different ways. Emerald had us save a Professor, Platinum had us steal them, but ever since Black and White they've always been a gift, no exceptions. A bit disappointing if you ask me. Our rival this time is called How. He's actually called Hop, but he is so similar to How in every way I was accidentally calling him that up until the 4th gym. I mean, look, he even moves similarly. Wow, what a coincidence. That's definitely not a copied animation. Also, it turns out he came over here to get big, thick. I thought it was funny at the time. So it turns out that How's brother, Leon, the champion of the Galar region... I said How again, didn't I? Hop's brother, Leon, the champion of the Galar region, is visiting home and has a present for us. Oh boy, I wonder what it could be! It's a fireplace that's built into the house. It keeps things warm in the harshest winter. And I'm sure it would be used a lot more if Game Freak hadn't removed Seasons 3 generations ago. Of course, we're doing a Nuzlocke, so I'll be changing the battle style to set, meaning I won't be given the option to switch my Pokemon out every time I KO one of the opponent's Pokemon. I mean, even if you're not doing a Nuzlocke, you should change this option here anyway. It'll prepare you a little better for the online play. You also get a few more options here which haven't been in previous games, like autosave, which if you're saving to an SD card, it'll corrupt the files on it, forcing you to re-download everything on it all over again. Oops. Casual controls, if you want to play one-handed like in Pokemon Let's Go. Monstrosity, I'm sure I'll speak about one day. An option to skip movies, which skips about 3 whole cutscenes in the entire game, so no, this will not make subsequent playthroughs any more tolerable, trust me, I have a lot of experience with this. And some X and Y controls for the camera, which in itself only works in one small section of the game. That's right, folks, incredibly restricted camera control in my 2019 Switch game from a company with so much money they're fucking drowning in it. Oh, bloody hells, I hear you saying. Are there any options you don't find infuriating? Well, yes, I'm glad you asked. You can actually speed the text up, like in every Pokemon game. Although, actually, I mean, why is it fast the default? I mean, we all switch to it, you know we do. You know what I will say, though? The area around my house here, the house itself, looks quite nice. Nothing mind-blowing, but it's pleasant. No problems there. We meet Hop in another cutscene down the steps because heavens forbid I take 2 steps by myself. And off we go. Our Pokemon adventure awaits. Are you actually... Are you fucking kidding me? Hey, I get it. I get it. Poppin' happens. Sometimes a console struggles to keep up with what's happening on screen. Or the game just isn't optimized properly, leading sometimes to graphical problems, like the odd texture popping into existence after a camera cut or something. But this isn't that. That kind of popping will stay after it appears. So this is intentional. This is what you'd see back in Superman 64 if they hadn't fogged up the whole place. Heck, game devs back in the PS1 and N64 eras were trying their very best to fit as much shit on the screen as they could without slowing down the performance. They turned textures into models as you got closer. Models would switch to a lower polygonal version if you got a certain distance away from them. Shit like that. That's what this is, isn't it? Like, we've all seen the triple battles back in X and Y, etc. Yeah, we know that Game Freak ain't the best at optimization, but that was on the 3DS. With the future-proof models that they have, sure, I understand, they're big models with a lot of polygons, maybe too much for the 3DS to handle that many at once. This is the Switch, though. It can run Smash Bros at 60 FPS without any frame drops. Meanwhile, Pokemon can't even get a small crowd on the screen without it tanking. What are they doing over there? It not only looks bad, but it's actively taking me out of the experience. I can't. Forget it. Forget that the sheep is now flashing. What? So here I am in Hop's house. Looks like the champion is a big fan of his hentai. Wow. Our choice of starters this time is Grookey, the green monkey, Scorbunny, the white bunny, and Sobble, the thing. It was a tough choice because I disliked them all so equally, but in the end I went with Grookey. Called him Pistachio. Hop picked Sobble because I guess they want this game to be even easier than normal. That's just silly. The last rival to do that was... Hang on a second. I will say, however, that compared to the other starters, which have been cut from the game because of course they have, Grookey, Scorbunny, and Sobble are far more expressive in their animation specifically. Wow. I really like how Scorbunny actually runs up to its opponent and kicks them. That's a really neat animation. Now, if that love and care could be put into every other animation in the game, now that'd be really something to talk about. Scorbunny ends up going with Leon, much like how the remaining starter ends up with Kukui in Sun and Moon. Did they just edit the Sun and Moon script? Actually, the similarities to Sun and Moon in this game don't end there. Like, they are scarily close. Generally speaking, they've ditched the old gym style in favor of something slightly different. They've taken away older mechanics and implemented a gimmick which will be forgotten by the next game. Unless Let's Go Mareep and Marill comes out soon. Maybe then they'll sneak in a Z move or two. Hop is basically How, Leon is essentially Kukui in more ways than one. There's a mean rival who ends up redeeming himself one way or the other. There's a good guy who turns bad guy. There are bad guys that turn good guys. The evil team this time are just troublemakers without a real plan. I could go on. Sorry for spoiling the whole Chairman Rose thing, but honestly, you knew he was a villain from the moment you set eyes on the bastard. Don't give me that shit. I saw it straight away and I'm a fucking moron. So we battle Hop. Yeah, he's even got some squash and stretch going on. Why can't Pokemon be animated like him? Hop has a really nice theme to go with his battles. In fact, the majority of the music in this game, specifically the battle themes, are really, really good. I'm talking some of the best music we've heard in Pokemon so far. Actually, they've been knocking it out of the park recently. You know, Howl's battle theme, Gladion's battle theme, the Kahuna battle theme, Zinnia's battle theme, the Team Magma / Aqua leader theme, Diantha! Whew, that was a hard one. Hop has 2 Pokemon for the first fight instead of the regular 1. And at first I thought this might prove a bit of a bigger challenge than usual until I realized the point of the second Pokemon was to fatten you up so you could take out a starter with a new move. I also thought I got lucky with a critical hit on my second turn, but then on my second playthrough I got another one at the same time. And then I asked someone else and they also had a critical hit there as well. And I bet anyone who thought they got lucky there is now also disappointed. You're very welcome. I mean, it's a tutorial battle, so it makes sure you know about, regular moves, critical hits, and super effective moves. So it does that well, I guess. I just like being a grumpy old man. In this region, you can't just start the gym challenge whenever you like. Instead, you need to get endorsed by someone. Hop and I get endorsed by the champion right away, and so there goes any semblance of differentiation. I thought I was going to need to earn it or something for a second there. Bede gets endorsed by the chairman, and I'm assuming Marnie was endorsed by... I guess she was endorsed by a gym leader. That'll come up later, by the way. They never actually tell us who exactly can endorse you, or if they do, I wasn't paying attention, or that information might have been secretly hidden away like the sound options. What were they thinking? You can't even change them in a town, so I just forgot about them. It was only my second playthrough I realized they just add them to the options menu. I thought you had to use the item for fuck's sake. But before we can start our gym challenge, it looks like a Wooloo has wandered into the slumbering Weald. Ooh, how spooky. Is that how you say Weald? Wald? Hop wants to go in and save it because apparently dangerous Pokemon live there. Oh, shit! To be honest, I think the Wooloo kind of deserves it. After all, it was trying to desperately get in. Like, who's to say it won't just do this immediately again afterwards? Fuck, how far did we walk? Fog just doesn't roll in like this, you know. Oh, wait, England. After my first wild Pokemon battle, doesn't count for the Nuzlocke because I can't catch anything yet because I got no balls. That came out wrong. We head further into the woods. Or Hop heals my Pokemon. Seriously, dude, I took like... Actually, I didn't take any damage at all. Why are you wasting my time? As we wander further in, the mist gets thicker and thicker, and I mean, that's great for me, that's right up my alley. But soon enough, we run into the legendary on the box. It's him! It's kind of him! Yeah, he's looking a little malnourished here. In fact, so much our attacks just phase right through him like he's not even there. In fact, while we're talking about the legendary, this box art is rubbish. Out of everything they could have gone with for the box art, this is what they go with. It's boring, it's bland, and I wish they'd just stop with this sort of thing. I mean, I don't like Ultra Suns and Ultra Moons any more than these two, but at the very least they had a proper background. I would much prefer a proper artwork with lots of detail rather than a stock image of the legendary Pokemon every time. And while we're on the topic of boxes, we don't need two versions of the same game anymore. We never really did, but it's been so successful, and because it's Pokemon, it's kind of just been brushed under the rug by the majority of fans. Heck, many of them buy the double pack, no discount or anything, just two of the same game together in a pack. Do you even know what you get in the other versions? About 15 different Pokemon, plus their evolutions, and 2 different gym leaders. That's it. No, really. You're paying an extra $60 for the same game, which in my opinion isn't even worth $60 in the first place. Could you imagine if Game Freak had made this DLC instead of a whole nother version? The Sword expansion for $60? Unlock 15 new but mostly old Pokemon and fight 2 new gym leaders. People would go fucking bananas. You can't even use the excuse that you'll have an extra save file this time around because you can have as many as you want this time. And not because the game actually supports multiple save files, you're still going to make an extra account, but still, you're crazy, all of you. Anyway, we both get knocked out. Wait, if we fainted, then does that mean the Nuzlocke's over?
Can you see?
Charizard eyes up a woolly snack. Mum calls me her little big thick, that's one for the books. And I'm off on my Pokemon adventure. Damn it, Hop, I know, whatever you're gonna say, I know! I still don't have any Pokeballs, so no catching yet, I'm afraid. But I do, however, get to see the Tail Whip animation Game Freak was so proud of. They thought this was a selling point. So basically, the way battle animations work in this game is, depending on whether the move is special or physical, each Pokemon has one animation for each, with the game adding an extra special flair on top for each of them, such as Tail Whip's turnaround. Okay, so let's say I'm a Pokemon, and I've got 2 animations, one for physical and one for special. So let's say my physical one is for Scratch or Mega Punch, is like this. Simple enough, right? It'll look good. But even when I'm using moves like Karate Chop or Flying Kick or whatever, I'll still do that move. Like, for example, Fire Punch will just be with like those little extra flames. That's how the special effect works. That's how they get away with all that, because every move looks different, but it's actually just got a extra special effect over the top. For example, if I use my special move, let's say for special moves like Water Gun or Thunderbolt is this, I don't know why I would make a noise. Then every time I do Water Gun or Thunderbolt, I'll do that animation. For status moves, they don't have their own animation, so they just use the special move animation and expect it to look good. See, it just doesn't work. Don't even get me started on moves like Double Kick or fucking Beat Up. Hey, see this gap? We soon meet up with the professor's granddaughter Sonia, but let's be honest, they shoved the old woman aside with such a vigor it was obvious that Sonia was going to take over the position eventually anyhow, even to the dullest of folks. And she installs the Pokédex on our Rotom phone. Yet another similarity to Sun and Moon. And speaking of the Pokédex, it's about time to get into that whole shit show. For one reason or another, money! The higher-ups at Game Freak decided to chop the Pokédex in half for this game, with no way to transport older Pokemon to it in the future. First of all, their excuse they gave about having to remake the models? Complete bullshit, being proven before the games were even released. This is either A, because they were rushing the shit out of this game and didn't want to spend any extra money to hire any more employees to finish all the Pokemon on time, or B, they're trying to get you to pay for a subscription to Pokemon Home, which will essentially be the new Pokemon Bank with a few more features, so they can keep your old Pokemon hostage until they deemed acceptable to put a few of them in future games. And by the way, they're refusing to update Sword and Shield with the missing Pokemon, so B is the only logical answer. For fuck's sake, somebody's already hacked in a Pokemon which wasn't even hidden away in the files, which some are, like Squirtle and Bulbasaur. Heck, from what I've seen, Lunala is there with its special move just ready to go. It's a big fuck you to your fans, especially when Game Freak is pushing the trope that your Pokemon are special to you, and that's why you should use your favorites. The only reason they're telling us that is so we buy a subscription to Pokemon Home. And for you future people out there, if it turns out that it's not a subscription-based service, then I'll be bloody surprised if there isn't some sort of microtransaction bullshit going on. Just for fun, I've compiled a list of some of my favorite Pokemon that I can no longer obtain in any way in Sword and Shield, forever. Sandshrew and Sandslash, Igglybuff, Jigglypuff, and Wigglytuff, Poliwag, I just like Poliwag, the Slowpoke line, yes I know it's back in, this was before the DLC, okay, just making that clear, fucking Lickitung, I love Lickitung, Dratini and Dragonair, Sentret and Furret, it looks like Furret will just have to keep on walking until the next game, if they put him in the next one that is, the Mareep line, Marill and Azumarill, the Hoppip line, really? Really? Apom? I don't care much for Ambipom, but I like Apom. Misdreavus and Mismagius, Girafarig, Slugma, Magcargo, Miltank. Actually, ever since Miltank went 3D, it kind of creeps me out. Poochiena and Mightyena, the Wurmple line, Shroomish and Breloom. No Skitty, seriously. Zangoose is gone too, he was a good one. No Chimecho, no Chingling, are they fucking mad? Spill! How could they? Well, I don't even know how Salamence didn't get in, I guess they're saving him for the next one. Shieldon and Bastiodon! Are you fucking kidding me? The literal Shield Pokemon didn't make it into Pokemon Shield! Garchomp's gone too, next game, I promise you. I actually really like Tangrowth, but I feel like I'll be the only one mourning him today. The Lillipup line, really? It's based on a Yorkshire Terrier, for fuck's sake, an English dog. Fuck me, Game Freak. Scolipede, the Swaddle line, the Sandile line, Zoroark, Bean Shao. I hope that's the way you say that. It's another favorite of mine. Volcarona. Oh god, Gen 6. Klefki, I guess? They didn't put in Lurantis. Yeah, sure, put in Thick Thighs over there, but just skip over the superior Gen 7 Grass-type Pokemon. As you might be able to tell, I'm fond of many different Pokemon. The fact that there are literally less than half of all Pokemon in these two games is just astonishing to me. And weirdly enough, they missed out on so many British-inspired Pokemon, it's fucking mind-boggling. I've already talked about Lillipup, Herdia, and Stoutland, but maybe Snubble? English Bulldog? Swanna? Maybe? You know, for the Queen's fucking Swans? I know that previous gens didn't have a full deck centered around the region they were based on, you know, there was no Baguette Pokemon in X and Y, and I'm sure there were some Pokemon excluded that would be a perfect fit in France, but in previous gens, the Pokemon weren't limited to the regional decks. In any other Pokemon game, if I wanted something I thought would fit, I could go and fucking trade it over. I would have rather have had them just reboot Pokemon entirely and give us an all-new set than have this shit. Oh, and almost forgot, they tried to keep this a complete secret from their Japanese audience. Needless to say, they weren't feeling good about that. And to whoever started the thank you Game Freak tag on Twitter, I get what you were going for. I think the workers over there definitely deserve a pat on the back, assuming they're as overworked as I think they are, but all this hashtag did was give the higher-ups the go-ahead they've been waiting for. The sign saying, hey guys, you can literally release whatever shit you want now because people will shill for you no matter what you do. Any excuses they've given us have either been lies or just pathetic. I miss Generation 5 Game Freak. Back when they gave a shit. Back when they had the idea to make a sequel instead of a half-baked update and sell it all over again. Not that any of what I'm saying matters. This game, I'll say like it's a singular thing because it is, sold incredibly well. Of course it did. Fuck, I can't say I helped. Maybe I can change some of your minds anyway. What I'd like to know is how other Nintendo developers feel about this. The devs who put so much passion, hard work, and time into each game to make it as perfect as it can be. How do they feel about this? How does Nintendo feel? I doubt anything will happen. If anything, it'll be thanks to the Japanese fanbase, not the American or British, European, you know. It's kind of like in Final Fantasy XIV. They swear they're cracking down hard on bots farming gil, and oh, they are in the Japanese servers. But in the American servers, oh boy, that is horrifying. Occasionally you'll just see them flying over the hills, just unbound by the laws of physics. Anyway, Pokemon. I just got the Pokédex, so that's pretty cool. I head back to Route 1 so I can catch my very first Pokemon. Well, second, I guess. Remember, I'm only allowed to catch the very first Pokemon I encounter in that route. If it faints or I run away, there's no do-overs. And it's a Nickit, a Dark-type fox-looking thing. Call her Saxophone. Don't know why, and that's that. You might have already noticed the Pokemon wandering around in the tall grass. It's the same way wild battles were handled in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and well, call me an old stick in the mud, but I wish there was an option, and I repeat, just an option, to turn it back to the old style. I just feel like the surprise is kind of ruined for me when I can see most of the Pokemon that'll be appearing right away. You can run into these exclamation point rustling patches to initiate a battle as well, but it's not really the same. Usually it'll be a Pokemon that doesn't actually appear in the overworld though, so at least that's something. However, it kind of negates the whole point of Pokemon being in the overworld if you can't see them all and you have to rely on RNG anyway. It does make the world seem somewhat inhabited by Pokemon, but the render distance breaks the immersion so much it feels almost pointless. I was debating to myself whether or not I would catch the first Pokemon I see instead of actually touch, but I figured that there's probably a lot of Pokemon that don't show up in the overworld, as I said before, and yeah, there turned out to be actually a surprising amount of them. If I'd stuck to only catching the very first Pokemon I saw, I'd have never caught Pokemon like Phalanx or Stunfisk. Some Pokemon also have distinct movements, which are pretty neat, like some will run after you and attempt to fight you, others will run around just randomly, and others might run away from you, or even attempt to trap you. Route 2! Oh, wait, hang on, there's a town in between the two routes, isn't there? I forgot about it. So, Wedgehurst, the first town. It's a little odd that you don't start out in a town yourself, but it's so close to your house anyway, it doesn't really matter. That's actually another weird issue I have here. Humans and houses have all been scaled to realistic proportions, but the routes between towns are still as small as ever, really. So, in fact, some towns are so small you wonder why it's even called a town in the first place. You know what, if you let me leap ahead a bit, the largest town, no, city in the Galar region is smaller than the largest city in the Kalos region. Wait, did I say Kalos? Sorry, I mean Unova. You know, the one on Nintendo DS. But hey, more on that later. Wedgehurst has a variety of buildings, like the train station, the Pokemon lab, the Pokemon Center, a clothing shop, and like 2 houses, I think. Okay, I just checked and it turns out that there is only a singular house in Wedgehurst. The other building I thought was a house was a berry shop. So there's a total of 1 customer for the train station, a Pokemon Center, a clothing shop, and a berry shop. And I also found out that apparently the location our house is in is called Postwick. Not a town, a location. But that's really odd, at least to me. Could the house have not just been on Route 1? Anyway, I did go and buy some berries and clothes in Wedgehurst. 1 black hat, a shuckle shirt, some yellow pants, and some white loafers later. Bam! Mildly different costume. There, of course, isn't a hair salon in this town, so we can't change our hair, but on we go. Route 2. What amazing new Pokemon designs await us. Oh, how hot is that? So because it was the first Pokemon we encountered on Route 2, Abomination has joined the team. I hope he faints soon. To whoever designed him, what? Why just stretch his head? Then the game proceeded to zoom in on the small child. I would say that this action was somewhat suspicious, but I think it was just amazed at how the child managed to will himself into existence in the blink of an eye. So youngster Jake Paul challenges us to a battle, and we're treated to a brand new battle opener. A battle opener which seems to lower the frame rate. Is that just me? It happens every single time a battle begins, so I'm really wondering whether it's just because the game can't handle the backgrounds moving, or if it just looks that way because, I don't know, maybe the effect playing behind the trainers is just a lower frame rate. Or maybe it's all in my head, I honestly can't tell. I should probably mention at this point that for some reason a bunch of my recordings were recorded terribly. Thanks, Elgato! So occasionally you might see the odd glitch or two. Damn, even the Elgato doesn't want to play this game. Thankfully this thing sort of stopped happening around the second gym. And hey, guess what? You can sit on benches again, just like an X and Y. But unlike an X and Y, they don't offer you a new camera angle to admire the scenery or anything, so they're kinda pointless. But hey, you start the game with a fishing rod this time, so you can fish whenever you like. At these very specific designated areas. Okay. So Hop and I have another battle in front of Leon and the Professor to show him that we're ready to be endorsed for the gym challenge. Hop says, "It's time for my legend to begin!" That's Hop's voice, apparently. Hop, you're gonna go down the route of every other recent rival. Don't get your hopes up like that, buddy. Now, one thing I learned in this battle against Hop, Nick, it sucks. Real bad. Terrible attack, terrible defense. This thing's a bigger liability than my goddamn Stretcho bug. And here's that thing that babies have when they're birthed. You know how their head compresses? Hop then pretends he's How again, and 2 wishing stars fall onto the ground 5 meters away from us. The wishing stars can be turned into Dynamax wristbands so you can use the new gimmick of the game, but shit, they didn't even try this time, eh? Like, in X and Y you get the Mega Ring by battling your rival for it, because Gherkin... Really? His name was Gherkin? Okay, Gherkin only had 1, and in Sun and Moon you get your Z-Ring from a sparkling stone you receive from the legendary Pokemon Tapu Koko for saving a Cosmog. Sword and Shield? Falls from the fucking sky. Are you kidding me? I just... Anyway, the Professor gives us our big boy bands, and I pressed Y to check out why there was a prompt at the bottom of my screen. So this is the Y-Com, here to replace the PSS from the 3DS games. Doesn't do a really good job of replacing it. You've got your standard trade and your wonder trade, which they renamed to surprise trade. Your normal battling mode, you can choose a picture for your profile. Not sure why you can't just pick your fucking avatar. You can't choose to look like NPCs you can pick from here online, so like... You can search up stamps, I don't actually know what that does. Oh, stamps are those stupid things that show up when you catch Pokemon and things. And swap trainer cards, which I will show off later. Now you might have realized the one thing that's missing here, and that's right, the GTS, the Global Trade System. The only place you can go looking for a level 3 Rattata to find a 4-year-old who wants a Mewtwo in exchange. Keep trying, Billy. I'm sure someday someone will fall for it. The GTS is apparently coming back via Pokemon Home, but as I said, I don't exactly have high hopes for that being a customer-friendly service. But we'll see when it comes out, I guess. It's very suspicious that they'd hold off on the GTS to roll it out with something which, at the time of recording, nobody even knows all that much about, even now that the DLC has been announced. As it stands though, there's really no need for the GTS anyway, unless you want a Pokemon from another country so you can hatch shinies more effectively. Because you won't be able to trade Pokemon from future games to Galar, there really isn't any need for it, and that's why there's no GTS. Figured it out, folks. Hop then stops us before we can head back to... Oh, I guess the Elgato doesn't want to hear it. Alright. Okay, nice. Skip the boring tutorial talk, I see. So Hop and I take the train out to the wild area just outside of Motorstoke. I receive an EV from a random dude just standing there, probably because of the Let's Go save data on my Switch. Actually, that reminds me, I also received a special Meowth. I hear that it can completely break the game and give you infinite cash using its Dynamax form, but in this Nuzlocke, we ain't using any gift Pokemon, so into the box with both of you. So anyway, we're in the wild area. After a bit of chatting with Sonia, in which she telekinetically moves her hair around. Couldn't even animate the humans right, huh? Feels like it's turning into a .exe game. Sonia hands us the box link, which allows you to transfer Pokemon in and out of the box on the fly. Pretty cool addition, however it does make the game yet again just a bit easier. Speaking of easier, I just realized I was meant to turn off the XP share. Up until now, all my Pokemon have been getting XP without actually needing to participate. Let me just... Oh wait, that's right, you can't turn it off. You heard me right, folks. Pokemon, the series all about playing your way, the series all about creating and keeping bonds with Pokemon new and old, have completely disregarded both of those things I just said. Okay then, it's not even an item. What? Why? I don't understand. In all of the 3DS games you could turn it off. Why is this game so limiting and frustrating? What could honestly be the problem with allowing people to turn it off? Game Freak was actually asked about this, whether or not you could turn it off like in previous games. They said no, of course. Well, thank goodness they didn't at least lie. Again. But when they were asked what you could do if you only wanted one Pokemon to get experience, you know what they said? Just have that one Pokemon in your team. Fucking words of wisdom there. Hey, no fucking shit, but maybe I don't want to do that. Oh shit, I found it. The Tree of Legends. You know that modders have already made this tree look 10 times better, right? This ocarina-ass looking tree is no excuse to be as ugly as it is. You can also shake a very different looking tree to gather berries. Dude, this tree is completely fucked. It looks like something out of a toy set. It pops in and out like the Pokemon do instead of staying consistent like the other trees, and I don't know, man, something about gathering every kind of berry from a single tree rubs me the wrong way. Don't get me wrong, it's easy and quick, but it's completely random as to what berries you're gonna get, as well as finding the fucking things can be a nightmare. Again, what's with this fucking render distance on everything? By the end game, when I had a bike, I just kept accidentally running into shit, actually ruining the singular catch chance I had in an area. Also, before I forget, apparently this berry tree has all the berries on it, right? Do these look like berries? They look like plastic balls to me, and even when you shake the tree, they don't even fall to the ground, they fall through it. Then the game just tells you that they're there on the ground. Fucking lazy is what it is. Anyway, the wild area has a bunch of different places to explore, and I'll be treating each one as a separate route, as you would call it. That means that we can have a run around and catch a few different Pokemon. The first one being at this Dynamax raid battle, where you and a few friends, or NPCs if you aren't online or don't have a Nintendo Online subscription, or don't have any friends, can battle a giant wild Pokemon. Looks like this one's one of the new Pokemon because I don't recognize their silhouette in the slightest. What is it? Is it a funny looking coral Pokemon or something? Damn it! This game also doesn't bother telling you that you need Nintendo Online in order to play with other people for some reason. I just kept waiting here for a while until I just gave up. It turns out that it was searching my LAN network for others. Okay, maybe tell me that instead of just letting me wait. Yeah, apparently you have to open up the Wi-Com and then connect to the online in order to actually see any other people in the wild area. I don't have a subscription to Nintendo Online, by the way. I tried it out once, but even with really good internet, Smash Ultimate was still pretty laggy online, and I really don't feel like the service is really good enough to even bother with it, even if it is pretty cheap in comparison to other subscription models. I'd much rather have them add in a virtual console like in the Wii days, or at least add in a bunch of Nintendo 64, GameCube, and Wii titles to the eShop. To be honest, even if I was a big fan of Sword and Shield and I paid for online, I hear that it's one of the worst online experiences in any Switch game. And for a lot of people, it's just incredibly hard even to find a single person to raid with, or even to get updated stickers. People have had to find workarounds for this shit. Did I mention that the wild area is butt ugly? All the other routes in town so far have looked decent enough. In fact, there were some areas later on in the game where I was actually surprised by how good it looked. But this place? Damn, for one of the biggest selling points of this game, they really didn't give it much care, did they? Firstly, the weather system makes this place a hodgepodge of confusion and just pure drab. Most of the time the weather's pretty cloudy and grey, leaving the wild area looking washed out, but the other half you'll be biking along and the weather will suddenly shift from sunny to sandstorm to snowing in a matter of seconds. Each area in the wild area has its own weather forecast, and the game just doesn't care if it looks like shit or not. When the trailers first came out, I expected many different types of environments in the wild area. You know, you've got your desert area, your snowy area, your jungle area, and we kind of get that. We get a couple lakes in a semi-desert style area, but that's kinda it. The rest of it is just plains and trees. In fact, I found the wild area so bland, I spent the majority of the game just waiting until I unlocked a second wild area. There wasn't one. You can colour me disappointed. But how about we talk about something new which I do enjoy? Replacing Pokemon and me is the new Pokemon Camp. You can set it up in the wild area, or any route or town you like, where you can interact, play, and cook for your Pokemon. It's not very in-depth, in fact, you can see where they cut corners on the AI of the Pokemon. Ooh. You'll often get Pokemon running into invisible walls repeatedly, and there are only 2 toys to play with, meaning it gets stale pretty quick, but the best thing about camping is the creation of curries. By mixing an ingredient and then up to 10 berries in your pot, you can then fan the flames, give it a stirring, and put your heart into it in order to create a great curry for you and your Pokemon. I screwed this one up. It didn't tell me there would be a delay. Here, look at my bitter curry. Why is there a green stench coming off of it? Well, Abomination seemed to like it because he went and evolved into... Dotler. Interesting. The curry making process is really fun to start with, but after a couple of curries you begin to realize it's getting a little bit repetitive. To whoever has finished the curry decks out there, well done to you, but this process takes far too long. If it took half the time, it would still be plenty. Just lower the XP gain from cooking. It's barely anything anyway. The only reason I ever cooked was just to see the really nice art and to make my Pokemon friendlier towards me. And the curry art is really nice. It's just unfortunate that most of the curry decks is the same curries with minor differences. For example, the spicy pasta curry and the bitter pasta curry is the exact same one, just with different aromas wafting above them. And they both take up 1 slot each in the curry decks. I would have, of course, much rather had many more ingredients, with the berries being used to either make the dish better or worse depending on what they taste like. For example, you'd probably want to enjoy a spicy sausage curry, but not a sour one. So the spicy one is tasty and the sour one is not. Look, I don't really need to explain this. Just know that I like the idea and I wish it was fleshed out a bit more, with maybe a better minigame to create them. You can only flap a fan and stir a pot for so long without getting bored of it. Also, I'd like to point out that there are 2 servings of curry. At first I thought this was just how much you made, but it's actually how much the first Pokemon in your party is eating. And it's really cute when they only eat a wee little bitty bit on a spoon, like Frostmoth eats the wee little bitty bit, but its pre-evolution Snom eats a goddamn mountain of food. I thought that was funny anyway. Gotta eat lots if you're gonna wrap yourself in a cocoon and dissolve your entire body and then reform it into a completely different looking creature, although it doesn't actually have a cocoon stage. I wonder if Pokemon like Weedle have similar eating habits then. Oh, wait, no, Weedle is not in the game. Wurmple, does no, he's not here either. Burmy is, you're fucking kidding me. Larvesta, there's a ton of Gen 5 Pokemon in the game, he's got it, really? Fucking, what's the most basic nostalgia pandering bug Pokemon they just had to put in the game then? Caterpie! But I'm not gonna check anymore, now I'm just sad. You'll occasionally find dudes hanging around in the wild area that sell you stuff, usually TMs or, is that pasta? Oh, I forgot to mention that you get XP candies for defeating Dynamax Pokemon. The more stars it has, the bigger the candy. They're kind of like if rare candies gave you a set amount of XP rather than just leveling you up, and I'll say this. They make the game so easy. Oh my goodness. I didn't really fight many Dynamax Pokemon on my first playthrough, but when I got to the wild area on my second, a few minutes of grinding later, and I was already extremely overleveled. On the one hand, this is great for competitive play. On the other, who gives a shit about competitive play? I can't even use Girafarig! Actually, speaking of the competitive Pokemon scene, you remember that special Meowth and Eevee I was talking about before? And how they had special forms when they Dynamaxed? Well, they're called Gigantamax forms, and they're banned in ranked battles for, get this, being too overpowered. And they said they were cutting the decks to help with balancing. Well, that lie turned out to be, well, a total lie, didn't it? Well fucking done. So far we have a bunch of excuses that turned out to be complete garbage in defense of the decks cut, and no actual reason as to why the decks needed to be cut in the first place. If anyone can give me a single good reason to cut the decks in the way they have, I will be very, very surprised. And keeping the team small so they can have good communication is not one of them, despite what they say. Good grief, I spent this whole time complaining. This is like Sonic Forces all over again, and this video is going to be longer. And I hate Sonic Forces. But honestly, I think I hate this game more. And I love Pokemon. I've loved all the games I've played. I loved Fire Red, I loved Emerald, I loved Pearl, I loved White and White too. That sounded really weird and racist. That was where Pokemon peaked. That also sounded racist. Well, this script is But ever since Pokemon went 3D, the content has just decreased substantially with each new release, and the 3D models and worlds just aren't worth it. Speaking of going 3D, the Mystery Dungeon games, Red and Blue Rescue Team and Explorers of Time, Space and Sky were great. They didn't need the extra versions, apart from Red and Blue, they've been on different handhelds. But when, I don't even know the name, Gates to Infinity in 2012 came out, then Super Mystery Dungeon in 2015, even fucking Mystery Dungeon, a fucking side game, had all the Pokemon. Come on! Actually, the point I was trying to make is kind of ruined by Super Mystery Dungeon here. I know Gates to Infinity wasn't very good, but apparently this one was alright. I might have to give it a go. Alright, I'm back from giving it a go. It is clunky. It doesn't feel very good. I got about an hour in and I couldn't handle it anymore. A bit disappointed, but I guess that's just 3D Pokemon for me. I guess clunky is a good word. But I don't believe, however, that we'll be getting another Mystery Dungeon game in the near future. The only Pokemon side games we've gotten in the last few years have all been mobile, and they're all equally after your cash. I can imagine a Mystery Dungeon style mobile game where when you die you pay a few bucks to get going, either that or a timed system where you can't enter a dungeon unless the time is finished, which you can of course pay to speed up, much like that in a 3DS Rumble game. I just want to pay for a game and then play it, thanks. In fact, that's why I like PC gaming, no stupid online subscription bullshit like on the consoles. Hi, I'm adding this in post. I've just seen the Mystery Dungeon remake announcement trailer, and I'm glad that we're finally getting another proper Mystery Dungeon game, even if it is a remake, which is a little disappointing. I played Red Rescue Team to death, so I'm very happy it hasn't been shoved into a mobile title. But there's one thing about it that really stood out to me. Even it has Megas now. It didn't even need them and it has them. It's adding in newer Pokemon too. Fucking hell. Does anyone else remember how in Let's Go, they didn't even allow evolutions of Pokemon like Onix, who evolved in a generation later than one? Okay, back to the wild area. It seems to me that most of the available Pokemon here are older ones. I very rarely found a new Pokemon as a Dynamax raid, but I don't think I ever saw more than a couple new Pokemon in the wild area itself. I remember Yamper, and maybe that grappling octopus guy. Speaking of old Pokemon though, here's a Gyarados! Oh, there he goes! And back again. Isn't nature amazing? This is fucking embarrassing, Game Freak. Well, here we are in Motorstoke. I meet up with Sonia at the Pokemon Center. Well, I say meet up. She bombarded me, much like the other NPCs bombard you every 30 seconds. She gave me Leon's Pokemon League training card and the ability to create my very own. Oh yeah, there's also this thing called Pokemon Jobs. I'll be honest, I used this thing once and then never again. You can send away a few Pokemon at a time to do Pokejobs, and after a set amount of time they'll come back having gained some XP. I think you can also get extra rewards like Soda Pops and Elemental Stones, rare candies, etc. But it's not much of an incentive when I can just get some XP candies from fighting Dynamax Pokemon. I don't see much of a point to these things if I'm being honest. Anyway, trainer cards. These are an interesting addition. Kind of like, sports cards, trading and all that sort of stuff. I remember something in X and Y being something like this, just in that game it was an introductory video, a trainer PR video if I remember correctly. Here though, it's just a collectible card as I said before, and you can give it to your friends. There's a fair amount of different poses and facial expressions, backgrounds and effects, that sort of stuff. You can create something pretty unique if you like. I didn't really make anything too special on my first playthrough, and I didn't even bother with it on my second, but I figure I should at least show what it's capable of. Here I went back and created one specifically for this video. Here. Really wants that plant. Here in Motorstoke, there's also a hair and makeup salon, so I went with a blonde ponytail, some different eyelashes, and
I've seen the end. Every one of us burns alive.
Speaking of eyelashes, I'll very loosely tie this complaint onto what's going on here. How about instead of every protagonist from the last couple Pokemon games looking like the same person with different clothes and hair, you give us some different eye options, huh? Heck, how about some different nose options, mouth options, maybe a few more hairstyles than we're in Sun and Moon? I mean, what if I want a crazy hairstyle like Gladion's, huh? I can't get it. What if I want to wear crazy clothing like the gym leaders or Elite Four do? I can't. What if I want to look like a smug asshole like this motherfucker? I can't. Because my character always has that dumbass blank stare that I can't get rid of no matter what I do. I got so sick of it I bought a pair of sunglasses. There's a couple of other shops here, including a coffee shop, much like the ones featured in X and Y. You can even battle the owner for neat rewards. Where the hell is this battle taking place? This floor isn't even the same as the coffee shop. What's going on here? After that battle, I used a small XP candy on Pistachio to evolve him into Thwacky. I mean, he looks cool and all, but it didn't really make me feel like I deserved it. There's always a sense of accomplishment when you finish a tough battle and your Pokemon evolves. Using an item just feels wrong. It's not even the same as using something like a water stone or whatnot. At least for most Pokemon that evolve with stones, you can't do it too early because they wouldn't learn all of their good moves. Also the fact that things like rare candies and elemental stones are usually pretty rare. The feeling I get is more akin to the one I get when my Pokemon evolves after a battle they didn't take part in thanks to the XP share. There's no sense of pride or satisfaction when a Pokemon evolves just because it was in your party. It didn't earn it, it hasn't been used. Why is it getting stronger for doing nothing? With the old XP share, at least the Pokemon that had it on was sucking half of the experience out of the Pokemon battling, making it a trade-off. Here, everyone just gets XP. Doesn't matter if they contributed anything. Here I was trying to show how fucking stupid it was that Onyx just pops in and out of the world, but my Elgato hated that happening so much it tried to end its own life. I can practically hear it overheating as the software gore happens on screen. After entering the building where Gala gets to see all of the gym contestants this year via a broadcast, which also serves as the third gym, we're introduced to Bede, a rival gym challenger. He, pushes Hop aside? I think? Not like that I've animated it, so I kind of have to guess at what they were going for. Hop also states that this place is packed with gym contestants and... ooh, there's like 10 of them. Ooh, that's a lot. Anyhow, apparently we get to pick the number to go on the back of our gym outfit. Nah, just kidding. That would be both immature and foolish. It turns out that the ceremony to start off the gym challenge doesn't start until the next day, so to end the night, Hop and I enter the Badoo Drop Inn so we can catch some Z's. But not Pokemon Z. That doesn't exist. Not that I want it to exist, I just felt that X and Y didn't have enough content. Yeah, I'll just keep going. Oh, for God's sake, Sonia, what the hell is it this time? More boring lore, is it? Yes it is. Nobody gives a shit about the Pokemon lore, Sonia, not when there's Girafarig to catch. Oh, I just made myself sad. Turns out the new antagonist team, Team Yell, is in the inn as well. Inside. The inn. Hope that clues you in to the inn situation we're in. They're not really doing much, just being loud, but they pick a fight with us anyway. What? With this shit again? Did they not bother creating any indoor battle areas? The cafe and now the inn? This is just lazy, honestly. Speaking of lazy, they're still only creating 2 models for the entire enemy team, huh? Somehow, for some reason, I expected something more. Heck, at least give one of them a different body type. I find it extremely hard to believe that every male member of Team Yell is overweight. Does the UK have a delinquent obesity problem going on over there? All of a sudden, Marnie steps in, a fellow gym challenger, and oh boy, she sure is a character. She is definitely just a strongly written and interesting person. Yep, her design is absolutely not adhering to a boring, bland side character with no compelling traits or plot points whatsoever. Apparently Team Yell's shtick is that they want Marnie, and only Marnie, to progress through the gym challenge, acting as fanboys and fangirls, if you will. The next morning it's back to the gym to receive my uniform and commence the ceremony. They show off all the gym leaders apart from one of them. That's not suspicious at all. I wonder why they didn't show him. It's almost as if his costume gives a plot point of the story away and they couldn't figure out a way to hide that fact apart from just saying, whoops, he couldn't be here today. Stellar writing there. Just absolutely fantastic, folks. And yep, it looks like I was right about the whole other 10 other challenges thing because we see a total of 6, including Bede, who didn't even show up in that cutscene. I guess they learned their lesson about putting more than 5 characters on screen at once from that cutscene earlier, huh? The first gym we have to head to is past Route 3, so Hop tells us to head to... Route 3. I probably could have explained that better. We also get the ability to fly to any previous areas we've been, which is nice. However, yep, that's right, folks, I hear saying, somehow hears several gripes about the move Fly? I do! Replacing the move Fly this time around is the Flying Taxi. This means no more HMs, much like in Sun and Moon. How fantastic! Wait, I mean to be complaining here. Well, first of all, where's the fly animation? Ever since the very first Pokemon game, there has always been an animation for flying. But in Sword and Shield, how about a Fade to Black? Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire let you ride around the region manually? How about a Fade to Black? Charizard giving you a super cool lift? How about a Fade to Black? They couldn't even get the loading icon completely right. There's a stray fucking pixel down there just mocking me for noticing it, and you won't be able to not notice it now. You're very welcome. Hop then challenges us to a battle on this bridge, or an open field. What? We're on a bridge. How did we get down here? Is this just another laziness thing and they didn't bother making a bridge area? Please just let it be a mistake. It's one thing to have all the indoor areas in a misty null space, but the outdoors? Route 3. This is the route where I used Swift on Pancham like a fucking moron before he booted my ass across the room. Well, I can't say he didn't suck. Also, I thought Pancham was dark type there for some reason. One more battle later and oh fuck. Leave me alone, Sonia! Oh cool. An escape row. Those really difficult dungeons this game is full of, I'm sure. Or just any of the dungeons that this game is full of. Like in previous Pokemon games. I'm gonna move on. I'm just making myself sad here. In this area, I decided to check out an NPC's Pokemon camp. It's a neat little feature that I'm assuming you can use when you're online in the wild area to check out other players' Pokemon. And did I talk about toys the last time I spoke about camp? I don't think I did really. I mentioned that there are two, a feather thingy and a ball, and you can throw the ball as I said before, but you can also shake the feather around by pressing the A button, or by flipping your Joy-Con around. Actually, using the Joy-Cons in the cooking minigame is also extremely speedy in comparison to the regular controls. Not only can you flip your flapper at a high velocity, but if you really try, you can stir that curry at the speed of sound. I mean, I don't even know if it's better to stir it fast or not. Am I meant to keep it at a steady pace or what? The game didn't really explain it to me. What exactly classifies as a good stirring? I never got the best version of curry anyhow. I just didn't know what to do, in all honesty. The next batch of footage I recorded of Sword and Shield must have fucked the Elgato's wife or something because it corrupted so much my editing program was crashing every time I tried to drag it in. Thankfully, one handbrake later, and here we are, looking at the centipede with a mustache! Mario, get the hell out of there! Alright, I've been skirting around the wild Pokemon for long enough. Let's get something for the Nuzlocke already. I've been avoiding them like the plague. And it's the thing that killed Saxophone, for crying out loud. A nickname? Yeah, sure. Oh man, another free heal. However, could I have possibly continued on without it? So the next area is the Gala Mine. Looks like there's a wide variety of Pokemon in here for me to catch, like Roggenrola and Timburr. Ooh, yeah. I will say that the cave itself looks quite nice. I like the sparkly gems in the walls. However, they kind of did that already in X and Y. Just thought I'd point that out. I fought a couple of more trainers in here, including some strong, independent women. You know what? Despite the raw, powerful energy I'm getting from the strong women here, I'm noticing a distinct lack of other trainers in the routes and areas. Usually there's like more than 3 or 4. I mean, like in X and Y, there were like 7 on Route 3. It was ridiculous or something. Yeah, it's early game. There'll probably be more in the late game. Turn back. You don't want to play this far in, man. I did, however, run into Bede here, the arrogant prick. Maybe he can offer me a challenge. Well, he has all psychic-type Pokemon, so a challenge he may not be, but do you hear that music? Damn! Oh, yeah. Oh, here we go. Can we get... I swear to God, if you... Elgato, you suck! Shit, man, these tracks are such a jam. This game might have the very best battle music in any Pokemon game. Speaking of music, I didn't actually hear that Toby Fox track throughout my time with the game. I wonder where that goes. Oh shit, it's from the Battle Tower. I haven't gotten to that in my playthrough yet. I will have by the end of this review, just give me a bit. I've just finished the champion off and I'm dreading doing the quote-unquote endgame again. I'll talk about that when I get to it. Alright, so I still haven't caught a Pokemon here, so I guess I'll catch the only new one here in this area. So, the Roggenrola of the Galar region, of course Roggenrola being the Geodude of the Unova region, Roly-Coly, which I nicknamed Thrustini. Oh, and by the way, I called the Binacle Churmley. I renamed him to Chumley later on, though. You know, chum, fish, chum bucket. You get it. Wickle, I know. After that, it's right on to Route 4. I can see the town from here. You might have wanted to make this one tad longer. Oh, another free heal. Oh, good. I feel so proud of my competence. Anyway, I ran into this grey-looking ass thing here. It looks new. I thought I'd catch it. Meowth! I don't care who you are. That thing ain't a Meowth. Well, one heal ball later, and a strange bearded steel-type Meowth called Shockin' joined the party. If you're unsure as to why they decided to give Meowth an Alolan form, a Gigantamax form, and a Galarian form, all you gotta do is ask Charizard. He'll tell you why. Oh, dang! Seedot's in the game! For a second there, I thought I was gonna have to stop playing. Soon enough, we meet the first gym leader, right as one of his Wooloos roll into us. My, are you okay? You took that tackle head on. A fluffy ball of wonders and dreams roll into me. I think I'll be fine. This man's name is Milo, which is a problem because here in New Zealand, that's a chocolate drink, and the packaging is green. We meet up with Hop outside the Pokemon Center, and oh hey, that's a Yamper. Oh, for fuck! Leave me alone, so I'll shoot your dog. Guess who's back? Who could have guessed? Oh boy, the 17th encounter with her sure took me by surprise. She yaps on about the darkest day or whatever, something to do with Dynamaxing. You can see what looks like there to be what people have figured out is probably a Dynamax toxicity, but we haven't gotten far enough to see one of those yet, so shh. She also gives us 2 revives. Thanks. Oh boy, do I sure ever look like my head is on this grid and ugh, these things look better in real friggin' life. You can't even use it for your trainer card. Heading back to the gym, I ran into Hop heading outside of it. Apparently he beat it in the 30 seconds I was talking to Sonia. Either the gyms are total pushovers in this region or Hop's full of crap. Well, turns out that both of those statements were true. The gym's a total pushover, but there's no way that Hop could have made his way through all this bollocks in that amount of time. Oh, before I get into the gym though, turns out that you can buy the rest of the gym uniforms that don't appear in the game here. You can use them while inside the gyms for a bit of extra flair as opposed to the regular grey outfit that we saw previously. They're pretty expensive, but I think that's worth it, don't you? Oh, you can't wear them in the gyms.
Well, I'm not wearing the stupid things outside of them. What's the point of it all then? In this gym challenge, the puzzle is to hurt a bunch of wooloot in the end of the path with some extra obstacles like Yamper or walls getting in the way. It reminds me of those old Flash games. There's also a couple of trainers, as is standard with the gyms. Again, even in the gyms, I figured at least I'd have a battle background here. Of all places! Damn, even Pikachu and Eevee had that. This is just ridiculous. Finally, we face Milo and... Whoa, another gem, hey!
It's so good I'm not even going to bring up the fact that Milo's got fidget spinners attached to his sides.
So what I did is Dynamax my Abomination in the first turn in this fight. I figured since Milo's only got 2 Pokemon, even Roxanne had 3, I could just one-shot both of them with Struggle Bug. I did one-shot the first one, but Eldegoss turned out to be a bit of a bigger challenge. And by that I mean it took a few extra hits while doing no damage to me whatsoever. Oh, and look at that Thrustini's evolving, even though I've used him a total of 0 times so far. Oh, how that fills me with pride.
What the fuck, man?
Well, on to Route 5, and we have a battle with a reporter and her cameraman. I remember in Emerald there was a similar couple that followed you around. Gabby and Ty, yeah, that was it. They had a Magnemite and a Whismur, and it says here in Pulpopedia that you fight them 6 times, so you got to see their progress and evolutions into Magneton and Exploud. I can see that these two have something kind of similar with Clink and Helioptile. And oh hey! Oh. In Emerald, they asked you for some words after the battle. I wonder if they'll do that here. Nope, of course not. Yeah, Stuffle's great and all, but I want a new Pokemon. Now, what's the point if all I'm using are old ones? Oh, so you can leave your Pokemon in the daycare now just by talking to the old lady outside. Wait, she's not old. Well, I don't need to, so I'll just move on.
But what RadicalSoda didn't know was that a man inside the daycare would have eagerly given him a brand new Pokemon, Toxel, which evolves into Toxtricity. Although RadicalSoda said he wasn't using gift Pokemon for this Nuzlocke, so I guess this segment was kinda pointless. I had soup for lunch today.
Soon enough, we run into Team Yell again. What an awful name. They're harassing some guy about a bike. Obviously, this is the place where we get to bike ourselves. Oh, well, we'll stop this shit and then be on our way. You dare taunt me with a saxophone evolution? Kinda glad he died now, actually. Also, we're battling on a bridge and are somehow in an open field again. What attention to detail this game has. So we get the bike. Oh god, I'm hideous! Even more hideous than the Nickit evolution, and that's saying something. So Hop challenges us to another battle. I mean, it hasn't been really all that long since the last one, but I appreciate him at least fighting us more often than once every blue moon. Wait, hang on. What's weird about this picture here? That's right, we're on a bridge! They did make it a battle area!
Dang, folks, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to suspect that this game was maybe just a little bit rushed.
We've had 2 other battles on bridges. Who's making this? Who's making the decisions? I mean, firstly, there shouldn't be a problem. Game Freak has the resources to turn any goddamn area into a battle area. Making sure you have the right arena in each area should be the bare minimum you should be aiming for. Don't even remind me about the town battle arenas either, damn it. Pokemon is wasted giving it to this company. And again, I just want to clarify, not the workers, not aiming any of this at the workers. They have obviously been dragged through the mud making this game. Whoever the higher-ups making the decisions are, given the tiny budgets, cramming the games into these yearly releases, taking content out of the games, fuck you, alright? But not the people working so hard to actually make the games. I don't know who falls where, I just know someone somewhere is making these decisions and is having a huge negative impact. Aside from that, the only other noticeable thing in this fight is that yes, the double kick animation still is a static bounce. That's all that happens here, really.
Oh, what the... Sobble, what happened?
After that battle, Hop gives us a revive. Thanks, Hop. Here we are in Hillbury, home of the water gym. Wait, what am I doing at the PC? Hang on. I was checking out the Pokejobs again? I thought I only used those once. Ah! So exiting the Poke Center, we're stopped for a small cutscene where the chairman of whatever his business is just being surrounded by his adoring fans. Oh, 2 of them, what a crowd. B talks to the chairman for a bit. He was actually endorsed for the gym challenge by him, as I said before. That's why he's such a cocky asshole. But never mind that, there's a hot babe here who goes by the name Oleana. Now we gotta get that water badge, because Oleana told us to. Kind of rudely, actually. Well, she's a bitch, isn't she?
I have a few lists.
Now, usually in Pokemon games, when the story doesn't want to let you progress any further on account of you not yet having the badges acquired or something similar, they'll implement a roadblock of sorts. Sometimes it'll be an old man lying drunk on a path, or maybe a boulder ending the HM Rock Smash 4, or possibly some construction work will be happening, you know, something which makes at least some semblance of sense. So let's see what Sword and Shield have got going on. Team Yell. Well, it's not an uncommon thing to see the evil team block in the way. As long as they aren't every single roadblock in the game, this is absolutely fine, because there's no way they'll do that. That'd be silly. That'd be silly. Before I even set foot in the gym, I had to wander around to the lighthouse, where Nessa was just hanging out, looking at the sea, I guess. She headed back to the gym because that's her job. She should have been there in the first place, and I had a wee break to do some fishing. Hey, if town counts as a new area, so why not catch me a new Pokemon? Oh, here we go. Oh man, it's just a Choodle. Not the biggest fan of this one, really. Not really a big fan of Dreadnought either. Hey, wait a minute. Are we in the fucking field again? Anyway, I called him Waddles, and into the box he goes. Not like he'll be much of a help in the water gym anyway. I already got a monkey for that. I decided to check out what else you can get here by fishing, and... Damn it, that's what I wanted! Shit, is he doing the Fortnite dance? I love Fortnite. Here we are in the water gym. Oh, gee, these trainers look aggressive. Maybe they're mad because they didn't get a proper background to battle in. Also, have I mentioned yet about how trainers just vanish when their Pokemon use certain moves? It's extremely jarring, and it happens with Dynamax moves too, of course. Not like standing between two giant monsters is a good idea to begin with. This gym's all about switches. The red switches, the red water streams, the yellow alternates the yellow ones, the blue ones, you get it. It's an easy Pokemon puzzle, not difficult in the slightest, but hey, if I wanted puzzles, I'd go play Zelda. I don't doubt my humble mission's difficulty. Listen, girl, you tried, and that's all that matters. Don't try to make it seem tougher than it was, though. Your mind as a Pokemon trainer must be quite refined. Yes, you're right. Nessa has 3 Pokemon, but let's be honest, she's still a total pushover. A Goldeen! Help! Dreadnought! More like Deadnought. I killed it in one hit. I don't get Dynamaxing. I'm assuming in online play it's more in depth because anyone can use it at any time, but here? Every gym leader, including the champion and extra bosses, will only ever use Dynamax on their last Pokemon, making it really easy to predict. The story mode just kind of forces you to just wait around with the Dynamaxing until the last Pokemon, meaning it just ends up like a normal battle would, as both Pokemon are boosted at the same time. Also, isn't Dreadnought supposed to have a new form when it Dynamaxes? A Gigantamax? Did I not see that somewhere? Does that mean the Pokemon with Gigantamax forms don't automatically turn Gigantamax when they Dynamax? I mean, I'm getting stuck with the word max. I'm just gonna let them shake hands for a while. Palms are sweaty. Hey, Oleana, how you doing? Sit on my favorite chair. Gotta be more PG, but also kind of raunchy with these new YouTube rules. Well, Oleana didn't sit on my face, but we're still gonna be smelling fish, because we're off to the seafood restaurant to talk with the chairman. At last, it'll be nice to talk to someone other than Hop or Sonia. Ah, ha, ha, will you bugger off, you cheeky tart? Man, these tables are either very high or these chairs are very low. Did I mention how much the chairman's theme is another jam and a half? Like, dang, and hey, at least Sonia's giving us a TM this time, not a revive. Oh, retaliate. You guys know what that move does? It does increase damage if an ally Pokemon has fainted in the previous turn. Thanks, Sonia! Galamine number 2, what a unique name. Home to Pokemon such as, oh god, not Choodle and Binacle. I've got enough of those, thanks. Here's Beat again, providing a better rival than any of the others in the last. Yeah, you know what, since Pokemon Gold and Silver. Platinum, Black and White were okay, but I like me a good old jerk. Oleana might give me a good old jerk if I'm lucky. Too bad he's still incredibly easy thanks to his small type selection. Really should have been a difficulty selection in this game. Black and White 2 had this feature. Kind of. You had to beat the game in order to unlock the extra difficulties, which made it kind of pointless in itself. I mean, you'd be attached to your team at that point, but on top of that, there was only 1 extra difficulty per game. Hard for Black 2 and easy mode for White 2. Wait, you unlock an easy mode for beating the game? Who in the world is this option for? Who gets through the game and says, wow, that was great and all, but I wish it was easier? I want to point out Thwacky here. Many people have shown their distaste with the design, and... what are you all on about? He's the best middle evolution by far. Have you seen Drizzile? Well, I know I'm not getting another Choodle or Binacle, so I suppose I'll just hang around. Was that a Pokeball? That was a bit small. My leg! A Galarian Stunfisk. Oh gee, that's a high-level Stunfisk. Well, normal moves aren't very effective, so I can only guess it's a Steel type. And I do have a Fighting type, so that should be able to do a fair amount of damage. I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping that would happen. And there we have it. Thinky has been added to the party. It was more difficult than the last gym. Anyhow, I really like this new version of Stunfisk. The new animations he gets are really neat. I love how he's based on a bear trap. It's all really fantastic. I'll be taking a look at every new Pokemon later on, so I won't go too in-depth here, but I will say, however, that despite his great design, he doesn't really learn any good Steel-type moves, which is his secondary type. No Iron Head, no Heavy Slam. You can learn Flash Cannon with a TR, which is the new old TMs, meaning they break after one use. You can get them from Dynamax raids, but he's got a higher physical attack stat anyway, so that move doesn't really do him any good. I was stuck using Metal Claw for the whole game. After a few trainers, we run into Team Yell doing nothing really worth mentioning. Hop comes on in and we fight him in a double battle. Then they leave. Nothing much to say about the mine other than that, really. We do run into Kaboo, who's coincidentally ran into the same Team Yell members that we fought before, I think. Again, there's only one model for each gender, so it's really hard to tell. After we exit the mines, Hop asks me if I know about Pokejobs. I say yes, expecting to be told about them anyway, but... well, now that's a nice change. Even in my favorite Pokemon game, Black and White, even if you pick the yes option, the majority of the time they'll just tell you anyway. I appreciate them just leaving it alone now. I ran into this pink-looking thing on route whatever that sign says over there. Now that's a cute Pokemon. I caught it and put it on my team. Called her Wheatbix. After that, instead of going instantly to the next gym, I decided to try and find some more Dynamax Pokemon to catch in the places I hadn't been yet in the wild area. What the hell? It was night 2 seconds ago. That's a weird thing about this game. It has a night and day cycle similar to every other Pokemon game since Gen 4, where the time of day matches that of real life. But for certain story segments, it'll just slap you into the middle of the night or beginning of the day so it can set up a story segment, mostly when they want you to rest in an inn for the night. It's not a terrible idea, but it does startle me a bit when it transitions so quickly from night to day when it's done loading into a different area. I suppose while we're here in big Pokemon land, it might be a good time to talk a little more in depth about Dynamaxing, huh? Now, the way you start a Dynamax raid is by finding these holes scattered all around the ground in the wild area. The ones that don't have a beam of light shooting out of them and don't have any Pokemon inside, but it still gives you some watts anyway. Watts are a currency you can spend to buy certain items in the wild area from vendors. The slightly glowing holes give you a small amount, while the beaming holes give you much more, depending on how powerful the beam is. I think. Maybe the beams all give you the same amount. I cannot be bothered checking, to be honest. If you're wondering why, just check how much more time the remainder of this video has to go. Finding these holes is as easy as just looking for that big beam in the sky. Thankfully, they actually have a somewhat decent render distance. The what vendors, on the other hand, pose a much bigger problem. I've spent minutes just looking for a specific Watt vendor that I knew was around a certain area, but because of the game's 10-meter render distance, he wouldn't pop in until I was standing, well, 10 meters away from him. It can get infuriating. Also, just to go off on a wee tangent there, while I was searching around for more Dynamax holes, I ran into a Machoke that hadn't rendered into existence yet when I'd looked over to check if the coast was clear over that bridge there. Now that's annoying in itself, but this happened to be in one of the areas I hadn't caught any Pokemon yet, so now he was my only option. And that's annoying too, because it's not like I can trade him online with anybody, as I'm not paying to fucking trade Pokemon when I've been doing it for free for fucking decades to make them evolve. But to make it even more annoying, I couldn't even catch him! Because apparently, you can't catch Pokemon in the wild area that are above your trainer badge level. What? Why? Just make the Pokemon unusable, like with what happens when you trade over a stronger Pokemon. They fall asleep by themselves and shit. Why stop us from catching it altogether? Anyway, once you've found a hole with a beam coming out of it, the bright swirly ones have rarer Pokemon with great stats, you can initiate a battle. You're allowed to choose your Pokemon and either wait for other players if you have a Nintendo Online subscription, or go ahead by yourself alongside some NPC trainers. Now here's a big 1-star Pigeon. Actually, Pigeon, more like Big-Gin. Sorry. You can battle Pokemon up to 5 stars, the ones with the more stars being the tougher Pokemon, obviously. And while I sent out Chumley, rock typing and all, you know, my NPC fellows threw out a Wobbuffet, a Solrock, and a Maractus. Now these Pokemon aren't very strong, but I took out the P-Duff with a single attack, so that didn't really matter anyway. You'll lose the battle if 4 Pokemon faint, but you can come back to a battle after a turn has passed, meaning you can faint multiple times in a raid. Moves that you can use yourself while Dynamaxed are actually different to that of the wild Pokemon. While they can use 2 or 3 regular moves in a row or a Dynamax move, you can only use Dynamax moves, which replace your regular attacks. Unfortunately, Dynamax moves aren't even as interesting as Z moves. At least with Z moves, status moves generally had different effects when turned into a Z move. Here, they're all just turned into Protect. Seems fucking lazy to me. What else seems lazy is that a bunch of the Z moves don't even animate correctly. Look at Z-Flare here. You remember in the trailer how it came out of Charizard's shoulder? Well, they didn't even bother fixing it. Not only does it come out in the wrong area on a bunch of Pokemon, they didn't even take into account Pokemon which don't even have fire-breathing animations. It comes out of Cinderace's ass! He's farting out a Max Flare! Anyway, as you progress through the Dynamax fights, they start becoming harder and harder until eventually they're putting up shields which require multiple attacks to destroy. Don't think about using moves like Double Kick though, they don't break more than 1. Although they'll still make you sit through each animation of the thing, and each time it'll zoom the camera out and then back in again. Stop, just show it once! And not to mention that because the shields are always put up at certain percentages of the Dynamax Pokemon's health, there will be many, many times where you will land a super effective hit and it will do a millimeter of damage. All because, it's shield time, no damage past this point. But hey, at least the NPCs you fight with send out better Pokemon as the battles get tougher. I mean, just check out this 5-star battle. Oh. I am quite frankly disgusted at this. I have been so frustrated with these battles because the only one giving a shit is me. I've been in teams with a Togepi, a Magikarp, and a fucking Clefairy, or a Pikachu, or a fucking Solrock that uses cosmic power over and over again, only to get his stats removed the next turn so he starts using it again over and over. I've been in fights where 3 Pokemon have died in a single move. Fights where Pokemon will be the very worst typing for the battle. I've had to carry every single battle with a Dynamax Pokemon because the NPCs haven't been given anything other than pure garbage. And you have to be lucky. You have to be so lucky with this, especially if you enter a fight with something like a Gardevoir and your only teammates are Throw, Howlucha, and fucking Magikarp. You have to be lucky enough that Gardevoir doesn't use Dazzling Gleam, which it will. It fucking will. Say goodbye to catching that shit. I can't even remember if this happened in my first or second playthrough. All I know is that I was really mad. I'm so glad that I didn't count a loss in a Dynamax raid as a death, because if I did, all my Pokemon would be dead. I did count it if my Pokemon specifically fainted though, just to let you know. But back to the bullshit. How hard would it have been to have had made a table of Pokemon able to be sent out by the NPCs based on star rating? The girl who sends out a Magikarp? Anything over than a 2-star, make it a fucking Gyarados. The Throw guy, give him a Marcham. The Solrock guy, stab him in the throat! You get a 100% chance of catching a Dynamax Pokemon if you manage to beat it. Unless you're not hosting the game, apparently, I wouldn't know. And lastly, you have a small chance to find Gigantamax Pokemon out in the field, but at that point I didn't have any catches really left in the wild area, so I just killed them when I found them. Looking back, part of me wishes I did catch a few of them for later, like the Gigantamax Grimmsnarl I found, but then I realized I'd never be battling online anyway, so who gives a shit? Wait, you can't even use Gigantamax Pokemon in ranked online matches anyway! What a fucking sham! What are these decisions this company is making? And finally, as you know, you can receive items and candies from winning against Dynamax raids, such as things like TRs, rare candies, and XP candies of various sizes. You know, I was out there for like 15 minutes and I didn't even catch anything. I just went to the places I've already been. I did, however, find a fishing hole in Motorstoke, although there was only a Choodle there, so I just killed it. Also, real nice Motorstoke battle area we got here, cheapskate pricks. So we head back to Bidgew Drop In. Oh, I only just got that now. Drop in, as in drop on in, but also like a dew drop. And guess who's waiting for us? Well, thankfully not Sonia. It's actually little Miss Marnie, who sat on her Barney. So we slapped the shit out of her Pokemon. Also, listen to how this guy quit his job so he could watch the gym challenge. That's like someone quitting their job to watch football. Dude, just tape it. And I finally went and invaded a few people's privacy. Then it's off to the next gym. The gym where you progress by catching Pokemon. Nice. Works great for my playthrough. Well, not exactly. I can also knock them out to gain a smaller amount of points, the points being the thing needed to progress, but there's also other NPCs you battle with them trying to knock out the wild Pokemon first, or even hindering your Pokemon so they perform worse. So that's great. Not only do I have to watch out for the enemy Pokemon, but also my teammates? Dang! And most of my Pokemon are weak to fire! It was all up to Chumley to face these Pokemon, and he pulled it off with aplomb. I did try to knock out my teammates' Pokemon at one point, but they had multiple of them, and I couldn't be bothered knocking out Pokemon after Pokemon, so I just kept trying to kill the wild one, and eventually I did it just fine. Soon enough, we were out in the field to face Kaboo. Wait, heck, no. Oh, the glitches are back. Damn it! Oh, now I'm just pissed off even more. This didn't happen with Sonic Unleashed. Why the hell is it happening with Pokemon? And for all things holy, I hope that Ninetales doesn't know Energy Ball. That would just be the shit icing on top of the shit cake. But no, instead, Kaboo decided that my Pokemon weren't looking burnt enough. So instead of focusing on knocking my Pokemon out, he just kept inflicting burns on me with Will-O-Wisp. And for a move with 85% accuracy, I can say with absolute certainty that this move does not have 85% accuracy. Jesus, every time I would heal the burn, it would be right back on the next turn. I probably should have sent out Caracol. Actually, that would have been a really smart move. He's part fire type, so he can't get burnt, but by that point I had already beefed up Chumley with a bunch of X speeds and stuff, so I really didn't want to waste him. Thankfully, Kaboo's final Pokemon was a Gigantamax Centiskorch, so Rock-type Chumley here barely had to glance his way in order for it to explode. And hey, Meowth is evolving! That's well-deserved, I guess. I wonder what Persian looks like in this region. Oh my god. What is that? So the next town, Hammerlock, is through the Wildlands, but before... Wildlands? Why did I put Wildlands in here? What game is the Wildlands in? Ghost Recon Wildlands? Not what I was thinking, but that's a shitty game too. Hop and I are about to head there together, but before we can, and because we definitely were going to travel there together, because they definitely programmed that in, Beat appears out of nowhere, and I mean that literally. I mean, how did they not see him there unless he teleported in? Actually, hang on, people do that all the time in this game, I forgot. Hop challenges him to a battle and then runs off screen to another area, I guess, 5 seconds after the cutscene, and he's disappeared completely. Even the GBA games showed people with their Pokemon out in the battle. Battle? Did I say that right? Did that sound weird? On the way to Hammerlock, I ran into another daycare center. I didn't leave any Pokemon here, but in my second playthrough, I did leave a few so they could level up while I completed the story. As for each step you take in the overworld, they gain experience. So imagine my surprise when I got back after beating the champion to see they hadn't leveled up one bit. Yeah, Pokemon daycares no longer give your Pokemon experience. Alright, that's the only real reason I used them, but fine. Take away yet another feature that didn't need to be changed. I did also find this bike racing minigame, well, I say bike race, but it's more of a bike time trial, where you have to hit these checkpoints to gain more time. After the race, they teleport you back to the start, or they don't. Alright, I guess I have to bike back myself. At least give me the option. I found a Yamper in one of the new wild areas with a yellow aura surrounding it, and I was wondering exactly what that meant. I assumed it meant he had the hidden ability or something, but I looked it up and apparently it just means they have better IVs alongside a higher level, or maybe even some egg moves, which you can usually only get from crossbreeding Pokemon with the same moves. Soon enough we make it to the Hammerlock entrance and the man checks our badges. Bede comes along without Hop, he killed him. Hammerlock, the city of many sights and sounds. Look at that incredible ancient castle. Such a historical, magnificent building to explore. It has a single room inside. The vast array of shops will keep you busy for hours on end. There are 3. Such a magnificent city deserves its fair share of people, with many littering the streets. Look, you know where I'm going with this. It's like every other town in the game, alright? So far from what I've noticed, these bigger cities, they've just got a larger area, but they really won't have anything to compensate for it, just longer streets and roads. What we learn here in Hammerlock is that Bede was not only endorsed by the chairman, but is also working for him. Looks like the chairman has a problem which he needs wishing stars and a powerful trainer for. Bede expresses how he was able to beat Hop in a battle, whoop-de-doo, the guy's got a sheep, and how he's aiming to defeat the champion. The chairman's all like, that's the spirit. Then he talks directly to me, saying something about Dynamaxing or whatever. My Elgato was getting pretty bored, so it skipped over it. But despite the skipping, I'd like you all to witness a miracle that happened in this town. So I went over to the battle cafe, and this dude offers me a battle, yada yada yada. I accept, and I want you all to remember at this point that my Pokemon are at a pretty decent level. All of them are around level 28, not bad, right? Well, this guy's been grinding his ass off because he's got his at 37! I thought I was definitely losing some Pokemon here. Thrustini took a fucking blow and a half, but somehow I got out of it alive, thanks to both of his Pokemon being the Fairy type and me owning 2 Steel types. We find the chairman again inside the Dragon type gym, which we can't access yet because of course it's the last gym. Heavens forbid they put the Dragon gym early on in the game, that would be different. And he gives us... yes, easy to understand. Thanks very much, dickweed. We actually run into Leon here, although he doesn't really do anything. Rather, he just tells us Hop's feeling depressed. Also to go see Raihan, the Dragon-type gym leader, so we go ahead and do just that, finding him at the museum. He then tells us to head up to the top floor to see some tapists. Sonia! She tells us a little bit more about the Darkest Day or whatever. There were 2 heroes, not 1. Oh, I wonder what that's referencing. And she gives us... bitch. Back downstairs we go, and Raihan tells us which route to go next. Is it just me, or is Pokemon getting really fucking linear? I mean, it's always been pretty simple. You can go to each gym in order, although in some games you can come back to them later. But ever since, heck, I guess Gen 5? No, not even Gen 5 was this handholdy. At least it let you explore big open areas and discover things yourself. Even if the map was just a big circle, I guess I really noticed it in Sun and Moon. Like, the routes stopped feeling open and explorative, more like corridors with little nooks to find a potion in or something every now and again. It feels like that here too. You don't get anything like the desert from Black and White, or the open seas from Hoenn, or any puzzles you gotta solve to progress, like how to get strength in Emerald, or where you have to break the rocks in the Whismur Tunnel. I mean, I remember in Pokemon Pearl where I got stuck when I didn't bother listening to where Team Galactic was heading to next. I mean, they were going to a hideout in a town or something, I think. Now, I'm not saying to make the next destination shown in a text box and then never mention it again so the player gets stuck, because in Pearl the region had so many places to go and things to do, it'd take ages to find what you're supposed to be doing. But I feel that even if they did do that here, even if I skipped every text box and didn't read a word of the story, it wouldn't matter. They railroad you down each segment like you're playing Pokemon Snap. A good example of this handholding is back in Motorstoke when we were first checking out the fire gym for the opening ceremony. Once you exit the building, an employee is there waiting for you to tell you to follow him to the inn. Then you walk for like 5 seconds to the left and it puts you in an automatic cutscene to show you exactly where the inn is, which is directly left of the gym anyway. And then when the cutscene ends, it puts you right in front of the doors just to make sure you know exactly where to go. It's insulting. Kids don't need this much direction, let alone me. And speaking of linear, you thought Black and White's route design was linear and boring because it's a huge circle? Well, Sword and Shield is here to improve. How about 2 smaller circles? What's that I hear, Stammer? The wild area is a wide open place for exploration? It's not. It's really not. It's the equivalent of someone opening up Unity for the first time and making their first map for an RPG. It's bland, it doesn't have anything to find in it other than a few items, it looks hideous, it's a chore to get around, and it doesn't look even remotely like Pokemon. Even in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, your base was a Sharpedo head. I mean, where's the unique landscape here? Where's the classic Pokemon style? It looks so fucking boring. And there's no content here other than the Dynamax raids, and the Gigantamax raids are pointless thanks to the ban in the online battles. Because you sure as hell ain't finding a Gigantamax Pokemon before you get to the in-game. Most of your time here in the wild area is either biking around to the next raid battle or failing them because the NPCs keep throwing out garbage, so yeah. The routes are shallow and linear, and the wild area is empty and lifeless. Reminds me of Final Fantasy XIII, to be honest, where the game was just hallways for a good 15 hours, and then when it finally switched it up, we were treated to a big, empty field. Route 6 is the next stop, where more Team Yell members are hanging around. They're just trying to stop gym challenges from reaching the next town, but they're doing it in a way that lets them stay covert, I guess? They're saying they're helping a Silicobra. Oh! Gross! What is that? Looks like someone took a diarrhea dump and then spunked on it. Who designed this thing? Hop comes along to see what the big hubbub is about, and we get the choice to... Wait, I wouldn't say that. Why doesn't it give me the option to say we'll battle them? Together. Oh, it's because we have to make Hop sadder to progress the character arc they're trying oh so hard to give him. Great. So now not only is my character a blank slate of smiles, now they're also an asshole. So we fight them alone. Wow, really makes me feel like Hop's my rival. However, something good does come out of it. Abomination went and evolved. Also, for some reason, that team yells Lanoon and those baby doll eyes. In what world are those baby doll eyes? Well, anyway, we beat the second Team Yell member, and that's that. Still waiting for them to do something substantial. Even Team Skull took over a town at one point. Or are they just going to keep them as kinda bullies? Heck, Gary or Blue, or whatever you call him, is a bigger jerk than any of these Team Yell members. Apart from in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, then they just made him a fucking pussy. Hop then mentions how Bede trash talked him so hard he became depressed. I mean, Hop, you're fighting gym leaders and winning. I don't think strength is really an issue here. How strong do you think gym leaders even are then? Do you think they're weak? This guy couldn't even get the water badge, and you're concerned because you couldn't beat a guy wearing a pink jacket? That'd be pretty intimidating, actually. He says all this while turned away from the camera, and so I couldn't help but just imagine the default happy face on the other side. But he turns around and runs off. With his mouth open and eyes closed. It looks really sad. Opal, the fairy-type gym leader, then shows up too to give us her trainer card and just walks off slowly. Oh, well, Route 6, was it? Let's start the first battle. Oh my god, she's beautiful. Damn, she's going on both. I guess that's why they call them beauties. Man, how does Game Freak always manage to create such appealing NPC designs? And it's not just pretty women. I mean, generally just nice art and models for the NPC trainers. There's a ton of them, but most of them look really, really good. I'm never disappointed in their designs. Personally, I really enjoyed the Gen 6 way of handling the starter battles. It's just a bit of artwork, but to me it's a lot nicer to look at compared to a 3D model. I do hope one day we get another 2D Pokemon game. I honestly don't think the series suits 3D at all. If the Pokemon series was going to switch to any medium, at least switch to nice illustrations instead of these lifeless models. And look at these amazing artworks from X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. There's so much personality and charm in these mere pictures that there just isn't in something like Sun and Moon or Sword and Shield's battle intros. Especially Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I mean, X and Y's art was great, but these ones show so much character, it's insane. I will say that the gym leaders this time around are pretty strong, both design and character-wise. I've only fought 3 so far in this review at least, but each one has had a distinct personality and design, much improved over Sun and Moon. However, I don't think any game can top X and Y's forgettableness. I remember, like, the guy with the rocks in his hair, and the electric guy from the anime? That's kinda it. No, honestly. Oh no, hang on, there's the bug girl. Bug girl's there too. Really trying here. What else? There's a grass gardener guy, that's it, he's here too. The fairy girl, there's the fairy girl. I think there was like a psychic lady as well. I'm gonna stop now. It's not like Black and White where I can name each one, but this isn't an X and Y review. Unless you'd like it to be? Now this route has something absolutely insane, a brand new mechanic never seen in Pokemon before. Ladders. I made that seem a bit more exciting than it actually is. I'm sorry, but these ladders do, however, have something incredibly unique. That's right, they have the power to freeze time itself! Of course, this being Game Freak's way of stopping trainers or Pokemon from battling you while you're on a ladder. I think. Just yet another broken mechanic that takes my immersion, throws it in the dunny, and flushes it down, never to be seen again. Man, with all this barren dirt landscape, dead trees, and brown grass, it sure looks like a wasteland here. You know what this place needs? That's right, a motherfucking berry tree! Just shove it in here. Who cares that it's bright green with colorful juicy fruit all over it, making it stick out like a sore thumb? Creating a different kind of berry bush would take extra effort. And here we go from lack of effort to... too much effort? This guy right here. This is the only time you actually fight him. Well, his model, his trainer class? One fight in the entire game. I'm not kidding. I don't understand why, but hey, it's a thing. Is that Diglett? More like Biglet. We have arrived in... I can't remember. I've been using those little pop-ups to check which route or town I'm in, but this one didn't have one when I walked in. Well, I mean, it did. It tried, but the cutscene forced it back into the side of the screen. But hey, that's just another quirk to add to the list, I guess. Oh, and I almost forgot, I didn't actually bother catching a Pokemon on Route 6, or running into one for that matter, which involved a lot of slipping past shit, but there is a lady up here who turns fossils into Pokemon. I'll talk a bit more about that later. However, this did make me realize that there actually isn't a museum in this game, other than that really small one with the tapestries and hammerlock. That's a bit disappointing. In most Pokemon games, there's been a museum where you can check out fossils and skeletons and other stuff, like the Deoxys meteorite, just to name one. Well, at least Hop seems to have gotten his head on straight. He's looking a bit more determined this time around instead of downright depressed. Oh well, time to kick his ass. That'll make the player feel good to ruin our friend's day. Weird thing this time is that Hop has a completely different team. He starts out with a Cramorant instead of his beloved Wooloo, which actually has a pretty neat ability of counterattacking with a fish that it sticks in its gullet. That's a Pikachu. Then he sends out... oh, Hop, no, dude, no. No, that's gross, dude. He's also got a Toxel, which... is a Toxel, not much to say there. And finally his starter, which is odd. I would have thought he'd keep his Wooloo through thick and thin, but he just abandoned it. How dare you, Hop? I tried switching my team members in and out to max out their potential in every matchup? What now? You didn't switch out anything at all. In fact, no one in this game ever switches out any of their Pokemon in battle. I didn't see a single time anyone ever did anything along those lines. It's just like the other recent Pokemon games. They'll only ever switch out if they literally can't hit you with anything. The difficulty is ridiculously easy because of it. Anyway, he runs off and Opal calls him a fucking idiot. Hey, her words, not mine. Before we do the next gym, though, I want to check out the surrounding area and maybe catch a Pokemon or two. Oh, Team Yell. More like Team Roadblock. I swear, the only reason they're even in this game is to stop you from progressing. Hey guys, you're of the same importance as a couple of rocks a few games ago. I also checked out this mural or artwork thingamabob, whatever you want to call it, to the left of the gym. It has this big crack down the bottom, almost like something tried to smash its way into it. Oh well, I'm sure that won't tie into anything later, which I can gripe about. For now, let's get this gym underway. Now this one's a ghost-type gym. The last ghost gym I remember was back in Heart Home City in Platinum, where you had to use a flashlight to get around. I wonder what sort of gimmick this one... Pinball. Spooky pinball? I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm keen. Is he breathing? Oh god, not the woman too. And here we go, we're up against Alistair. Oh, I forgot to mention that Alistair is exclusive to S.H.I.E.L.D. and Sword you get B in her fighting type gym. And while I've got you here, can I mention that I think the whole sports arena thing they've got going on in this region is actually really cool. The atmosphere here alone makes it the very best stage for gym fights in any of the Pokemon games. It's fantastic. The crowd cheering after a Pokemon faints, the rise in music when the gym leader's last Pokemon is sent out, it's just great. Up until the crowd starts singing, and not a fan of that, it feels kind of goofy. Anyway, Alistair here Gigantamaxes his Gengar. Holy crap! Oh, he's like a giant vacuum cleaner! Jesus, I didn't expect Gengar to get another form, but hey, I guess I can say that to Charizard and Meowth. Unfortunately, despite this, he wasn't much of a challenge. Ever since they removed his Levitate ability, he's been a lot easier to one-shot. Oh, Tristini is evolving. Well, I wonder what he's gonna...
Who was responsible for this design? Are you serious? Is this a real Pokemon? I mean, it's not bad. I don't fucking like it. But
he goes from a piece of coal with a wheel to a minecart with wheels to this. A Tyranitar wannabe. I thought he would be a coal train. What happened to his wheels? It's like if Magnemite evolved into Magneton and then into this.
Now it's time to move on to that spooky forest, I suppose. Sonia, go away! So it looks like something's happening up with the memorial art thingy. Turns out to be Bede and destroying public property. I mean, dude, I know the art's ugly, but you're going a bit overboard there. Also, the cutscene has Bede's regular theme, and then it switches back to the town's theme once the cutscene finishes, and then you talk to Bede 1 second later and it switches back to his theme, and then just changes it to his battle theme once you start battling. I mean, just do what the other games do and keep his theme playing while the events are going on. And if the player decides to walk away, just have the music fade out and then into the town theme once you get like 10 meters away or something. Works for the fucking weather effects, just do it for the music. Shockin completely obliterates Bede's team with a couple of iron heads, and hey, Pistachio's evolving! Wait, go back. Turns out that Bede believes that there are many, many wishing stars behind this art thingy, so he's bashing it down with the chairman's Copper Raja. Wait, hang on. If that damage was done by the Copper Raja, then why was it there before Bede even got here, for fuck? If anyone out there thinks I'm nitpicking here, this shit happens all the time in this game. Did you know that your mum actually congratulates you on becoming the champion before you become the champion? Yeah, they just stuck our line in before the event actually triggers. Yeah, great stuff there. Yeah, game wasn't rushed at all, yeah. The chairman soon arrives, and despite his willingness later on in the game to put hundreds of thousands of people's lives at risk, he won't allow the art mural to be destroyed. Oh no, that would be too much. He strips Bede of his gym challenger status, stopping him from being able to compete. Well, that sucks. There goes my only rival. Who gives a stinky poo about the smelly old mural? It looks like ass. Also, nice camera angle, Game Freak. Get a good look, why don't you? Then it breaks anyway. Yeah, because screw it, here's more lore. I know, Sonia, I know the fucking dog saved us from the darkest state. Shut the hell up already. Aren't you at all surprised that the wall even fell down? No? Just straight on into analysis mode. A blind baby with no legs could figure this shit out. Why are you acting as if it's some big mystery? Oh god, I just thought about the baby with no legs. Thanks. So here we are in the spooky woods. There's some guy here with a blob of floating milk, I think. It seems that Pokemon don't actually roam the overworld in this area. More so, they stick to the random exclamation point encounters. Here's some more trainers. It's my one true love again. And she's already with a man? Who dares? Rob, it's me. It's me. She's there with me. She's my partner. We're the couple. I just knew he was me when he spoke, because he's right. Railways are amazing because they can carry lots of people and Pokemon at once. Oh shit, well I guess a few Pokemon are out in the overworld. Mogrim. Ugh. Well, he's our first encounter, might as well catch him. Oh gosh, well I'll just switch out real quick, then catch him. Jesus, this guy does a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, this'll get him. Thrustini is tanky as all balls. Thrustini, shave a bit of HP off him with your weakest move. The next town is lovely. It's beautiful. I mean, not as beautiful as my beauty, but still, it's the best looking town so far. Well, I'll call it a town. It's got 2 fucking houses in it, much like every other town in this fucking game. Anyway, it's fantastic. The bright, colourful mushrooms, the giant trees, it looks great, really. I wish the goddamn wild area had places like this in it instead of grassy field. Grassy field with trees. Grassy field with lake. Grassy field with ruins. Grassy field with rocks. Grassy field but the grass is brown. Marnie shows up at the fairy-type gym, just seemingly to give us a lead card, and then she leaves. I actually took a moment to look through a couple of these. Again, they're a neat little addition, however, I'm sure they're a lot better to look at when you've got a ton of funny ones from your friends and other trainers, etc. Looks like the gimmick of this gym is that Opal is holding auditions to see who can replace her as the fairy-type gym leader. You have to answer questions during the fight, and if you get them right, you get a stat buff, and if not, a stat decrease. The first question was, do you know about fairy-type's weaknesses? That's odd, I can't answer yes. Joking aside, they just kind of give you this one. Both of these types are super effective against Fairy, and since I have one of those types, I just let Shock and Iron hit every Pokemon they threw at me, effectively one-shotting them all. Anyway, so the first trainer walks off stage, teleports off stage, thanks Elgato, and the second trainer... You are not the second trainer. You just walked off the stage and then back on again. Don't try to trick me, Game Freak. At least make a male gym trainer model. You've done it for the rest of the gyms. If the last person's the exact same model again, I swear to God. And now she's pissed I answered her other question about the First Lady's name as well. What do I eat for breakfast every morning? How the hell would I know that? So my defense and special defense fell there, but not a problem. Shock is steel type, so I'll just Iron Head this Gardevoir and head on to the gym leader. Of course. The Gardevoir knew mystical fire. In what world does Gardevoir know mystical fire? Chumley, get her!
Well, for once, I actually had to use strategy. I sent out Abomination to use Light Screen, so her special attack moves would do less damage, including Mystical Fire, which she didn't use on my Bug-type Pokemon. Dumbass AI. Well, I want to leave now, because, Shocking was kind of my trump card there. I'm worried about more Fire-type moves, and more than half of my team is weak to them, so I don't have any good Steel or Poison moves to take down Opal, so I can't leave? In every other Pokemon game, you could just leave before the gym leader and heal. Are you kidding me? Well, maybe this game is getting tougher after all. Oh, right.
So I left. Back to the wild area I went. Found a Mudbray that I caught. Called him John. John would not replace Shockin. I went to find another new area. Looked at a Dynamax hole. Found a...
Is that? That's right, baby. It's a Sizzlipede. Look at that mustache. I'm gonna call her Comb. She's got some great facial hair for a chick. That's goals right there. So basically, I fought a few more Dynamax raids in order to level up Comb and Wheatbix. However, I had to turn off control of vibration first, because during them, you might as well be holding your girlfriend's vibrator. Ah, it's not actually a vibrator. I don't have one of those, silly. I also caught a Clobberpuss, which I will say is a very, very cute gal. Called her Boppo. Those giant mitts reminded me of my Forces character. A Lipard was also added to the list, who I called Shuttercream. Why the hell did I call it Shuttercream? Oh, that's right, because Lipard's colors suck and the yellows on it should have been a nice shade of cream like Purloin. Look at this! Doesn't this look so much better? I also almost caught this Helioptile, or maybe I was just trying to beat it, I can't really remember. But my NPC team consisted of a Togepi, an Eevee, and that goddamn Magikarp. Useless! I get so mad when I think about this bullshit. I know there's people online who say that they don't have many problems with the raid battles because the NPC's trainers scale their level alongside your Pokemon, so, just use a level 100 Pokemon. Dumbass. How the hell am I going to get to level 100 without grinding out high-star raid battles? I sure as hell ain't able to carve my way through Ordino because they aren't even in the game! I did manage to catch this Clefable, though, so that's something, I guess. Bruh. I leveled up my Pokemon with the candies I got from raids, leading Wheatbix to evolve into... Wow, that's cute as heck. Chumley also finally evolved, that was nice too. And here we are back at the Fairy Stadium. I'm just glad we didn't have to wait for Opal to walk out here to the middle of the field. My strategy this time is just to spam Calm Mind to raise Wheatbix's special attack and special defense. Seeing as it's a Fairy-type gym, I doubt there's any real physical threats. Wait, there are questions in the middle of this fight? Favorite color? Well, if the answer's not pink, an old lady's gonna get strangled today. Alright, lady, you booked yourself a strangler. You know what, though? I could totally green screen these out if I wanted. Ooh, look at the floating nectarine! Fuck! You know what, though? This would actually be funny if I wasn't doing a Nuzlocke. I'll give him credit for that, at least. One shot the wheezing, nice. Now on to... Oh, for shit's sake, really? Another question? How old are you? Oh, for God's sake, I just know this is another trick question. But if they already know that I expect that, then when I pick 16, she'll say something like, oh, do I look 16? And then it'll be wrong anyway, so I'm picking what's probably her actual age. Damn it! Well, they expected me to expect that it would be a trick question, so instead of changing it around the second time, they trick questioned the trick question and turned it into a multi-layered trick question. Oh, your morning tea is kicking in, is it? Yeah, sure, morning tea, that's what it is. Your final Pokemon is a cake. Wait, what? I swear to God, if anyone who hates Vanillux likes this Pokemon, I'm coming to your house and I'm gonna strangle you too. Maybe I'll use this too. I don't know, man. Let's get kinky. Looks like Chumley's gonna be the MVP of this one, folks. He's surprisingly been pulling a lot of weight this playthrough. Fairy Badge acquired. Unfortunately, we are not the trainer she was looking for to take over the gym, but hey, it's not like I was really trying with my face rock guy, muscly gorilla, and literal bear trap. I wonder if she actually says something different if you're wearing pink clothes and have an all-fairy team. Probably not. If Game Freak can't even program what your mum says correctly, then I doubt they'd bother with something as low as a chance as that. Heading back to Hammerlock, we run into Bede. Because we took a flying taxi with Opal, she's there to see him too, and it's one of the best moments in the game. She goes ballistic seeing Bede there in his great pink coat. I always thought it was more of a purple, to be honest, but either way, she takes him under her wing and, well, he pretty much disappears completely until the end of the game. There's nothing really else to do here, so we'll head on to Route 7. No, Sonia, no, yes, the badge collecting is going well, because the game is very easy. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you checking in with me, even if I play it up to be annoying. However, I wish that you would say something more substantial or interesting. Maybe that's something we could work on. Maybe get to know each other. Maybe go out to dinner. Maybe a date. Maybe start a relationship. Where did that come from? All of a sudden, a big boom is heard that rocks the ground beneath our feet. Something's up! Looks like it's up to us, the challenged and rising Pokemon League trainer, to check out what's going on, or the champion will do it. What? You're just gonna send us away? So far there hasn't been any overarching story. I thought this might be where it kicks off, but Nope, same old, same old. We do find Hop at the entrance to Route 7 though, and we have a battle. He sends out yet another team, starting with the Trevenant of all things. The only returning Pokemon being his Drizzile. Oh yeah, oh my, what is that Slenderman ass, scrawny gecko fuck looking ass? Inteleon. What the hell? They gave him hands, like proper hands. Forget me, I think Inteleon's the kinky one here. Now that I've seen all the final starter evolutions, I can say that Rillaboom was predictable. Somewhat. Cinderace was underwhelming, and Inteleon... oh my. Why is he so human-shaped? There were some really cool fan evolutions of these three Pokemon, but now that I look at them, most of them look like monsters. Pocket monsters. These final evolutions look so human in comparison. I mean, even to the Gen 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 starters, these look like monsters. These look like humanoid anthros, and they're not as appealing. Why does Game Freak keep bringing back Charizard, eh? Why does he keep coming back? Why is he so popular? It's his design. He's a fucking dragon. We like monsters. We want to see more. Wooloo isn't a sheep, man. He's a cute little ball of wool. And that's great. That's what we like. Why do you think people don't like Mr. Mime or Jinx? Why do you think Berserker isn't as good as Persian, design-wise? Some do work. Some really do. Like Impidimp's Final Evolution. It's based on a troll or whatever. I think it's great. Obstagoon is really cool too. But Inteleon has gloves and long dildo-esque fingers. I will say that I like his special move. I think that's pretty dang cool. It stops me from outright hating him, but come on, I would have much rather had a cool lizard monster than a lanky-ass spy lizard. And don't even get me started on Rillaboom. Thwacky was looking good for a second there, until BAM! His testosterone just shot through the roof. On to Route 7, of fucking course. There's a Galvantula over there in that bush. Did they just stick Pokemon just wherever? Isn't Galvantula like a cave dweller? And doesn't it like to hang out around electric places? I mean, I get it. There aren't even any caves in Sword and Shield, just 2 mines, but add an extra explorable cave, maybe? Or swap them out with a Pokemon that makes sense? You could stick Jigglypuff there, maybe? No? Anyway, I'm gonna catch a second Shocking. Bobo, flexing your asshole is intimidating, but it's not really what we're going for here. Anyway, I call the second Berserker surprising. I'm going with a theme here. Now, one thing with the berry trees I don't think I mentioned is that with each shake you do, the tree will shake back. The faster the shaking, the more likely a Pokemon will drop down from above, more often than not it being a Squovit or its evolution, Greedent. Here we've encountered a Greedent, but Boppo will make short work of him. Counter! Look at this fat fuck, who the hell do you think you are? Anyway, here we are on Route 8. Bit of a scenery change, that was unexpected. This is the only route that's anything really different to being a bunch of ruins. And this lady's Pokeball is just floating in the air. Alrighty then. This route looks like it has multiple paths and areas to explore, but in all honesty, it's just as linear as every other route in the game. Just instead of being a straight line, it's a windy one. After a few minutes of sneaking around other Pokemon, I ran into Phalanx. I didn't really know what to think of this little guy, guys. But after I realized they were a little army of Roman dudes, I really like this Pokemon, man, and their signature move, No Retreat, is really cool. It raises all of their stats, but they can't switch out once it's been used. His name shall be Jim, but there are 6 of him. Jims. Well, here's Backpacker... Backpacker? What the fuck? Well, here's Backpacker Barbara, and she's got a... Dreepy? As in dragon, that's creepy? Oh, yes it is. Huh. And it says here that Rillaboom's name is derived from really scary man who looks like he wants to hurt me. And the word boom. Ugh, gross, gold grills. Well, we're at the end of the route now, and after one last double battle with a couple of ninnies, Wheatbix is evolving! I mean, I like it the way she already is, but oh no, she's hot! It actually took me a while to realize that, no, those curves aren't just her voluptuous body. In fact, Wheatbix's body is very small. You can actually see her arms up there. It's especially noticeable in a Gigantamax form, which I'll be honest, makes her look kinda naked. It's like if Gardevoir didn't have that green bit there. I had to look up Gardevoir on Google Images just to make sure I had the green thingy right, and I really wish I'd just guessed. The curves all over Wheatbix is in fact her hair. That's right, she's bayonettaing this bitch. Alright, so what's up ahead? The next route, I suppose. The deserty area probably extends a little ways onwards from here. Huh? What? Are you kidding me here? Did they even... And we're still on the same route? Snom! I love it! And I can't catch it because we're in the... Ah! What the hell, Game Freak? That's it, that's the last shot. I'm calling the police.
It's supposed to put the batteries in this. Oh. Hello, police station.
Pokemon Sword and Shield? Well, that's my favorite game. What can I do for you? Hello? Okay, whatever, I'll continue on, I guess. Oh, he's looking a bit too excited. You know, I've been debating on where exactly I'm going to start talking about the entire region's new Pokemon. I thought I'd do them all at the end and get them all done in one big swoop. But I was just thinking, maybe I'll spread them out a wee bit. Make it a new segment. RadicalSoda's Awesome Pokemon Evaluation. Or if we shorten that to an acronym. No! RadicalSoda's Pokemon Review. It's RadicalSoda's Pokemon Review. It's not awesome, it's not amazing, just a regular review. Let's get started with Grookey. We'll do a couple of these guys to start off with. I've already said that I like Grookey well enough. He's not a favorite, but his design ain't bad. I thought Thwackey looked good. I don't understand why people don't like him. Is it the colors? I thought they were great. Every time I'm walking alone at night, I look over my shoulder to check that Rillaboom isn't sneaking up behind me. Scorbunny is really cute, I like him a lot, but everyone thinks that, and I can't be the same as everyone else, silly. Again, I really like his animation where he actually runs up to attack. Why can't all Pokemon do that? Raboot sucks big time. Don't like him at all. Don't like his hair, don't like his colors, don't even like his weird clothes. Why did they give him clothes? Cinderace is... well, he's fine. Underwhelming, but fine. I had a problem with this boy the moment I laid eyes on him. Gosh darn it, Soba, why are your head so big? Ah! I've already expressed my distaste for Inteleon, despite its cool special move. He just looks too human, it's wrong. Even Pokemon based on humans look less human than him. Blipbug fucking sucks. Fuck you, Blipbug. Dottler's got weird eyes and a weird shaped body. He's fine for what he is and he serves his function well enough, but was it really necessary to have it take so long for him to evolve into Orbeetle? Speaking of, he's fine. He's fine. A lot of people think Squirtle is really cute. I am not one of those people. The cheeks throw me off. What are you hiding in there? Is it the rest of the game? Can I have it? Fuck you, Greedent! Give me back my Boppo! Oh, wait a minute. It was Beepo the wrestling clown, wasn't it? Nickit is a favorite of mine this generation. I love his little tail sweep to brush away his paw prints from the scene of the crime. Just lovely. What did they do to you? My poor boy. And that was it for RadicalSoda's Pokemon review. Catch us next time in like 5 minutes. Sirchester, I think. Kirchester? Sirchester, the town of ice and snow. Have I mentioned yet that you never get the running shoes? I haven't, have I? You just start off running, and if you want to walk, you just slightly tilt the analog stick. I should have really put this at the start of the video. Who gives a fuck? Am I right? Comedy! It's just a little more comedy, ain't it? What a hilarious comedic sentence. Anyway, Sirchester. That's a cute Darumaka! I probably butchered that fucking name, Darumaka! Sirchester, the city... Oh yeah, I forgot this was when I finally checked on my Pokejobs. Wait, I called one of them Bum Jumble? I completely forgot. Fucking Bum Jumble. Sirchester's hot pools and shit. Who cares? Let's check out this restaurant. Ah! 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 I decided to check out Route 9 below. Oh, look who it is. I wrote Team Skull in here. So we head up to the gym where Hopper's waiting for us. He lost. Great rival, guys. Just call him our bloody friend. None of this rival bullshit. I've never felt that Hop's been a rival once. He's always one step behind us, even when he's finished something ahead of us. He's constantly doubting himself, constantly falling behind, and he specifically chose to start a week to ours. And of course, speaking of starters, Leon got the Scorbunny. Does that mean he's gonna have Cinderace and Charizard? That's 2 fire types. That'll make his fight a bit easier, won't it? Stealth rocks ahoy. Now, before I challenged the gym, I wanted to go around the wild area again to see if anything had changed. And well, blow me down, here's a Gigantamax Corviknight. I didn't know it was a Gigantamax Corviknight, as I hadn't seen the regular Corviknight, so, well, I mean, I couldn't have caught it anyway, because I'm doing a Nuzlocke. Did Solrock just use Rock Throw? Whoa! Oh, wait, no, there he goes using Cosmic Power again. And he's dead. Alright. So, the Ice Gym. Let me explain this one a bit more in depth, because it's a little confusing. It sucks. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You have to use the vibration in your controller to detect traps in the floor, but I was too lazy to actually turn it back on, so I just looked at the thingy you hold instead. The traps get a bit more confusing as the gym goes on, but by the end it's just easier to wing it and slam yourself down a few traps rather than actually trying to work it out, so you can get to the end faster. I feel like the first couple of gyms, barring the water gym, actually had some semi-interesting gimmicks. The Wooloo herding, the competitive double battles, the pinball, but as the game goes on, the challenges are getting worse and worse. I feel like they were rushed. The Fairy Gym is literally just a set of 3 battles with some questions thrown in, and the Ice Gym is bland and boring as all hell. Don't even get me started on the Dark-type gym. We'll get there, alright? And somehow, the Dragon-type gym, the final gym! Well, we'll get to that too, but holy shit! Anyway, onto the gym leader here. Holy... Who is that? If I'm big thick, then she's giga thick! Melanie! As in, like... Am I reading into this wrong, or did Game Freak know exactly what they were doing here? Let us all pray to the giga-thick goddess Melanie.
May she fill your hearts and YouTube thumbnails with her thick thighs and ample bosom. Amen. No, seriously though, this is why Shield's the better version. I mean, fuck B! She ain't got no MILF energy. We do get to see Galarian Darmanitan, as well as its Zen mode here. However, it's looking a little less Zen and a little more on fire. This must be the first Ice Fire type. Neat. We also get to see Ice Cube, who... well, he has an ice cube on his head. He has an ability like Mimikyu, although it's a little better as it can activate multiple times. And of course, Gigantamax Lapras. Because why not give another Kanto Pokemon a Gigantamax form? Fucking Christ. Oh well, anyway, after we one-shot the Lapras... What? Well, that was surprising, alright. As I was saying about the Gigantamax Pokemon, out of all 24 of them, 10 of them are Kanto Pokemon. Actually, apart from Gigantamax Garbodor, the rest are all new Galarian Pokemon. There is a total of 1 non-Kanto or Galarian Gigantamax form. What the fuck? Hi, Rob from the future here, after learning things from Cerebi. Apparently Melmetal will also have a Gigantamax form. And, I mean, that's fine and all. Like, it doesn't really... I mean, what generation is Melmetal from? I really don't know. It's from Pokemon Go, isn't it? I guess I should also mention that out of the 19 Galarian Pokemon, including their evolutions, 9 of them are also from Kanto. That's almost half of them. Who the fuck asked for another Mr. Mime? Also, I want to point out, and this is an entirely different subject, that Game Freak actually removed Pokemon moves this game. And not just moves that no Pokemon can use because they aren't in the game. Oh no! Moves like, I don't know, what's a Pokemon signature move no longer in the game? Like Dark Void. Darkrai isn't in the game, so, you know, why even bother programming in the move, right? Makes sense. But they left out moves for Pokemon that are still in the game. Why the hell can't Vespiquen learn Heal Order anymore? She still has Defense Order and Attack Order. Why did they just take out one of her signature moves? But it's not just a few odd moves here and there. Oh no! It's 144 moves! Moves like Double Slap, and there's Clefairy and Clefable, so I guess they don't learn that move anymore. Like Jump Kick, Dragon Rage, Sonic Boom, Bubble. Fucking Bubble! Now granted, a lot of these moves are the Z moves from last generation, but there's still a hefty amount here, a surprising amount. Well, I got the gym badge. I suppose all I can do now is head down to Route 9 unintruded and progress on to the next town. Maybe battle a couple of Team Skull members along the way, row Team Skull again, and you already know that that's not gonna happen, don't you? Hey, Sonia, didn't expect you to be here! Sonia wants us to meet in... to celebrate our win against Melanie, the curvaceous enchantress. But there just so happens to be something very interesting on the wall here, because of course there is. Nothing like plot convenience wherever we go. I decided to pick the funniest dialogue option here. I was sick of learning the same things about the Darkest Day over and over. Damn it, okay, that's good. That's bloody funny. I actually chuckled when I saw this. Whoever wrote that, fucking good on ya. Actually the best moment of the game right there. Oddly enough, you can't actually buy anything in here. I was expecting at least to be able to purchase some ingredients for curry, but I guess not. Instead, exiting the restaurant will bring you to another cutscene, and Hop actually wants to battle this time. Hooray! No longer will I just be beating up a depressed 10-year-old. Now he's getting his ass kicked willingly. And there he is! Wooloo is back, and oh, it's less cute than ever. Dubwool. How Hop managed to evolve him while simultaneously abandoning him in a box is beyond me, but he's finally back. Also, we aren't in the town anymore, we're back out in the wilderness. Come on! I'll switch in for links to deal with this thing. Finding type and all, easy peasy. Time for my special move, No Retreat. Oh my god, I should not have done that. Well, Phalanx is pretty strong. I could probably take out all of Hop's Pokemon with it, right? Oh jeez, I'm screwed, man. Scary Face, yes, keep using that. Oh not! Shit! Okay, who's next? Snorlax, I can beat that. Okay, not bad, just 2 more. Inteleon, he's lanky, he's thin, I bet I can knock him out just fine. Oh no, that does a lot of damage, doesn't it? Oh god, he's just gonna keep using Snipe Shot, isn't he? He really isn't quitting. Doesn't want to change his strategy at all? I am literally waiting for this hail to kill Inteleon while I waste my potions here. Guess I'm supposed to wait for his PP to run out? How much PP could he have? 10? 15? God, don't tell me it's over 15. Jesus Christ, he must be getting low by now. Oh, thank God. Oh, hell, why did he do so much damage? And again, is this game trying to stop me from winning?
You unfair bastard! Stop doing more damage than before! Man, one critical hit and I am done for. Yes! He's finally out of PP, but I don't know, man. I feel weird about this. I'm gonna heal up anyway, just in case. What? You son of a bitch! I knew it! Knocked out from a hail. Jesus Christ. Oh man, I don't even want to know what his last Pokemon is. But he's just a wee cutie pie. What's he meant to do? There wasn't a lead into a joke or anything. You really couldn't do much. Well, that was an experience. Remind me to delete no retreat as soon as possible. Sonia, shut up. That was not a right, proper battle. What you witnessed was Spam City. Well, I guess I better stock up again. And while I stock up, we might as well start another RadicalSoda's Pokemon review. Last time we ended on something I hated, this time we'll start on something I love. Zigzagoon is now a KISS band member, and it's great. Love the colors here, never got to use one though, I wish I had. Lanoon is looking real sifty with their tongue hanging out over there. Still really like the remixed design, looks funny. Obstagoon is a good Pokemon too. I wasn't really sure what to think of it, getting up on its hind legs, but I think it works overall, no real problems here with me. Wooloo. It's fucking Wooloo, what can I say here? It's adorable. Double. I mean, he's fine. I just don't know why they gave him a grey beard. I think keeping it either black or white would have looked better. The spots throw me off a bit too, but I don't really care either way. I don't like Chootle. I don't like the head shape, don't like his horn, I don't like how he's constantly in a bad mood. Cheer up, you twat! However, I think Dreadnought is alright. I mean, not a huge fan, but I like the Snappy Turtle inspiration and how they turned him essentially into another bear trap, like Stunfisk. Listen, I love Corgis. Man, I love them so much, but Yamper? He rubs me the wrong way, man. The green eyes are kind of creepy. He's got weird bits of green all over him. His tail is just a generic lightning bolt. Not a fan at all. Less so of Boltund. Again, it's just like they took a dog and just slapped some electric features on him. At least Electrike and Manectric looked legitimately like electric-type Pokemon. At most, these two could be normal electric. Alright, Gossifleur. It's fine. No strong feelings one way or the other. Same with Eldegoss. I get the inspiration, just not my kind of Pokemon. Next up is Sizzlipede, and you already know that I love this little guy. Love the colors, love the mustache, and when he evolves he looks even better. What a fantastic Pokemon design. Roly-Poly started off alright, the region's generic rock type. I like how it gets around on a single wheel, but when it evolved into Carkol, what happened to its face? I can live with the rest, but Roly-Poly's eye thing was the best thing about it. This is just creepy. Don't even get me started on Colossal. It doesn't even seem to connect to the other two, other than the fact that it's holding coal on its back. And even then, it just looks like it was shoved on top afterwards. I hate this design. It feels lazy, and I wish it evolved into a train instead. Arrokuda is this region's common fish Pokemon, and it's pretty funny looking. I like him quite a bit. Barrascuda, on the other hand, not so much. The rotating tail thing is a neat idea, but his face is kind of creepy, and the swirl coming from the edges of his mouth makes me think of those old tiny mustaches that villains had, although that might be the intention. Either way, not a fan. Meowth didn't... What? Meowth didn't need to be a regional variant. He looks distinct enough to be his own Pokemon, and that coin thing, that just doesn't suit him anymore. But while I think Meowth looks fine, I really don't like Berserker. Don't get me wrong, he's strong. I kept him in my team for Ironhead. I just don't like the design. I was hoping he'd evolve into something else after Berserker, but nope. And that's all for now. Join us next time for whatever the hell this is. So next I actually went against my natural instincts and went inside one of the non-necessary buildings and decided to check out a single room. Surprise, surprise, something actually happens. Looks like this detective with the same model as every other male model in the game is trying to figure out who ate all these apples, berries. They're definitely berries. Hi there, Rob here from another alternate timeline where I actually looked at these berries and didn't stop writing the script simply saying, wow, those look like apples. Because I started to realize that those don't look like any of the berries in Pokemon either. And on further inspection, after looking through every single berry available in Pokemon from every region, they don't look like any of them. They don't look like any berry at all. Heck, Game Freak couldn't even be bothered creating alternate models for different berries. Instead, they just look like big plastic balls coming from the tree. But despite that, these berries have a specific model? I don't think so. I'm starting to suspect that these so-called berries have been taken from another Game Freak game and shoved inside. And if not, then why couldn't they have modeled some actual berries from the actual game? How hard could that have been? So it looks like it's up to us to figure out who done it. Finally, a good old-fashioned Pokemon puzzle. By speaking to each of the people, it doesn't even matter who I picked, does it? This kid's Pokemon ate the apples, didn't it? Yep, juices around its mouth. Well, At least it's a fun little distraction. Nothing wrong with that. A cute way of getting the wide lens item, you know, like a magnifying glass. If you complete your Pokédex, I'm sure you'll feel a great sense of accomplishment. Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll get a great sense of pride and accomplishment for that. Or I would if the Pokédex wasn't ripped in half. As a reminder to those out there who want to say that you couldn't actually catch every Pokemon in all the other singular Pokemon games out there, you are correct, you are completely right. You have to trade in other Pokemon from previous generations or other generations into those games in order to complete the national dex. But, you know, at least those Pokemon were actually coded into the game, is what I'm trying to say here. I appreciate that the regional dex is a lot bigger this time around in Sword and Shield, but the reason why in previous Pokemon games they could get away with having the regional dex being so small is because you could just go onto the GTS and trade any Pokemon from any of the same generation's games, or transfer them from previous games. For example, if I wanted a Kyogre, I could simply trade it from my Gen 3 Emerald game, and I just slot it into my Nintendo DS, and there it is. Or if I want Ho-Oh or Lugia, I can just trade it from Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I can even use the GTS if I want to easily get any of the Pokemon without even having to buy any of the other games or DLC for that matter. Speaking about DLC for a second, I've seen a lot of people say that the National Dex Crisis thing is, it's not even a crisis, it's just an annoyance, is fixed now because they've added in the old Pokemon with the DLC. That's not true. There's still going to be about 200 Pokemon still missing, so to those saying that, I don't know where you're coming from. There'll still be Pokemon like, I don't know, probably fucking Lopunny still gone. I don't know. Why don't you go straight to Lopunny? Pervert. So back down to Route 9 we go, and well, you know how it goes. Team Yell is trying to stop people progressing through the route. The bike dude is there. We fight Team Yell, upgrade our bike, yada yada yada, and now we can bike on water. Cool, I guess. Better than seeing an animation every time you want to surf. Now here's something I actually forgot about, but this fight specifically reminded me about it. Do you see anything wrong here? No, you probably don't actually. Okay, what if I do this? Yeah, that's all empty space up there. Back when our Pokemon weren't evolved, the camera angle was lower to the ground and our Pokemon took up a good amount of space. Now, most of the screen is taken up with the background. Look how tiny my Pokemon is here. Other Pokemon actually have it far worse. I don't understand why it's like this, and it persists throughout the entire game. I think maybe they did this so you could see Pokemon that fly properly, but why wouldn't they just lower the camera for Pokemon that don't then? Or better yet, change some of the Pokemon that don't fly often and make them stand on the ground again like in previous generations. Charizard looks stupid constantly flapping his wings. Salamence? He's not even in this game. Tropius? Oh, he's not here either, but you know, Xatu? A Pokemon in the actual game, it looks silly as heck just hovering there. Put him back on the ground. But that would involve creating new animations, and goodness knows Game Freak seem to have a phobia of that. The only reason all these Pokemon are flying anyway is because of the flying battles in X and Y, and they got rid of those the next game. I found a funny looking Pokemon over here. Oh, I think it's Boppo's evolution. Oh, I don't like that mouth. Oh, no. I thought it had a wee W mouth there, but oh, that line there is... Oh, no thanks. I did catch it, though, called a Grumbo. So, Route 9. Route 9 stinks. It's the most boring, bland, unappealing route in the entire game. With Pokemon Sword and Shield's take on route design, that being shallow, this overly large path is nothing more than a slog. There are trainers scattered here and there, and how they got here is beyond me. There's a hint of a joke with people sunbathing in the snow, and then maybe that's a joke about how England always has crappy weather, even in the summer. I mean, it might be. It's not funny, but I mean, sure. Make more sense if it was just foggy and raining. The trainers here generally just have water-type Pokemon like Wishy-Washy or Wailord. Are we seriously going with this? No, really. Are we just going to accept that the biggest Pokemon ever conceived is represented as being the size of a large beanbag? The fucking Dynamax version is closer to his actual size than the normal model. Why are Pokemon being scaled correctly in the overworld if they're just going to be shrunken down in battles? Let's go Pikachu and Eevee did this right. What's the excuse here? Pathetic. Just pathetic. Distant Kingdom has done a great video on this. I mean, look at all the other versions of Wailord in console games. Now in Sword and Shield. Forget why he's not properly scaled, at least make him bigger than the rest. Right now he's smaller than my goddamn creepy ass gorilla guy. Just another friendly reminder that Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise in the world. No excuse, no fucking excuse. Lady, what are you doing wearing that out in the snow? Your toes are gonna go blue. If you don't already have hypothermia, someone get that woman a jacket. Okay, now forget the desert berry tree. This is the worst placed berry tree in the game. It's fucking snowing. There are no other trees anywhere to be seen. The ground will be all salty thanks to the seawater here, if it is seawater, and it's growing on sand. I farted. So down below the sea, we reach Outer Spikemuth. What the heck is with all these sub-areas? It's a nightmare for a Nuzlocke. We make it to the next town, but unfortunately the gate is down and none of these people can get in. All 4 of them. Guess there aren't many people living in Spikemuth, especially since 2 of them are gym challengers. But Marnie's here too, calling us over from the bushes. We head on over and, oh, here's an entrance. Why the heck doesn't anyone just go around the shutter to see if there's any other entrances to the town? Actually, how can they block off the entrance to a town with a simple shutter? What sort of town only has a singular entrance? So Marnie wants to battle us, but I need to heal up my Pokemon, so I decline for now. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't fucking move me into the path of the giant monster jellyfish game! Actually, why did it move me anyway? That's the sort of shit I'd do in RPG Maker or something to make sure my character was in the right position for the next scene. Here it just looks really janky. Just make the barrier this line here, and then when you decline the battle, just have your player take a single step backwards instead of going to this one very specific spot. So the reason why Marnie wants to battle us is, apparently she's my rival. What? Since when was she my rival? I've already got Hop and Bead. This is just turning into X and Y faster and faster. After the battle, which of course had her theme playing while we fought, it's a good theme, not as good as Bead's, but good. I just feel like it doesn't really reflect her as a character. Then again, to be honest, I don't think she reflects her as a character. From a first glance, I see several different traits. The punk-style hair mixed with the girly bangs and ribbons, the studded leather jacket over the pink dress, the bored, serious expression she carries. All of these physical features point to a character that she just isn't. From her design, I expected her to be a tough, rude, blunt, maybe even a little spoiled girl. But what we get is a generic, underdeveloped, boring rival with little sass or spunk. Maybe if the game had voice acting, we'd be able to get a much better read on her character. What I'm basically trying to say is that her visual design does not represent the way that she actually acts, leaving her as a boring, forgettable character. That is all. She shows us how to get into the town, and, well, it looks grungy. That's pretty new for a Pokemon game. I'm actually excited to explore it. It looks like this is the town where Team Yell hails from. They're all around the place, even in the Pokemon Center. Wait, hang on. I'm in the gym? This town is a gym? And the gym train is a Team Yell? It's almost like this ties into that missing gym leader, because the gym leader is Marnie's brother and Team Yell is trying to help Marnie win because they're the gym trainers. I'm embarrassed to say I actually didn't figure that out until I got here. I guess I was sort of on autopilot for most of the game. Speaking of Team Yell, the primary colors of the game are magenta and cyan. Why the hell isn't Team Yell yellow? You would have been able to keep the identity of them a secret too. Pokemon Gun is going to be yellow, mark my words. Actually, they're probably going to go for the most profit and release 2 versions again with almost no differences. Pokemon Sword 2 and Shield 2 ahoy, folks. Just a reminder, again, I have seen the DLC footage. Just wanted to keep all this in as they were my initial thoughts, and I think it's important to keep those in. And it does reflect on how I see the DLC. And that'll come. Anyway, this town sucks. And the gym sucks. It all sucks. The starting section with the Poké Center is about the size of a bedroom, and the gym is a straight line. There are Mr. Mimes blocking your way. It's a fucking Dark-type gym. Can you not just have like an Obstagoon stopping you from progressing? Why a Mr. Mime? It's not even this region's Mr. Mime. That one is blue. Also, when it starts to run off, it does like its idle pose and then transitions into a run. And Game Freak will animate a front flip animation for Team Yell, but not them actually landing. That could have been funny, but whatever. Near the end of the gym, a Team Yell member forgets to put on his full costume, revealing him to be a gym trainer. But I mean, dude, we already figured that out, man. So after Marnie sees that Team Yell has locked down the city... City? Are you kidding me? I'd love to run around in a huge Spikemuth city, but all we get is a straight line. Pathetic. This isn't a city, this is a 2.5D section. And everyone knows that if you make the transition to 2.5D, you're being fucking lazy. I've seen some people compare this city to the old beat-em-up fighters like Streets of Rage or Golden Axe, that sort of thing, but I didn't get that impression at all. Firstly, that'd make more sense in a fighting-type gym, but if that's what Game Freak was going for, it was severely underutilized. Sometimes I just straight up forget that it would be more than possible for Game Freak to just add extra mechanics for a single area. Shit, they already did it for every other gym, basically. Do something interesting here! Get us to pick up a crowbar and smash someone over the head with it. Anyway, here's the gym leader. We've got a crowd booing? What? And he's not even singing. Fucking, I said it before, but it bears repeating again. There has already been a punk-style gym with a singer, and she actually sung with real words. This is just awkward. Anyway, this is the stadium for the Dark Gym. It's not actually a stadium, just a small arena.
I guess Spike Muth didn't have the funding for one. It seems weird to have a huge worldwide tournament and not have one of the biggest battles televised like the others. You can't even Dynamax here, a change I was actually happy about. Finally something different, you know. I like the changes made to this gym, well, the final area anyway. And actually gave some character. Piers, his character, I love him. And Game Freak must have loved him just as much as me because he comes back later too. He's a good gym leader with real motives and wants. The others are so shallow compared to him. They're mere puddles as opposed to his, well, bathtub. He's still not that complicated, but he's good for a Pokemon game at least. Now, I said I wouldn't be using No Retreat anymore, but this is the Dark-type gym. Fighting type is strong against Dark-type, so I think we'll be perfectly fine, okay? One shot the Scrafty, then onto the... Uh-oh. Thankfully, Melima barely does any damage in general, so we're fine. And there we go. Did you notice that Piers has his very own battle theme? It would have been so cool if every gym leader had had one. I mean, oh well. After the battle, Piers tells Marnie that he's sick of being the gym leader and that he wants her to take over being the champion. After the Champion Cup? She says no because she's going to become the champion, and I mean, good luck with that. A Pikachu clone will get you really far, I'm sure. I guess this is where she's ending up, much like Bede, who I'm assuming comes back as the fairy-type gym leader. Why so many gyms with changing leaders? And wait, shouldn't you, like, take it up with the chairman or whatever if you want to change leaders? Like, isn't this a regulated thing? It's not like Spike Muth is even really well monitored. For God's sake, they shut up shop just to stop people coming in and the chairman didn't even do shit. Where are the policemen in this world? Weren't they in Fire Red and stuff? It feels like nowadays the only police guy is Looker, who, weirdly enough, doesn't actually appear in this game. He's been popping up since Gen 4, so I found that a bit odd. Actually, hang on, there are policemen. But they're high on shrooms in the middle of a blizzard, remember? So we exit Spike Muth and BAM! It's story time, baby! A huge explosion has occurred over at Hammerlock and even the champion's here! He runs off to see what's happened and we follow him. The tunnel back to the city is filled with onlookers flabbergasted at the sight. It seems that a Dynamax Pokemon is rampaging with a red light going off. We exit the tunnel into Route 3 where Hopper's waiting. He tells us that a bunch of wild Pokemon have started Dynamaxing and are rampaging all over the place. Looks like it's up to the two of us to take them down. Oh, Leon's beat him already. Huh. I mean, hey, we get a picture showing us what happened. Are you fucking kidding me? The most interesting thing that's happened so far, and it gets reduced down to a single picture. A fucking picture. If that doesn't sum up the Sword and Shield experience, I don't know what will. For fuck's sake, honestly, what a fucking travesty. The next cutscene is back in Hammerlock, and we run into Leon and Sonia again. Oh, right, and the Professor Lady, and I forgot she was even in this game. She says some obvious shit about the Darkest Day, and Sonia's surprised by it. And we get a prompt to say the same thing twice, confirming that you'll help out about the Darkest Day, only for Leon to completely shoot you down again. What's the fucking point of asking if A, you're not even gonna give me two separate answers, and B, if the answer I give doesn't matter in the slightest? That's how you take control away from the player, much like you took control away from us in almost every other aspect of this fucking game. The final gym! Wow, it feels like we got here really quickly. Like, it took a very long time to get to the first gym, but after that we just kind of blasted through them, barely slowing down, at least that's the way I perceived it. Anyway, as is per usual with most final gyms, it's a very atmospheric and posing area where the puzzles actually need a bit of thinking. I'm lying through my teeth, of course I am. It's a single room. A single room where one by one trainers battle you. But oh, not just any battles, double battles! Yeah, no, this is the most boring and laziest gym in the entirety of Pokemon. Take a look at Raihan. What sort of a dude does he look like? Wearing hip clothes, that cheeky, confident grin. He takes selfies, for God's sake. Wouldn't you think his gym would be like, I don't know, full of stuff? A social media hub, maybe? A convention-style thing for his fans? I don't fucking know. Making a BDSM chamber where Gudra does unspeakable things to him. Who cares? Anything's better than a single room. It's completely rushed, this whole fucking game. You cannot tell me that this is what the artists, the area designers, had in mind when thinking of the final gym. No fucking way. In Black and White, we stood on goddamn dragons. That's a good example of a final gym. Even Black and White 2, the calm before the storm, the place was at least pretty and had a gimmick. Fucking Brock, the very first gym ever, back in Red and Blue, still has more going for it than Sword and Shield's last gym. At least it had some fucking rocks. Anyway, so we battle Raihan. At this point, I was honestly still flabbergasted by what I just witnessed. As was with the trainers, his fight's a double battle, and because he's a Dragon-type gym leader, all we need is a good Fairy-type and a couple of good Dazzling Gleams or something. Wait, no, Steel! I forgot Steel Wheatbix! Way back! Oh, way back! That's really dry. Oh my god. Now, despite me being an idiot and losing a Pokemon here, I just want to point out something. Raihan has 4 Pokemon. 4!
A measly 4 in black and white, the final gym leader. Wait, what? 3? They had 3? Shit, even in black and white too, Marlon had 3. In X and Y, Wolfric, who the hell is Wolfric? He had 3. Most final gym leaders have only had 4 Pokemon. At most 5, but mostly 4. Now I really feel like these games are just made for kids' shit. After we exit the gym, we're shoved into another cutscene with Sonia and Magnum Ice Cream, not sponsored. This cutscene is here so Magnolia can pass on the title of Professor to Sonia. For some reason. Can't we have more than one professor in a region? Anyway, as Magnolia says, she's giving Sonia her lab coat, which she puts on. That is not Magnolia's lab coat. Wait, she didn't even bother creating a model of Magnolia without a coat, did they? Fucking hell. So I traveled back to the wild area to check out some of the final places I hadn't caught any Pokemon yet, and I found a Q-Font. Would have put it on the team, but already had a Steel type, and I don't like Copperaja quite as much. Also caught a Dynamax Roselia. I didn't want one, but I figured if my scary Gorilla Man kicked the bucket, I'd at least have another Grass type to replace him. Heading back to Hammerlock, once we get to the station, we have to suffer through yet another cutscene where Hopper's now completely back to normal. Wow, what a surprise! Almost like beating the second strongest trainer in the entire region means you're strong and you should stop downing yourself, you idiot!
Ha! Have it! Listen, hey, sorry to shout. I thought I was going crazy for a second. Fuck! Okay, listen here.
In the next scene, we hop on a train with Hop, you know that. I figured, hey, wait a minute. They were using the exact same camera angle, train background, moving background, animations, and just basically the whole scene progression from the first train scene.
I looked back, and let me shock you here for a second. I was wrong.
So that's great, right? New scene then. No, of course not. No. The scene starts with the tapping feet, the same animation, camera slightly moved upwards for some reason, don't ask me. If I'd been tasked with this, I would have just copied the camera's position completely. Then it's Hop and your trainer sitting there, just swiping their phones like they did before. Same train background, same environment moving behind us, yada yada yada. But then I realized, Hop is actually leaning forward. Yeah! Look at that change, huh? High quality animation, if you ask me. Of course, all they did was rotate his hips a bit because his head motion is exactly the same as before, but hey, that's something. And you might have even noticed something else. Can you guess what it is? Probably not, because I fucking lost it when I saw this going through the footage. Check out my character's phone between scenes. It moves. Now it's angled a little more downwards, meaning, well, now that not only is it intersecting Hop's phone and is phasing through it, although, hey, I mean, it's a bit hard to tell to see if it's actually piercing through it or not. Yeah, they're probably a few centimeters away, but here's what I was thinking. If the phone had changed angles, what else had changed? Well, the hand would have had to change angles too in order to still be holding the phone, right? Okay, no, they didn't think of that, I guess. I have no idea how she's holding that phone anymore, but all the more power to you, girl. At least they changed where her finger swipes, right? Of course they did it. Golly gee, I sure do like stroking the side of my phone with my finger. That's oh so fun. Fucking Christ. Hell, well, this isn't even a nitpick. A nitpick is saying, oh, this NPC in the background doesn't blink. Do they? I'm not sure, actually. All they had to do was copy and paste the animations from the previous scene, and instead, somehow, they messed up. High quality animations. So here we are in the route before Winden. It's just a fun Pokemon game, folks. Now let me see here. I feel like I'm going batshit insane. So snow! Again? I don't know why. And Winden has no snow in it, so it just ends up feeling real samey because the last ride had snow as well. But hey, what are we here for? Innovation? If we were, we wouldn't be playing this shit. Hey, it's the bike guy again. Oh, wait, no, it's not. They just used a generic trainer for him. I remember now. Why make anyone who isn't a gym leader, rival, professor, or evil team boss unique, right? Please tell me there's someone else who has a unique design, please. I'm looking through the wiki now, and the only one I can see is the Fossil Reviver. I said the artist only battles you once, but his model comes back as an NPC a few times, and I'm not counting these clowns as unique. They're each other with different hairdos and a hue saturation change in Photoshop. They're so easy to make. We've already got Gunther. Gosh, this hike is really creeping me out. You know what? I think it's time for another RadicalSoda's Pokemon review. I think we're up to Milcery. It's a blubber milk. Cream? Not a big fan. I am a fan, however, of Alcremie. With a bunch of different designs and toppings, I think this Pokemon is absolutely fantastic. In my second playthrough, I was fortunate enough to find a Milcery, which I evolved into if I can remember correctly, a strawberry topped yellowish old creamy with pink bits all over it. I love it. Next up is Applin. I think it's pretty neat. Pretty neat. I like food Pokemon, what can I say? Flapple is friggin' weird, but heck, at least he's pretty inventive. However, I have no idea how he's flapping those skins. Has he glued the back of his hands to them? Appleton is a nice one too. I like him quite a bit. The only thing throwing me off is the eyes drooping over the sides of his face. I kind of wish those ears and his eyes popped up when the apple part rose. Oh well, it's a small nitpick. Farfetch'd gets a pure fighting type Galarian form and sword, and yeah, it's a fighting type Farfetch'd. It's fine. Sure as heck like it a lot more than Surfetch'd. Jesus, it might only be me out there who thinks this, but Surfetch'd looks too silly to even be silly. I honestly can't tell if they were trying to make him look this goofy or not, especially with Farfetch'd and his edgy look over there. Surfetch'd seems really stiff, just kind of standing upright, keeping his weapons real close. The body hasn't even really changed apart from color-wise. I don't know, I'll be honest, I thought this was literally just Farfetch'd's Galarian form to begin with. I don't think he needed the one before this even if I prefer the design. I've already talked about Stunfisk. Other than the disappointing move pool and really odd ability, which forces it to change typing in an elemental terrain like misty terrain or grassy terrain, I like him. I like the bear trap design. You can even see where Pokemon have stepped on him, although I kind of wish the footprints were brown. It might look better. Ghost type Corsola. Really smart design. Did Coral turn into a Pokemon? That's genius. Corsola is cool too, if not a little creepy. And thanks to a video from Lockstin and Noggin, I know that now its design stems from the nets that scrape along the bottom of the sea floor. So this is basically decapitated coral, hence its bottom hanging around there. It's a good video, I recommend checking it out. Impidimp is a little shit and I don't like him. Don't like his design, his colors. I mean, he's Sableye creepy long-lost cousin, and that's really saying something. Have you seen Sableye? I don't feel like this one's design really screams Pokemon in any way whatsoever. Morgrim is a more greasy Impidimp with pants. So now I can imagine one without pants. Great. Grimmstyle is, weirdly enough, my favorite out of the bunch. I actually think he looks really cool. Don't know why, I just like him. And back to Route 10, back into the game, back into the fun. Let's see what it has in store for us. Well, there's boring ass wild Pokemon littering the area. I don't want a Snova. I had one in Pearl and they are the slowest little buggers. There are some Sneasels and Bearticks too, but I've had those before as well. I just really want some of the newer Pokemon. Thank you. Ah! You know, I've never seen a flying bear before. You're in! Let's just weaken him a little bit. Share cold! You will be missed. Rippin', Pippin, Pee-Pee, Bonanza Gyms. Holy shit, they followed through. It's the reporter and a cameraman back from before. Of course, in Emerald, we would have fought them throughout the entire game instead of just in 2 areas. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I forgot that these guys even existed. It took me a second to realize they were the same people. That's who has unique models. These assholes. Looks like their Pokemon are just a bit tougher this time around. Good thing I have my brand new tough as nails Beartick I just caught. Come on out, killer. Oh god, killer. And here we are, the final, biggest, most incredible city in all of Galar. It's minuscule. It's got like 4 areas and 3 of them are single buildings. Yep. I was excited to see the largest city in all of Galar based on London, of all places. I mean, if Black and White can create Castelia based on New York City, and X and Y can create a giant round Lumiose city based on Paris, then surely Sword and Shield can give us something of at least equal value. I'm done setting myself up for this. Hey, the city sucks. It's got one thing that's new, being the Battle Tower, which is essentially the Battle Tree, which is essentially the Battle Mason, etc, etc. Every other shop you can find elsewhere, there's nothing to see or do. It's a bland fucking city. And it certainly doesn't feel like in-game territory. You could have shoved this into the first section of the game instead of Motorstoke. What is there here to see? There's barely any fucking people here as well. Not that you'd be able to tell even if they were. They pop up fucking a couple of meters ahead of you. It's like every other area in this fucking game. I'm sick of it. Sick of this game. I would just stop here. I really would. But even now, right at the last city, there's still more to talk about. For instance, my Pokemon called Pokerus. What the hell? If you don't know what Pokerus is, it's essentially a Pokemon virus that allows Pokemon to grow more quickly than normal. Or as you Pokemon fan dudes and dudettes out there would say, gain EVs at an accelerated rate. The chance of one of your Pokemon becoming afflicted with Pokerus after a battle is around 1 in 20,845. For reference, finding a shiny Pokemon is something like 1 in 4,000. To be honest, I'd rather have a shiny. With all the vitamins you can pump into your Pokemon nowadays, who the hell needs Pokerus? Anyway, I need some more Pokemon. A few of mine have gone to live on a farm where they'll be much happier. So it's off to the final places I haven't encountered a wild Pokemon yet. First up, Route 6. Oh. That's the most disgusting thing I ever seen. I decided to use some candies to make Comb and Dingustin evolve. Comb looks great, and hopefully Dingustin turns out a little better than he does now. Like a poo peeking out of an anus. Lastly, there was this giant Bronzong I found, which I called Beefy Boy. And that's it, my final team, all ready for the Elite Four. If there is an Elite Four, I haven't heard a hide nor hair of any sort of final group, and all the other gym leaders not on the League Challenge are plot-wise smaller and weaker than the ones I've already fought. I suppose there's the other gym challenges, but the only ones who've made it this far are Hop and Marnie. Well, we'll have to see, I guess. Even Sun and Moon had an Elite Four, and they didn't even have a proper gym challenge. Anyway, we've got Comb, the Center Scorch, Dingustin, the shit coming out of a butthole, Thinky, the Stunfisk, Chumley, the Barbaracle, Pistachio, the Scary Gorilla Man, and Abomination, the Abomination. We're all set, let's head on in. Thought I'd buy a few sodas, seeing as there was a vending machine here, but in true Pokemon fashion, you still can't buy multiple of these things at once, and it takes like 10 seconds to get a single one. Also, at this point in the game, my Pokemon have far too much HP for me to actually be using Lemonade. It makes me wonder if there was a vending machine in a previous earlier in town I could have used. I didn't see any Moo Moo Milk sellers either, I just realized, but that's probably because Miltank isn't coded into the game. So it looks like there's 8 challenges, if this chart on the wall is anything to go by, and judging by what I said before, yep, we're up against Marnie. She gets a remix of her theme for this fight, which is nice, however her team is pretty weak as always. She uses a Gigantamax Grimmsnarl as her final Pokemon, which is pretty dang cool. I really like its design, but its G-Max move, which I'm guessing is just like a special Z Dynamax move thing, was G-Max Snooze, which puts you to sleep. I'd been poisoned by her Toxicroak just before though, so I took it out with a single attack without falling asleep. She just accepts that she's lost without a single care. I mean, everything she's worked so hard for is now down the shitter, but whatever, right? The next challenger I'll be facing is, of course, Hop, who also gets his own special remix. But I'm just feeling more and more sorry for him with every battle. We're at the very end of the game, and still, no one is switching out their Pokemon to gain an advantage. They're just letting me set up over and over. Anyway, a couple of Calm Minds, Light Screens, and Reflects later, and we're quickly dispatching every Pokemon he throws out. He sends out his Dynamax Dintalion, but oh no, Max Darkness! Yeah, it's a fucking joke at this point. Hop at least shows some sort of emotion. He thanks me for beating him, and I'll be honest, it was a little bit bittersweet here. Like, I'll talk about a little bit more about that later. Anyway, we're on to the finals. The finals with fight against the champion. They said finals though. There's more than one, so I guess they've got some other trainers up their sleeve they haven't told me about yet. Anyway, Leon invites us out for dinner before that, though, so we head on back to the hotel to get ready before that. What? Leon invites us out for dinner before that, though, so we head on back to the hotel to get ready. The reporters appear a final time here, although instead of battling, they just ask me some questions. I'll be honest, Top was standing right next to me, and I was just trying to make him feel better. Fuck, I'm a pansy. Video games make you violent, my ass. And Hop, they really weren't rude questions. If that's rude, my dude, you need to find some tood, you prude. So we wait for Leon in the lobby, but he's running really late. Hop starts to get worried because apparently the guy who gets lost all the time and as a result is late places is never this late. Piers, however, comes on in to inform us that he's being held up at Rose Tower as he has a meeting with the chairman. Hop asks Piers if he can take us there because we don't know the way. Oh bullshit, there's 4 areas in this town and we've already been to 3 of them. The city's the size of a Walmart. Piers accepts, however, and he invites Team Yellow along as he knows security will be tight. I never got this part of the story. If Hop knows that Leon is in an important meeting, why the heck is he trying to break into the tower? Just let your brother have the meeting and meet you later. You know what he's doing now. What a stupid reason to have us go there to learn only a very subtle hint that Chairman Rose is doing something suspicious. Ooh, I wonder if he's to be trusted or not. Gee, they definitely won't try to sneak a surprise villain on us right at the end of the game again. Marnie comes along too for some reason. Oleana actually appears outside as well, stating again that Leon's in a very important meeting with the chairman. P.S. He's the fucking chairman. You could lose your friggin' job. Actually, I don't think he'd really care all that much, would he? Oleana then proceeds to tell us exactly who's keeping a hold of the tower key. Have you been hit with a simple beam or something, Oleana? Learned that one from Bede. Missed that guy. Why in the world would you tell this ragtag group how to get into the tower you don't want them getting into? That'd be like me not wanting people to like this very video that we're in and then making sure that in excruciating detail I tell them exactly where the like button is and how to get to it and that it's down below the video and also that it would help the channel out greatly if they would do that. Please, just help a guy out. I mean, my Patreon's in the description below. Then she proceeds to tell us that the employee she's given the key to looks different to every other employee. I find it both funny and infuriating that they actually worked in their fucking incompetence to create more than one model for each NPC class. This guy only has minuscule changes anyway. What he has black shades? Is that it? You know? Everyone always goes on about how Nurse Joy has tons of sisters because they all look exactly the same. What about these employees' brothers and sisters? The gym trainers' brothers and sisters, the goddamn lasses' sisters, the youngsters' brothers, the dancers' sisters. The list goes on. Usually, I don't care about this sort of stuff. But we're 6 years into 3D Pokemon. You'd think there'd be some improvement. Different hairstyles, colors, eyes, clothes, heck, make a working character creator and just use that. Heaps of other games use the character creators to make NPCs. Skyrim, Final Fantasy XIV, Monster Hunter. I'm sure there's other examples. Have you noticed that my writing's become just a little bit fatigued? I'm running on pure hatred now. So we're back in the plaza so we can find this dude with the key. There's a few other employees scattered around, so we have to find the right one. Not that you need to do anything other than run up to each one and press A. The game tells you when you found him. Once you have, you battle him, of course, although when he loses, he doesn't give you the key. Instead, he just runs away. If beating him in a battle doesn't get you the key, then nothing else will. It's not like we're gonna beat his ass up. Guess it's time for Game Freak's old Patton to chase the NPC until he's decided that you've fucked around for long enough to get the story moving again, minigame. The final hiding spot was actually pretty good. He's inside a phone booth, which took me a while to find. It was surprisingly funny. Marnie is there in each fight in the background cheering you on, and you can respond with answers, I guess. Not like any will negatively impact you or anything, so just pick whatever. The employee runs off yet again, this time into the station. I think it's a station. I'm very tired. He lines up with a bunch of identical twins, and instead of doing the obvious thing and just pointing out which one is him, that being the one they obviously showed running into the line, this is making less and less sense as time goes on. No, Pierce decides that this would be a good time to start singing. As I just said, less and less sense. He's doing a street performance to bring down the people upstairs, pushing the employee dudes away. They look really enthusiastic and also very solid. They are definitely not clipping through each other here. Pathetic. So Marnie just stands there, or she gets the key. How did she get the key by just standing there? It just goes to show how basic the animation is if they needed text boxes to show something like a character grabbing something, if they show it at all. So here we are at Rose Tower. Hop says he can't even see the top because it's in the clouds. Yeah, sure. So Hop and I enter the building. Hop says how huge it is again. Hop, it's no bigger than the fucking stadium entrance. Shut the fuck up. All you're doing is making it clear that the game does not reflect the dialogue. An employee comes out of the elevator ready to battle. Is it the same one as before? Nope, but nobody told Game Freak that. I don't know what I meant by saying that. That's just, I must have been really tired. We battle him, and the battle music here is kind of like a happy, empowering theme. Really odd choice for this section. Isn't it supposed to be like a mission or something where it's dangerous? We're breaking the law here, you know. The man pays up like every other trainer in the game, although apparently now he's dangerously low on money. Way to make me feel bad for this guy. And now he won't get his bonus. He won't be able to buy a house in the future. Man, I guess the giant multi-billion-dollar companies in Pokemon pay about just as much as they do in the real world. Actually, this guy had some extra money there until I took it. They probably actually pay more in the game. Our system is screwed up, man. I bet the Game Freak employees aren't paid much of anything either. Or maybe they are. The budget for these games is so tiny and the profit is so astronomical. What do I know? Maybe they paid the big bucks, but I fucking doubt it. All I hear again and again is that people working on video games, the animators, the modelers and all that shit, the artists, they get paid fucking threepence because they're doing it for the love of video games. Shut up. Shut up. Fucking bitches getting their $1,000,000,000 fucking bonuses and leaving people fucking trying to work paycheck. So we take this big elevator up, but it's stopped by more employees. They say we don't have a right to enter this building, and yeah, they're completely right, and I'm all about sticking it to the man and all that, but right now what we're trying to do is find Leon, and we already know what he's doing, and if our characters trust Chairman Rose, then there's no reason to do this. Unless Chairman Rose has been doing something villainous all along? Nah, that would be silly. They did that in Sun and Moon, they definitely won't be doing that again, like the other things they've been doing again from Sun and Moon. Hey, if they're gonna reuse animations, it's pretty obvious that story segments aren't exactly out of bounds either. I also thought that I'd mention that all of these employees use Steel-type Pokemon, making it incredibly easy just to take them all out with a Fire-type. I used Comb pretty much through all these battles. Hop also heals your Pokemon after each battle, which, I mean, we've beaten all the gyms, why are they still acting like you're in the goddamn tutorial? What if in Final Fantasy X, spoilers here, every time you fought an enemy inside Sin, your party was healed up to full? Wouldn't that make things a tad easier, don't you think? Games are fun because you can overcome obstacles. That's why games like Dark Souls feel rewarding. You've beaten something very challenging. I'm not saying Pokemon has to be fucking Dark Souls or anything like that, but this is easy even for Pokemon. This is like healing your Pokemon for you in between every member of the Elite Four. Well, maybe not that far. Even Sun and Moon didn't do that. I doubt this game will do anything like that here. It'll still provide us with a challenging final round of trainers in which we will have to really try in order to win, I'm sure. So I guess Game Freak really wanted us to learn about the Rose Tower because every trainer you defeat here tells you something different about it. Like this lady here, she's all huffy from losing, but still tells us that this tower is taller than 100 Machoke. Okay. Actually, is that correct even? 500 feet, 100 Machoke? Machoke is 1.5 meters? Oh wait, they use the idiot's way of measuring, of course. 4 foot 11 inches. So 100 of those is 492 feet. I mean, it's close enough. Just wonder why that lady knows Machoke's height off by heart. Well, I'm gonna know it off by heart too now. At least I learned something today. You know, I just want to point something out. Hop says that the tower is so tall that it reaches the clouds. It's only 500 feet tall. Clouds sit way higher than 100 Machoke standing on top of one another. I mean, here in New Zealand, we have the Sky Tower, and that thing's over 300 meters, or over 1,000 feet for all you silly billies out there. I don't see it touching any clouds. After the battle, we're finally at the top. I think. Apparently we're at the top, but the chairman and Leon aren't here, only Liana. And she flips a little bit, challenging us to a Pokemon battle. At this point, I really wonder why anyone's bothering to challenge us. Everyone already knows we're the second strongest trainer out there. It seems a bit silly if you ask me. Anyway, Oleana's theme is pretty good. She doesn't put up much of a fight, but she does have a Gigantamax Garbodor. I never understood why the boat on it is a toy boat, though, or why it has a lot of toys in general on it. Shouldn't it just be trash? I just checked Cerebi. Apparently the Pokédex states that the toxic gases it produces when it Gigantamaxes become much thicker, congealing into masses shaped like discarded toys. That's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any amount of sense. What were they thinking with this one? Of course, the one time they give Garbodor a second chance, they fuck it up. He's not even that big. A fucking Gigantamax Pikachu looks bigger than this thing. Although, as we already know, Garbodor is the only Pokemon in the game that isn't Gen 1 or Gen 8 to actually get a Gigantamax. I guess they had an idea for Muck, and then they just didn't put him in the game or something, so they gave it to Garbodor instead. So we beat Oleana, and she slumps into a depression. Hey girl, don't say that. You're a strong, sexy woman. In fact, I bet you're so loved in the fan community that people have created some great, empowering illustrations of you. Oh, maybe don't go looking for those. That's right, Hop. Typical Big Thick. If you notice a difference in audio from here on, from me, anyway, it's because I'm recording this at a later date. Thanks for understanding. I probably sound better than I did before. We run past Oleana to see, oh, come on, they were not there before. Even if they were, they would have seen the huge fucking Pokemon fighting. So a small cutscene occurs here, or a couple of illustrations. Now, this is the first time they've used illustrations to make a cutscene, and I'm guessing that's because they didn't have a town modeled as big as the one in the illustration. Or the lighting for the scene, as you can see, it's not even remotely similar. Anyway, Chairman Rose says he's going to change the course of history, yada yada yada. Oh wow, it's almost like he's plotting an evil scheme, oh boy! So the next morning, an employee finds us at the hotel to escort us to the stadium for the finals. Hop threatens her with his Inteleon's big sausage-like fingers, but she says no, she's a good employee, meaning the others are bad? No way! There's no villain in Pokemon Sword and Shield! I'm so fucking dumb. This is so stupid. Here we are in the waiting room for the finals, and all the gym leaders are here. That's surprisingly unsurprising. I was wondering what sort of final battles there would be, and seeing as there isn't an Elite Four, bringing back the gym leaders is the obvious, easy choice. I'm just wondering who will be fighting. Here we go, running onto the empty pitch, or the pitch with Leon standing on it, teleporting in as usual, I guess. Anyway, it's on to the first battle, but first, Bede storms in asking for a battle. Finally, he's back, and he's got the Fairy Gym Trainer outfit on. He explains to the crowd about why he's here and that he's going to stake everything on one final battle. If he loses, he'll retire from battling, and if he wins, well, he's just beaten one of the strongest trainers out there, so, you know, that's a thing. And am I looking forward to this? Bede opens his eyes wide, revealing a fucking shine that wasn't there before. He's also a gym leader now, and gets ready to fight with his new remixed battle theme. Wait, what, he doesn't get a remix? But Marnie and Hop did, and Bede is way more important than silly old Marnie. Oh, bullshit. And hang on, he's a gym leader, but he doesn't get a cool new costume? Double bullshit. Fuck it, it's Bede. He's the best rival in years. Let's see what he's got now. First, he sends out Morwile, which would be a good pick if I hadn't had Comb out in front first. However, of course, he doesn't switch out to something better. Even if he did, there's not much he could do against the fire type. Next up is Gardevoir. It goes down pretty easily, and then Bede sends in his Ponyta, which is now evolved into a Rapidash. Glad to see he's still got his old Pokemon. Now all that's missing is his Reuniclus, Hatterene, and Gothitelle. Oh, he's only got 4 Pokemon. Darn. His final Pokemon is the Hatterene, as would make sense, fairy type and all. But his poor Duosian and Gothorita. Duosian. Why do they make these Pokemon names so hard to pronounce? His poor Duosian and Gothorita. He doesn't even get them back in the rematches. Instead, he gains a Sylveon. Ugh. The most generic fairy type out there. I like Sylveon well enough, but dang, if you want a trainer to be challenging, at least give them more than one type. What I've been thinking about for a future Pokemon game is giving gym leaders a theme rather than a type. For instance, cute, evil, the color red. Like, if the gym leader really liked, I don't know, big Pokemon, the gym leaders could consist of, like, Snorlax, Steelix, Gyarados, Colossal, Abomasnow, Wailord. You know what, forget it. Big Pokemon, it wouldn't work. B Gigantamax is his Hatterene, and for some reason I switched out into Chumley. I guess the Mystical Fire Gardevoir had me on edge. Holy shit, it actually used Max Flare. I completely forgot about that. Anyway, I used Dig to stall out the Gigantamax, and easy as. So Bede loses. As he said, he now wants to retire, but the audience, as a collective, I guess, says to him, "Hey Bede, that was some match. Don't retire, just restart your career." So he continues his training as the fairy-type gym leader. So much for that plotline, but heck, at least it spiced things up a bit. After that, the game heals up our Pokemon. God damn it, this is essentially the Elite Four, is it not? And we're up against Nessa! She's a better team this time around, of course, consisting of Golisopod, Barraskewda, Sea King... Did I say this team was better? Pistachio, this isn't really the time to want to be pet. She also has a Pelipper, and finally, a Gigantamax to Dreadnought. And that's that! Not many issues there either, but that's kind of what happens when you've got a well-rounded team. I, of course, don't, but I just picked the grass starter. The next challenger up is Alistair. He beat Melanie, probably because he's a child, so she couldn't distract him with her
Giga thick thighs.
He starts out by sending out Dusk Noir, then a Chandelure, very nice. A Poltegeist, which surprisingly knows Giga Drain. Are you goddamn kidding me? Then Gustin really got walloped there. Rip my dick off, then Gustin. He's... Rip my dick off, then Gustin? What? Why is it in the script? He's got a Cursola, which promptly bit the dust, and of course his Gengar, which he Gigantamaxes again. I like the way this whole thing's set up, actually. The fact that you don't know who you're going to fight, unlike the other Elite Four, keeps things fresh, and it gives you a little bit of anxiety, especially if you're doing a Nuzlocke and you send out a bad type matchup first. I also think it's great that it changes up every time you play the game. For example, so far I've got Nessa and Alistair, and my final fight before the champion looks like it's Raihan! This whole system they've got going on here is actually really neat, and I hope they change it up in every game from now on. Okay, I'm lying through my teeth again. The order doesn't change on subsequent playthroughs. It doesn't even change it between the two games. B and Alistair swap in, but it plays out exactly the same every time. Bede, Nessa, Alistair, or B, and then Raihan. These are Elite Four, folks. It's really no different than any other Pokemon game after all. Should have been Pierre's if you ask me. He was fought sooner than Raihan, and it would have been great to see him doing his non-Dynamaxing thing instead of fucking Raihan again, because we literally just fought him. What's the point? Raihan does have a pretty different team compared to last time. The only ones sticking around being the Flygon and Duraludon. By the way, Flygon still hasn't got a special form. Everyone was wanting a Mega for him, but that didn't happen because apparently they weren't creative enough. Fucking you got me there. I was thinking maybe they'd possibly create a Gigantamax for him, but, well, you know, say it with me.
The only Gigantamax Pokemon not from Generation 108 is Garbodor.
Raihan sends out Torkoal, and as per with his irregular weather strategy, it becomes sunny, thus making fire moves more powerful. Thankfully, I still have Chumley, who is super effective to fire in every single way. Why does it know Solar Beam? Chumley! I never thought I could get this attached to a Barbaracle, but hey, here we are. I guess it's time to send out the next Pokemon to take care of this Torkoal. Uh-oh. All my Pokemon left are weak to fire. Apart from Comb, the Torkoal can probably learn Rock Slide or some stupid shit. I'm gonna have to Dynamax Thinky here and hopefully one-shot it. Raihan then sends out his Flygon, and Thinky almost kicks the bucket here, but thankfully he lives with a little bit of health. Gudra's next. Oh shit, that's super effective. But also very weak. Alright then. Lastly, of course, this is Gigantamax Duraludon. I've already used up my Dynamax, so, shit. Thankfully, he isn't doing that much damage here, but he keeps using Max Knuckle, which raises his attack stat, meaning it's very dangerous to keep Thinky in. Thankfully, I do have a Pokemon who completely resists fighting-type moves, and that gives me the time needed to stall out the Gigantamax. And boom, there we go, piece of cake! After the battle, Hop discusses with us that because we'll be fighting his brother next, he doesn't know who to cheer for. And Talion thinks that that's a load of bollocks, and he's all like, what? However, thanks to that friggin' Torkoal taking out Chumley, I no longer have a Pokemon for Charizard, which I know is Leon's Gigantamax. Thankfully, I can just leave and not bother battling him. Yeah, I can just leave. Seems a bit weird, especially since he's waiting for me. I decide that it's time for Waddles to prove his worth. I take him down to the wild area so I can evolve him. There was a Gigantamax Butterfree here, so I sent out Comb to deal with it. Of course, I have a goddamn Magikarp and Togepi on my team. For shit's sake, this is a 5-star raid here! Unfortunately, as I said before, raids are absolute bullshit, and Butterfree one-shots Comb with a flying-type move. Great! I loved him, and now he's gone. Gone forever, and I can never get him back. Wait, hang on a second. Wait, what? He's been given a new chance at life? Wow! I never thought... Oh, sure, just kill him again. That's fine, then. There was actually one last area I hadn't even caught anything yet, apparently, the tower over by the west side. A Dusclops was there, and even though I wouldn't be able to evolve him, I caught him anyway. I was going to call him Jerry Seinfeld, but there's a 12-letter limit for some reason, so I just gave him a little duck face. So I started leveling up Waddles and Duckface. Waddles would be a good choice for the Charizard, as he's the same type as Chumley. And I'm also not exactly sure how Gigantamaxing works, but every time I've been fighting Dynamax Pokemon, I've been getting these Dynamax candies, and I'm assuming if you use them to get your Pokemon's Dynamax level up to the max, you'll be able to do Gigantamax. And so we'll also have a Gigantamax Waddles, as opposed to what Nessa did with her Dreadnought. And here we are, all set, ready to take on the champion. It took Porcom's life to get us leveled up enough to be where we are here right now, but there's one thing I know, and that's that we will beat the champion. Wait, what? Cutscene? You're kidding. I'm not fighting the champion, right? What? How dare you? I lost my goddamn comb thanks to you, you son of a bitch, Rose. Could have been for something, but now he's dead for no reason at all. What's that? You're bringing back the darkest day? But that's something a villain would do. Who could have seen this coming? Hop proceeds to get depressed again. Hop, I thought we were past this. Just fucking try, dude. And he comes up with the idea of searching for the legendary Pokemon in the slumbering world. So we head back home to find Sonia talking to her mum about the darkest day. Sonia gives us some max revives. Useful as always, Sonia. Alright, so if I'm going to be catching a legendary Pokemon here, I can't be running into any other Pokemon, so we'll use a Repel to get rid of all the encounters. Well, I caught him. Motherflucker. Well, folks, it's that time again. That's right, time for another one of RadicalSoda's Pokemon Reviews! We're up to Hatenna. I don't really like Hatenna's design all that much. I'm not sure exactly what it's meant to be, and quite frankly, I don't care. I like Hatterene a lot more. I think it's very cute, and the way it's a physically focused psychic type is really cool. Love Hatterene's design too, however, it was at this point I realized that even though the game was trying to get me to put physical moves on my Hatterene, its special attack was higher than its physical attack. I don't really understand the point of telling us how it likes to smash foes with its hair if we're just going to be using Dazzling Gleam and Psychic over and over like every other Psychic Pokemon. Galarian Wheezing is all alone here, yet no Galarian Coughing here, folks. I don't know why they wouldn't have just colored him grey and made his smoke green, but hey, that's Pokemon Sword and Shield for you. At least Marowak turning Ghost type sort of made sense. This is just weird. Wheezing's design is alright though, and more inventive than the regular one. Cufant is a cute little thing. I would have actually used him on my team if Copperaja wasn't such a square. Literally, I don't like how blocky he is. And just wait for the Gigantamax version. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I've spoken a little bit about Cramorant, but I pretty much like him. The green eyes are a bit odd, but apart from that, I like his design well enough. And we already have a Pelipper as a water flying bird, but I think he stands out enough to, be a unique Pokemon with his ability. Toxel is a baby lizard thing. Don't like it at all. Fucking, it's got a nappy and everything. It's always looking pissed off. At least Toxtricity looks really cool. I love the purple and yellow. The blue and purple a little less, a lot less. I do appreciate the attention to detail. The low-key form is like an electric bass with only 4 strings as opposed to the electric guitar amped form with 6. Good stuff there. Silicobra looks like a sperm who has swam through shit. Sandaconda swam through even more shit. Who colored these things? And who gave Silicobra the gunk under his eyes? Look, I'm gonna redesign these two real quick. There. Any better? Yamask, I thought for a while, hadn't changed at all. I'd only been able to see it on Route 6 or whatever it's on. I thought it looked a bit weird, and that was because its eye color had changed. It's fine, I guess. I prefer the original, but what are you gonna do? I'm gonna try to see Runerigus, is that it? Runerigus? As its own Pokemon, however, just because it's so different from Confagrigus. Did I say that right? Confagrigus? Yep. Runerigus is, it's interesting. I don't have the urge to put it on my team or anything, but it's interesting. Ponyta and Rapidash, they're fine. They're definitely not as interesting as their regular versions. They're for the My Little Pony fans, I guess. Everyone was hoping for a Pegasus Rapidash finally, but fuck, just give it more hair. Sinistea is a ghost in a cup. Very cute. Can't say anything much about it, though. Poltegeist is cute, too. Never really thought it looked very Pokemon-y, but whatever, it's fine as well. Not for me, but heck, I like Klefki, so my opinion doesn't really matter that much. And that's it for RadicalSoda's Pokemon Review for now. Speaking of wheezing, here he is now, given a reason as to why the slumbering weald is so foggy, I guess. I thought it was a legendary mystical mist, but nope, just wheezing over here. Honestly, this place was so friggin' boring, I just tried to get to the end as quickly as possible, where Hop was waiting for me. The 2-box legendaries suddenly appear out of the fog, one of them says, "Reeled," whatever that means. Just play the sound clip, Game Freak, don't try to onomatopoeia that shit. And then they just kinda disappear. Okay, heading into the next area, we find that insanely thick fog has completely disappeared in a matter of seconds. Okay! We find the Rusted Shield and Rusted Sword. I pick up the shield because I don't get a choice. Yet another way this game could have been a single game. Just give us the choice of which relic we want to pick, and that's that. Once we get to Hammerlock, which is where all this shit seems to be emanating, we head into the Dragon Gym again to see... That is not how you animate pacing back and forth. Are you actually fucking kidding me? Seriously, they're just gonna leave it like... They're just gonna... Ow, I bit my tongue. Like, that's a whole new level of bad. That's atrocious. Again, multi-million-dollar company. Can't animate a walking cycle. Pacing cycle. Can't animate someone pacing back and forth. Meanwhile, Last of Us 2 over here. Fucking shit physics. Fucking hell. Not even shit physics, just animated. It's just animated. Oleana begs us to stop what Rose is doing, as she didn't really know what he was planning, so we head on down to see Hop standing alone in front of what looks like... Well, something broke out of a big sphere. That much is obvious, I guess. And forget what I said about Hop being alone here. Chairman Rose teleports in just because, fuck man, it's not like the final act of your game should have some polish in it. Nah, just zap him into existence when we get close enough. Chairman Rose tells us that the previous incident around Hammerlock was to test to see if they could awaken Eternus, who would in fact bring around the darkest day. Really glad he told me that. I'd forgotten because it was glossed over with a fucking JPEG! Of course we battle him and he brings with him a full steel team. Great. Could really use a fire type right now. Even though I didn't really have anything to combat the steel types, I managed to worm my way through them with the help from Abomination's Reflect and Beefy Boy to tank some hits here and there. Thinky also destroyed the Kling Clang as it kept using a move which hit twice, and of course I'd given Thinky a rocky helmet which does damage to the opposing Pokemon each time it makes contact. Rose's last Pokemon is Copperaja, and what the fuck is that thing? Its whole body is covered up with its trunk! Whoever designed this, I mean, it's funny, sure, but the trunk just takes up too much room. I can't see what's going on behind it. Rose apologizes about plunging the world into another apocalypse, but he explains that the reason why he did it was to solve the energy crisis, which would happen in 1,000 years. Alright. Anyway, he wanted Leon to catch Eternus so they could utilize its power to power Gala. I think I didn't really pay attention here. It was all kind of just thrown at us at once instead of naturally progressing throughout the adventure like a normal game would do it. I mean, we didn't even get to see Eternus erupt from the sphere it was contained in. That's what I'm assuming he came from anyway. I mean, it's not like any other Pokemon game is had you see where the legendary Pokemon comes from. No, like, nothing like, you know, like Black and White maybe having a Pokemon come from an orb, or in X and Y where maybe the legendary Pokemon, it breaks out from being contained, or, I don't know, fucking Sun and Moon, maybe from a Cosmog evolving into a fucking legendary. Now, we just need to know that it broke out. Forget animating it. Also, Rose says something about Leon being a knight in shining armor. That's the third game, Pokemon Armor. And or Pokemon Armored Sword and Armored Shield. And even though it'll be 2 more of these games with minor changes, people will still buy it. And I know as I'm saying this, I am currently recording when the DLC is out. But like, there's 2 versions of the DLC. Fucking go figure. Pokemon! We want your money! So we head up onto the roof and, oh shit, Eternus is a big boyo! Leon says he's worn down Eternus enough to catch it, so he throws a regular Pokeball at it. Dude, at least use an Ultra Ball. And fair enough, Eternus escapes it. Even if he was at 1 HP, that he would have got out, dude. Eternus attacks us! We throw out creepy gorilla guy. Eternus is looking a little shrimpy there. They've shrunk him down, haven't they? How big is Eternus? He's bigger than Wailord! 20 meters tall! That's like 2 at most! Anyway, we fight Eternus, we can't catch him yet, so it's all just about trying to knock him out, which we do very easily thanks to Beefy Boy here. Ah, shit. Oh no, that move looks really powerful. Huh. And remind me, why can't we fight that Eternatus? That's right, it's Eternatus, not Eternus. I messed that up. Anyway, he turns into a giant hand. A bit odd, but whatever. Hop and I worked together this time. Pistachio was feeling sleepy. This is not the time for that! So this time, the game doesn't allow us to attack until Hop finally brings out the relics. Zamazenta and Zacian appear in the slumbering world and fly, I guess, to our location. And I'll be honest here, the music here, the relics flying, it's a pretty epic moment. No, Elgato, what are you doing? Stop, skip it. Hang on a second. This is the final battle. Just give me it. Skip the entire battle. Fuck me. I guess I should just say that the game allowed me to catch it at a 100% catch chance, so no challenge there. The fight was pretty easy. I didn't get to catch Zamazenta, weirdly enough. That was the only legendary I really wanted, but I now have Eternatus. Very odd. The next day when going to the stadium to finally fight Leon, I ran into this kid that asked me for a handshake. My capture skipped through it, but here, I'll go through with my other character to show you the handshake. Yeah, come the fuck on there. Why even implement it if you're not going to animate it? Why? Just why? So we battle Leon. Unfortunately, in my notes here, it says that Beefy Boy died. Well, it doesn't. It just says, oh shit, Beefy Boy. So either he died or he got to low health. I Dynamaxed Waddles, but he didn't Gigantamax, even with the full Dynamax candy meter, which I thought was weird until I looked up that the only Pokemon to Gigantamax are the ones you catch already Gigantamaxed, which, I mean, that's just bullshit. That sucks big time, especially since I couldn't even beat the 5-star rates 99% of the time thanks to NPC bullshit. And I know, again, I know about the soup. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. But Leon's team was pretty easy all that's said and done. I used Stealth Rocks early on, so when his Charizard came out, it was already half health, and I just used Eternatus' Dynamax Cannon to easily knock it out.
Wait, are you allowed to use legendaries in the Nuzlocke?
So my whole Gigantamaxing Waddle strategy didn't really pan out in the end all that well, but hey, we got through it with no casualties. Hey, look, Beefy Boy's fine. Leon graciously accepts his defeat, and I've just realized he has purple hair but black facial hair. That looks very odd. And I'm declared the champion. Credits roll. During them, we see a band of Pokemon, not like they're doing any custom animations or anything, they just keep repeating Gorilla Guy's attack animation over and over. Is that a mouse cursor? Another one? I pointed one out at the start of the game. It was a mistake. Holy shit, this game is fucked. Absolutely fucked.
This game is one of the very best examples of a rushed, unfinished game with no clear vision or passion behind it. Just money-hungry executives pushing for that low budget and high return. And it worked. These two games have been the best-selling Switch games of all time, beating out Mario Odyssey and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Two games with amazing teams behind them, with so much passion and effort just put into every aspect of the game. And it's not like I helped. I know I don't own either of those two, but I own this fucking bullshit. I mean, I'll get those two eventually. What many other reviewers will be saying about this game, I'm sure, is that this is just another Pokemon game. It's just another one. It's just, if you like the previous games, you'll like this one. And I don't agree. I really don't. I've played many Pokemon games, and I don't agree with that statement whatsoever. I did have fun. I will say I had fun. I'll give it that. I had fun. Even though I went into this game, I knew it was rushed. I knew it was probably going to be underwhelming. I still enjoyed myself at times. It was up until a certain point, I remember, when I think it was after the first couple gyms, I started to realize how shallow the experience really was. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, but this is not a Pokemon fan's game. It's not what we deserve. Ever since X and Y, Pokemon has started lowering its quality with each successive entry, but somehow I expected the first proper Switch game to have more content than Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. Somehow it took away from those games. No following Pokemon, no proper scaling, no Mega Evolutions, no gym battle backgrounds. Sword and Shield are so lazily... I shouldn't say lazily, especially if it was the intention. They are intentionally put together cheaply. Game Freak, as a company, a lot of people say, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that, they're not very good at coding games. They could hire anyone they want. The Pokemon company is so much money, like, so much. And they don't even have a budget bigger than the average Call of Duty game. Someone up in the top ranks and a top dog up there has chosen intentionally to make this game as cheaply as possible. And that really hurts as a Pokemon fan. Especially someone who puts in so much time and gives so much money to this company. We come to Nintendo because of their quality. We come to Nintendo because they deliver an amazing, passion-filled experience every single time. Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Fire Emblem. Speaking of Super Smash Bros., the biggest Smash Bros. Game of all time. Can you say that this is the biggest Pokemon experience of all time? Of course you can't. Who do I care that it's on the floor? This left me extremely disappointed. Game Freak has given me one of my favorite games of all time. Pokemon Black and White is right up there with Sonic Heroes and Final Fantasy X-2. Those are weird choices for favorite games, I know, but they're right up there alongside them. Game Freak has given me Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon Heart Gold, you know, and they're all great experiences, but if this is what we're getting from Pokemon in the future, less content than a GBA cartridge, I really think I'm done with Pokemon for the foreseeable future. I don't know who's calling the shots over there. It's probably someone higher up in the Pokemon company, but even if it's not Game Freak, I don't want them making Pokemon games anymore. I'm gonna be honest. I know that's not gonna happen. It's effectively their brand. They've been doing Pokemon games for years, but let's be honest, they can't effectively make a 3D Pokemon game. They did great when it was 2D, but now that it's changed to 3D, everything has just gone downhill. They can't even copy and paste an animation correctly. They can't just... The render distance. I shouldn't have to say anything past that. The render distance. Not to mention all the lies. The lies especially, that's what got to me. They didn't redo any models. They didn't focus on better animations. They didn't want people to play the way they wanted to. Hence the XP share. They didn't make these games the best Pokemon games yet. We should have all really known how this was going to go when we found out you could transfer Pokemon between Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go, and the only Pokemon you couldn't transfer was Mew, which you had to buy with the Pokeball accessory for $50. That should have clicked in people's heads that the only intention that was there for was to get money. It was. There's the Pokeball Plus accessory doesn't even work with this fucking game. Or at least it doesn't say it does on the back of this box. I don't have the Pokeball Plus. I'm not paying $50 for a fucking accessory for one game. It's just so scummy. I still can't believe they did that. It'd be like them saying, hey guys, we've patched Pokemon Sword and Shield and now you can transfer over all your old Pokemon, but you gotta buy a subscription to do it. You gotta buy that subscription. You probably thought we were done. We ain't done with this. We ain't done with this garbage yet. We still got that in-game. That sweet, sweet in-game. Oh boy, can't wait to play it. What do we got? What's up next?
Well, the title screen changes at least. It shows you all your Pokemon that you beat the Elite Four with. Sorry, the champion with. Fuck, man. Eternatus even looks more shrimpy now when he's right next to the goddamn ladybug. First, I want to say there are no new areas in the game after you beat Leon. None. No new routes, no new towns, no new buildings, no new Pokemon, apart from one. The dog legendary. You know instantly where you have to go after starting the game as it shows you the slumbering wheels, so legendary catching time it is, I guess. Weirdly enough, the game still hasn't given me the Master Ball. Maybe it's like an Emerald and it was in an optional area. Oh wait, no, here it is. You fight Hop again, his Pokemon are a tad stronger, this time being around my Pokemon's levels, but we managed to take him down without any deaths. However, it got pretty close with Waddles once. Hop, stop being all depressed, you're at the same level as me. All you gotta do is start swapping out your mons, man. And I'm using Eternatus, Destroyer of Worlds. If Hop was really British, he would say, you're a cheeky bastard to be using legendaries, you fuck. All of a sudden, Sonia appears, stating that she's the professor now. I thought she was before. I guess they didn't really explain what was going on there all too well. What was the whole point of giving her the jacket then? Never mind. Hop and I returned the rusted relics. I guess the dogs gave them back after we beat Eternatus. Some douchebags called Shieldbert and Swordwood come along to steal the relics, and it uses the fucking got item noise for shit's sake. So we fight them! Hop takes on the sword guy and me Shieldbert. He's got a bunch of shield-based Pokemon. Oh boy, Shieldon and Bastiodon would have been sure good fit here, am I right? I have a highly defensive beefy boy take care of his team though. He can't really do that much damage to him. And his strongest move it looks like is only regularly effective. Well, now that's just fucking cheap, asshole! I knock down his phalanx with Abomination and Klinklang with Thinky, so he sends out... He stole Beefy Boy! So we beat Shieldbert and Hop defeats Swordwood. Hop loses to Swordwood. Oh, for fuck's sake, Hop. You have a really good team at this point. You're a fucking disgrace. Anyway, then they just leave. I don't send out anything to stop them. I don't battle Swordwood. We just let them all go. Well done. That's some great writing there. We head back to Sonia's lab where a new assistant now works. Sonia's figured out where the Sword and Shield guys might be because there are power spots or whatever appearing over the region. The first one is at the grass gym, so we head off to see what's up. Milo's there to greet us, and the game gives us two options for our answer, one of them without any punctuation at the end, and we head into a stadium. There's a Dynamax Pokemon running loose. Turns out to be a Serena, and Hop, Milo, myself, and because Pierre's happened to be there, him too, take it down in a raid battle. And hey, would you look at that? I actually have semi-competent teammates, apart from Hop. He sends that as Italian for some reason. We knock out the Serena, or weaken it enough to shrink it back to normal, and head out to the lobby with it. Milo uses a revive. It's already standing there. It's not knocked out. I didn't want to animate it lying down, I guess. The Sword and Shield guys appear in the lobby too, and they say there's some bollocks about how they're using the relics of Dynamax Pokemon against their will, and they're gonna go catch Zacian and Zamazenta, yada yada yada. And then they leave with no trouble whatsoever, because apparently nobody in the Pokemon world knows how to leap over a counter. It's like the tiny trees all over again. The water gym's up next, and then there's a Dynamax Gyarados flying around, you know how it is. So we take it down alongside Piers, who has decided he hates Dynamaxing so much he'll make sure every single one of them has been vanquished. Welcome to the club, Piers. And that's that. I forgot to mention that I've been getting these real league cards from the gym leaders, so I'm guessing this is going to be the fight one Dynamaxed Pokemon per gym in order to progress the story situation. I'm sad to say that I was completely right on that. You just hop from gym to gym, nothing really happens other than returning to Sonia's lab after Kabu's gym to fight the Sword and Shield guys again with no payoff. They still get away scot-free even after we kick their ass. They did kill Duckface though, so I guess that was something that happened, as well as learning that Sonia's new assistant was actually working for the two. Wow, that was really what a great twist. I was really emotionally invested in that character I met once 10 minutes ago. What a shock. I go to see Sonia and I try to cheer her up about the whole thing, but the game seems to think that she's a bunch of plants, so we just all head and leave and find the next Dynamax Pokemon. But Sonia stops us and says that we didn't try to comfort her. Oh, come on, game! You didn't even give me the fucking option! She perks up pretty quickly, though. See that, Hop? She was betrayed completely and now she's fine. What happened to you again? You were told you were maybe a bit shit at Pokemon? Ever tried League of Legends? That'll knock you down a peg or two.
It was at this time that I called this Malphite a fucking worthless, brain-dead, scum-fuck bastard, pile of trash, mental dick face.
And from there, it's pretty much all the same shit as before. Bede has already taken care of the Dynamax Pokemon at the Fairy Gym, so he challenges us to a battle instead. That's what I'm talking about. He sends out Gardevoir, which again could have Mystical Fire, so I didn't want to keep Gorilla creeping. So out comes Waddles to defend against it. Or it could use Magical Leaf. Okay then, god damn it! I'm kind of running out of Pokemon at this point, I'll be honest. We find a Frostlass at the Ice Gym where Giga Thick Melanie resides, and I always thought that the big spiky pattern on Frostlass was its mouth, but nope, it's that teeny tiny thing right there. That looks a bit strange to me. Of course, there's no Dynamax Pokemon in Spikemuth because there isn't a power spot anywhere nearby, so it's on to the final gym to fight a Hexaurus. I just used Eternatus. A Dynamax cannon killed it pretty quick, although for some reason I couldn't Dynamax or Gigantamax Eternatus? Is that for balancing? Game Freak, you gave us Mega Rayquaza. I think you could let us Dynamax Eternatus. After the fight, Sonya gives us a call to tell us where she thinks the two bad dudes might be hiding. Turns out, it's at Hammerlock Stadium. We're already there. She just saw me walking 2 minutes ago. Piers says we're already at the stadium. Sonya already knew that. I just talked to her for shit's sake. Don't know why they didn't just add an extra... I know why. Stop making this so frustrating for yourself, Robert. Seems like the duo are underground where Rose birthed Eternatus from his loins, but the way in requires a keycard or something, so Yampa short-circuits the system by fading the screen to black. Didn't want to animate that either, huh? Bastards. We meet Shieldbert down below with a following of people believing him to be the royal heir or something, whatever he was trying to do, who cares. What I'm more interested in is how these people are making clapping noises without actually clapping! We fight Shieldbert yet again, with him having the exact same team as before. Wow, this sure is exciting! And we head up onto the roof to see Zacian about to maul Swordwood because he was trying to Dynamax it, or use Dynamax power on it, or something. Now it's out of control and we have to fight it. I'm assuming that we can't catch it because why on earth would they let me do that? I'll need to pay an extra $90 for that specific thing. Zacian actually does a fair amount of damage, meaning I couldn't keep creepy-ass Gorilla Man in after one hit, and unfortunately at this point, I had no idea what type Zacian was. I was assuming Steel Fighting, but I figured that Thinky could maybe tank a Fighting-type move while he used Earthquake, and he's dead. Okay then. Eternatus couldn't even hold his own. One crunch and he was under half health. Thankfully, he was faster than Zacian, and even more thankfully, Zacian was not Steel-type. Zacian, realizing he won't be able to maul me, goes for the most pathetic one in the room, Hop. Zamazenta intervenes, however, stopping him in his tracks. Zacian is still going nuts, though, so we follow it back to the slumbering Weald. But not before giving these two assholes a taste of their own medicine. Hop takes back the rusted sword. I guess he has telekinesis now. And Zamazenta wants to maul Swordbird up some more, but, well, we don't get the option to let him do it, unfortunately. Instead, he looks into her eyes and... wow, what beautiful eyes I have. And as I said, back to the slumbering Weld we go! Or we're battling Zamazenta too. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. I will really say I like the music for both encounters here. The initial one more so. The second one against Zamazenta gets a little bit muddled. I get it low, but I catch it with the Master Ball anyway. I didn't want anyone else dying. Gugu, the Yamper I put on my team to replace Thinky, evolved, but it's not like he's going to be of much use anyway. And I nicknamed Zamazenta Sniffy. Classic name right there. The two royal dickweeds decide they want to go to jail now, so... that's a thing. Rose also handed himself over, at least I can believe that. He just wanted to help the energy crisis, but these two should have ran away screaming. That would have been a much better conclusion. And we're off to the slumbering Weald to find Hop talking to Zacian, having calmed him down somewhat. As Zacian decides he wants to be on Hop's team and allows Hop to catch him with a... nothing ball, that's a new one. Hop wants to battle us again, so... well, here we go, I guess. I didn't bother leveling up my team this time. I was just sick of this shit at this point. I just wanted it to be over. I figured my 65 and above team of 4 would do the job just fine. I still had Gorilla Man and Abomination after all. I did try the old Calm Mind Abomination strategy to cheese him, but after getting through his entire team, he sent out Zacian. Now, Zacian, he's another thing entirely compared to Hop's team. Abomination managed to stay alive thanks to his affection level, which I felt pretty sad for him after that. I made a vow to rename him something to like Beauty after the battle was over. I was getting pretty sentimental. I switched into Zamazenta, thinking stupidly that the two dogs were equally matched, allowing me to get at least Zacian's HP pretty low, but instead he basically one-shot me. They spun the favor completely into Zacian's favor here. Zacian, holding the rusted sword, is a fairy steel type, while Zamazenta is a fighting steel type. Now, these types seem pretty even between the two. You know, fighting is super effective against steel, but not effective against fairy. Same goes for Zacian. Fairy is super effective against fighting, but weak against steel. Zacian knows close combat. which demolishes Zamazenta in an instant. And it's faster! Even if Zamazenta knew a super effective move, it wouldn't be able to get it off. My Eternatus did, however, manage to live a Behemoth Blade and get off a super effective flamethrower, knocking out Zacian and— oh, come on! Now, at this point, I could have sent out Thrustini to take a hit while I healed up Eternatus so he could use another flamethrower, but instead, for some reason, I threw out Gorilla Guy thinking he could take a hit, which he couldn't. Bye-bye, Pistachio. Then I did send out Thrustini, however, I healed up Abomination? What was I thinking? Anyway, through my own stupidity, Abomination is the only one left, and of course he dies in one crunch. I'm a fucking idiot. Well, let's see what Hop has to say. I know you haven't reached your full potential, Big Thick. Train and prepare as much as you'd like. I'll be waiting here whenever you're ready. Are you kidding me? Hop finally defeats me after all this time, and that's what he says. Let him win for once. He earned it. The rival battle's at the start of the game. Let him win. Acknowledge it. Right now, he's essentially saying, oh yeah, well, I won, but it doesn't really count because we know you're stronger. That's not how it works. Anyway, now I have to restart the game. I just wanted it to be over, and I ended up making it twice as fucking long. Hey, I just remembered something. And this is something I discovered on my second playthrough. You know how, like, in the wild area... Ooh. You know how, like, in the wild area, there are different kinds of weather? Well, one of those weather types is scorching sun. The sunlight is harsh. The sunlight is harsh. It's night time. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a mishmash because I thought of lots of other things to say whilst recording the last bits of game here. So, we're back to Hop. I want to remind you that this was another Nuzlocke and this is my team. We've got Theedledee, the Beware, Gungi, the Corviknight, Grommet, the Frostmoth, Bubbers, the Cinderace, Zomph, the Crawdaunt, and Drizzy, the Haxorus. Drizzy is actually a new member. I actually had a Galarian Rapidash, but boy howdy, does that thing suck stat-wise. It died fighting the double battle against Swordwood and Shieldbert. And that was actually the only Pokemon to faint in this whole playthrough. Yep. Turns out that after one playthrough, this game becomes even easier, and the only real reason Rapidash died is because I wasn't really paying attention, although I'll be honest, I didn't really care at that point whether it lived or died. Here are the other Pokemon I caught. I'd go through them to show that they're all from unique areas, but I can't be bothered. Also, after I beat the champion, I started catching every Pokemon I could to complete the deck so I could show every Pokemon for RadicalSoda's Pokemon Review, but I soon realized I wouldn't actually be able to retain a bunch of them unless I traded with people online, which of course requires an online membership, which I will say again has not been shown as a worthwhile purchase, much like this game itself. Speaking of RadicalSoda's Pokemon Review, let's get back to where we left off. Indeedy. It's a Galarian Aldino, but even if I ignored the similarities, it's just not as interesting. I get the inspiration, but it's just kind of boring. I was going to say maybe one day I'll use it in a team, but there's no point coming back to this game, is there? Well, Pico is another Pikachu clone, and it's another Pikachu clone. I don't care what ability it has. I don't care that it's part dark type. It looks like a bean with a face, and while I'd usually find that sort of cute, this one just comes off looking sort of creepy. It even has Pikachu's tail plastered on its back as a texture, like, come on. I really like Phalanx. I think it's really unique. I like the design, the colors, the inspiration, its special move. Great Pokemon here. Stommer's another lovely Pokemon, kind of like an Ice-type Larvesta, which evolves into an Ice-type Volcarona. I love the little icicles on its back, and Frostmoth reminds me of Maloney. Maloney? I wrote Maloney! I said it like it was a fucking... I didn't put a capital on it. Is that the only thing that made me say Maloney instead of Melanie? Because I didn't put a capital on the M. Anyway, Frostmoth reminds me of Maloney, the Giga-Thick Goddess, so these two get a pass from me. Clobbopus is a cute wee dude. I like the colors and design, good stuff. I think I'd like Grablocked a lot more if it had the colors more akin to Clobbopus and its mouth was the W right there. The way it looks now, I'm not much of a fan. Pincushion. I don't think I wrote that one right. There's one that's based on a pincushion. I know it is. It's like an urchin. Pincurchin! That's probably what it's meant to be there. It's cute. It's very cute. It's useless, but it's cute. Seems Game Freak was trying to add in another Mewtwo clone with every generation now. They've already got two in this one, the other being Snob. As I said, though, that is pretty dang cute, so there's no issues with me there. For some reason, Mr. Mime got a Galarian form? Really? Mr. Mime? And it... tap dances? I really don't understand the thought process with this one, and neither with Mr. Rhyme. I get the whole Charlie Chaplin thing going on here, but I really don't like either of these two. It's incredibly scary to have a Mr. Mime dance towards you menacingly. Darumaka and Darmanitan also got Icy Galarian forms, but theirs are much cuter. Darmanitan also keeps the Zen mode ability, letting him turn into an Ice Fire type. Very cool. Stonejourner sucks. Ice-Hue is Mimikyu, but with an even better ability. While Mimikyu got nerfed, now taking damage when its disguise is hit, Ice-Q does not, and it can regenerate it in hail. Despite that, I don't like its design, and I think its real head looks really odd. Not even like a Pokemon, if I'm being honest. Duraludon is... well, he must have a pretty stiff neck. They say he's Tyranitar's rival, you know, the whole Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla thing, but I really don't like this thing. Nothing about this design screams cool, cute, or even silly to me. He just looks awkward. Now, the fossils were done a bit differently in this generation. I'm not sure if I explained them before, but they're essentially two fossils combined to make a new Pokemon. I will say I didn't really like them before I learned of why they look the way they do. Same with everybody else. I know, same story. But if you don't know this, the early British fossil workers, whatever they're fucking called, they just kind of slapped different parts of, you know, bones together and called it a day, thus leading to abominations like this. Maybe not that extreme, but you get what I'm saying. Still not a huge fan, though. I don't like how their bodies are just kind of sliced away. I think I would have much rather had the real fossils, at least in X and Y and Sun and Moon. I like the designs. Did Sun and Moon have... what the fuck? Sun and Moon didn't even have fossil Pokemon. I like Arctozolt probably the most. I like his wee booger there, but the others are just eh. Dreepy is a creepy dragon, alright. Yep, he's just fine. Nothing too special, really. Dracloak looks surprisingly similar to Dreepy. I kind of expected the worm to lava combo, kind of like with Bagon and Larvitar, but he looks creepy too, so yeah, not a big fan of the middle evolution. Dragapult looks much better though, so pretty good stuff. I like the designs of both Zacian and Zamazenta just fine. I think Zacian looks cooler, and I'm sure the sales number reflects that. But they're both essentially the same Pokemon, let's be honest. I don't think anyone saw the reveal and was like, oh shit, I gotta get both of... I've gotta stop myself right there, I know that isn't true. Eternatus looks fucking stupid. It's a skeleton with extra features. I don't like the colors, the design, I don't think the type suits it either. And that's it for the new Pokemon introduced. There are still some Gigantamax forms to go through though, so we'll be right back with more of RadicalSoda's Pokemon reviews. Alright, time for the Hop rematch. I was ready this time. Oh, I was ready. Thankfully, Hop doesn't sink into another depression. In fact, this time he knows he'll keep getting stronger if he keeps trying and not to worry. A really good message to kids, tech, everyone out there. I can applaud that. Hop then suddenly completely changes his hopes and dreams and now suddenly wants to become a Pokemon professor. Alright! I guess that can be a thing. I mean, Bianca did it back in Black and White, but she was always more of a general Pokemon enthusiast instead of a competitive battler. Sonia offers Hop a job as her new assistant, seeing as the old one betrayed her, and that's all wrapped up. But for some reason, that's not all. We hear clapping. We don't see clapping, but whatever. It's Swordwood! Squidward! That's all I can think of when I hear that name. He's Squidward! Swordwood and Shieldbert are here to apologize properly, along with Piers and Leon. Leon being there to make sure they don't try any funny business. The two royal douchebags proclaim my character to be true royalty. For fuck's sake, I was handed the championship title and now being literally handed to being made a member of the royal family. Are you serious? Talking about overstroking the ego there. Leon tells Hop he's grown quite a lot, and I mean, yeah, he's leveled up to 60 in like 2 days. And that's the end. The real end, apparently, but no credits for mouses to go hovering around, just a black screen, and the game boots us back to our house and tells us to go do what you want now, even though there's nothing to fucking do. It does mention the battle tower, I guess, so we'll check out that, but first I wanted to look around and check out Spikemuth. I'd seen pictures that, what's-her-face? See, I've even forgotten her name. That girl was already the gym leader, but when I got there, she was still a trainer. At least there's still a fight there. Anyway, nowadays I don't expect any rematches like an Emerald, for instance, with the Versus Seeker or the device, whatever you're given there. Marnie, however, does wear her gym outfit in the tournaments, which you can now actually do as many times as you like now. Essentially filling in for the Elite Four. It's the same tournament in Wyndon, but now it's randomized as to who you'll be facing, so what they should have done in the first place. Unfortunately, this place doesn't set your level to 50, so I still stomped my way through with little old Reliable here, but it's still a nice addition despite not being able to customize the battles in any way. It doubles tourney, triples tourney, rest in peace, rotation tourney, rest in peace also, and co-op tourney would have been really neat to see alongside some extra gimmicks like random weather or random held items, you know, the silly stuff. I thought,
Giga Thick Mama Melanie.
you know what, forget Monica, Melanie's going in the frame. There's some lines. Why is it that everything I print goes poorly? She had a leveled up team as expected, alongside Nessa, who I've now fought like 5 times total between the 2 playthroughs. She had the gall to ask if I remembered her. Bitch, I know what you smell like. Fish. You smell like fish. The final challenger was actually Milo. He had a Gigantamax Appleton, which was terrifying. I also want to say that now only just now did I realize that the sky just kind of blips into red when a Dynamax starts. Looks bad. There's a lot of Riolus in that crowd. I also took a trip to the Battle Tower, which is pretty much the same thing as the Battle Mason, except you can find other trainers here, like Leon, who promptly kicked my ass. I guess I gotta remember to have a rock-type move on someone next time. His Axorus knew Leer, though, which... that was an odd choice to give the champion, is it not? Anyway, this is the place where you can earn and spend BP or battle points to get items like the new herbs, which can change your Pokemon's nature. Very helpful for competitive battlers. And you can also get the other held items like in previous games. You can also max out the IVs here with bottle caps on a level 100 Pokemon. I had one in my inventory, but I had no idea how you get them, so I guess that's just luck. Toby Fox, the creator of Undertale, actually composed the battle theme for the tower here, which is a great song. I really like it. I don't think it really fits, but it's a great theme overall. It also has a bunch of similarities to an older joke song he made about a man having a baby or something in Homestuck. I think look it up for yourself, it's very strange. And that's it kind of content-wise. You can of course start farming for Gigantamax Pokemon or Shinies, however you can't get the Shiny charm by completing the Pokédex without, again, a Nintendo Online membership, unless your friend happens to own another version and you can connect locally to them. I also hear that ranked battles online have like a 15-minute timer on them, which is like, what? Now you might think I'm done here, but I'm not. I still have some extra things to talk about, believe it or not! Like the menus. I just played another Pokemon game, actually X and Y, just to check it out as a reference to this video. One thing I noticed almost instantly is the quality of cutscenes is much higher. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. The menus in X and Y, they're quick and responsive. In Sword and Shield, I feel that they lag. It's just a tad slow, you know? Not just option to option, but you also think that Game Freak would have figured out how to load a model more quickly by now. Why does it take more than a second or two for my Pokemon to pop up on the screen in the menu? It's slow and clunky, and I don't like it whatsoever. Hey, but at least you can press Y to swap Pokemon around. You can't do that in X and Y. I want to talk more about Dynamaxing. I've already talked about the rabbit fart catastrophe, but I'll be honest, many of the Dynamax moves aren't aligned correctly at all. From a small way off, like with many of the water moves, to a large way off, like Charizard. This also leads into my last segment of RadicalSoda's Pokemon review, so let's get on with that now. Charizard's Gigantamax was unneeded and wholly pointless. Leon could have had a Gigantamax Toxtricity and it probably would have suited him better. The design is good, however, and it allows Charizard to stand on his two legs again, something Game Freak really needs to change about him. Gigantamax Butterfree is even more pointless than Charizard. It doesn't do anything other than create Godzilla fanbait, and it's just a Butterfree with different wings. Don't care for it. Fat Pikachu's pretty cute. He even yells pee when he Gigantamaxes. I have no idea why you'd use a Pikachu for competitive battling though, and seeing as Raichu doesn't get a similar Gigantamax, what's the point? Same with Meowth. I like the stretchy design, long cat and all, but this is his third special form, and all he's being used for is money farming. You can't use him in competitive or anything, you can't use Gigantamax anyway. Holy shit, I just remembered. Okay, what I'm about to say is, I don't know if they've changed it right now to have Gigantamax Pokemon in online battling, but at the time of writing this review, there was no point to even having a Gigantamax Pokemon unless you were just playing purely against NPCs. Gigantamax Marchamp looks pretty neat, just he's not for me. Thank God he's wearing pants now though, I was wondering if he'd ever cover himself up. Gengar gets a Gigantamax alongside his Mega 2, I say alongside, they've already chucked it in the trash alongside the other Megas and half the Pokédex. It was interesting the first time I saw it, but who asked for another Gengar form? Kingler! Now this is a Gen 1 rep I can get down with having a Gigantamax form. What's scarier than a giant enemy crab? Also love how he turns into a spider crab. If he didn't have that weird beard, he'd be almost perfect. Lapras again, hitting us with those real surprising Gigantamaxes, aren't you? Boring as all heck, I hate it. Eevee got one too, of course, don't like it, and if you're gonna give Eevee anything, it should have been another evolution. Snorlax has an ecosystem growing on its stomach. Not like there was, any other Pokemon out there who could have had an ecosystem growing on it. I don't know. Maybe one that was in like a movie recently, the one that, was really big in that specific movie. I actually can't believe they gave the ecosystem shit to Snorlax just because he's the fan favorite and left out the Pokemon with a literal tree growing on its back. It's insane. Gigantamax Garbodor sucks. And that sucks in itself because it's the only Pokemon not from Gen 1 or 8. Wait, the list here says Melmetal got one too? What? And what gen is he from? You can only get him in Pokemon Go apparently? So he's not in any generation? Well, that's just great. It looks like it sucks anyway, moving on. Corviknight's Gigantamax looks cool. It's not for me, it's cool enough, it gets a pass. I didn't even know it was a Gigantamax when I first saw it, so that's a thing. Orbeetle's is very creative, and I like it a lot. Same goes for Dreadnoughts, which is like a big ship. Those two are pretty neat. Colossal, I feel, had a Gigantamax form first, and then a third evolution afterwards. It makes more sense to be an entire mountain of coal as opposed to what we actually got. Unfortunately, Flapple and Appleton, two entirely different evolutions of Applin, got the same Gigantamax, which is incredibly lazy. The only one that looks like it suits is Flapple. Either give Appleton his own or don't give him one at all. I like the Gigantamax form though, it's quite creative. Sandaconda turns into a tornado, which I think is creative, but just not very appealing. You tried Sandaconda, but I still don't like you, or your butthole peeking behavior. Toxtricity Gigantamax form isn't available yet either, at least the time of writing the script, but he looks really cool, intimidating too, something you don't usually see with these Gigantamax forms. Centiskorch, at first I thought hadn't even changed, and then I realized finally why it was so small. It's because it's so long! It looks like a radiator when it uses its moves, which is a nice touch, but again, not really for me. It's not something that just, I don't think radiator and instantly think, oh, that's cool. Hatterina's like a princess stuck in a tower or something. It's interesting, but I prefer the regular one with the claw hand and all. I'm just a big fan of the Gigantamax forms, which just change a whole lot, I think. Just like Grimmsnarl, who looks like he's busted right out of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Love it. Love everything about it. Alcremie turns into a cake. Somewhere out there, Vanillux is weeping. Holy crap, ice cream sundae Vanillux in a bowl. Come on, somebody out there's got to do it. I've already talked about Copperajah, funny design hidden by the big fucking trunk. And Duraludon, whatever the hell it's called, turns into London's tallest tower, the Shard. It's probably why Duraludon looks that way to begin with. Still don't like him. And that is all the new Pokemon in Sword and Shield. Holy shit, small message for future me. Don't do this ever again. Stick to a maximum 20-minute videos. Message taken. Previous Rob, I fucking hate myself. And now on to the stuff that maybe only I had a problem with. Probably not, but I want this to be very clear that this one maybe specifically only applies to me. All the other stuff, it's pure fact, but... I'm joking, by the way, this is all my opinion. Other than the facts, of course. I felt one feeling throughout this game, a feeling that didn't actually go away since, I'd say about halfway through, maybe a little bit before halfway through. I felt guilty. I was smashing down upon a kid who just wanted to battle and do his best. I had no option to cheer him up, no option to help him out, no option to just help him train or... I just had nothing. I just slogged on ahead and fought leader after leader, earning badge after badge, and not feeling good about it at all. Why? At first I thought it was just a hop thing. Despite him being as shallow as a puddle, he's still pretty likable, so I got a little bit attached to him, but no, it wasn't just that. I was being handed the wins on a silver platter. I wasn't trying, and so the victories weren't really victories, were they? The obstacles weren't obstacles. I was getting XP candy after XP candy. Pokemon who didn't even participate were evolving. If I hadn't turned it off, I'd have the option to switch in a different Pokemon every time I knocked out one of my opponents. And at no point did I feel like I deserved to be called champion. I blasted through the linear routes, destroyed everyone in my way with no problems, massacred anyone who dared call themselves my rival, and defeated the champion without any issues whatsoever. And then in my second playthrough, I spent like, I don't know, maybe an hour doing raids, and I didn't even need to fight trainers for XP. Look, I get that people need an easy way to get competitive ready Pokemon fast, but why not lock off the XP candies and whatnot until you beat the champion? I mean, that way you can create a balanced game with difficulty that you can actually control a lot easier. And don't tell me I should just not use the candies. I was already doing a Nuzlocke. I was already doing one of the hardest runs in a Pokemon game. If something is presented to you in a video game, you're gonna use it, generally speaking. That's why I hate pre-order bonuses and shit that give you overpowered weapons. It completely takes away from the intended experience. I defeated the entire league, saved the world, became the champion, and then was appointed to royalty to top it all off. I didn't earn that. Apparently Leon spent his whole life training until finally becoming the champion, and I whipped that away from him in a couple of hours. That just feels like bullshit. Even when I lose, I don't lose. Not only does Hop say you can do better and that it doesn't really count, but Leon too. Is that the best you can do? What if it is? Suddenly when I'm dropped down to an equal playing field, I can't cope. That means you're stronger. I tried to see what would happen if I entered the league tournament as the champion with just a Grubbin. I lost instantly and still champion. I didn't think that Game Freak would let anyone else become the champion, but heck, it's certainly something that should be a thing. If I won the title of champion in the same tournament, why can't someone else? Why can't I ask for the largest media franchise in the world to make their game something worth being proud of? Why are we giving this schlock as their first Switch entry? It's a 3DS game. Everything in this game could be made on 3DS, and you know it. The only thing that's changed is somehow we got less content and slightly better graphics. I love Pokemon. I really do. You might think I hate it, but I don't. I love it. I want what's best for Pokemon. I want an amazing Pokemon game because I love it so much. I mean, I just compare this to Sonic Forces, right? I didn't create an hour-long review of Sonic Forces because I hate it. No, well, I do hate Sonic Forces. I don't hate Sonic, though. I love Sonic, and I love Pokemon. I do this out of love. And obviously, a 2-hour game with Sonic characters thrown in is going to be a lot shorter than a Pokemon game. So obviously this video is going to be a lot longer because I got a lot more to talk about. Speaking of much longer, I'm going to use this section here to talk about the Pokemon DLC. Here we go! I said I was going to do this. Here I am.
Hello everyone, I'm Masuda from Game Freak. Hello, and I'm Amori, also from Game Freak. We did our best to fill these titles with fun activities so that our players could have a fulfilling experience.
No, you didn't. This game's as empty as my heart after I finished playing it. I could throw this in the bin. I do not care.
Am I seeing this correctly? Does the rock-type gym have the exact same puzzle as the ice gym? Does it have the same layout too? I think it does! Does the fighting-type gym have the same pinball shit as the ghost-type one then? It is! It's just exactly, they're both the same alternate colored puzzles, what the hell?
We've been thinking about how much we'd like it if everyone's Pokemon adventures could go on even longer, with more to dig into and new discoveries to explore.
Here comes the content that should have been in at launch, and I bet it's completely free.
We've been working on plans for some time, in fact.
I know you have. And if the game had been rushed out, I'm sure those plans would have been in it at launch. Or at least it wouldn't have had so many fucking problems.
This is why we at Game Freak are now developing the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion pass.
I'm hearing the word pass. I don't like that word. It reminds me of season pass. I don't like where this is going.
A downloadable expansion for the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield games that will be available for purchase from Nintendo eShop.
Available for purchase. Available for purchase, everybody. Bought a game not even worth $60? Fuck it, give them even more money. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? At least it's not another version. I swear to God if it's over $20. Hi there, it's me, Rad from the future, once more. I did this once previously. So after looking online, I have found out that the DLC cost is $30 American. Or for me, 50 fucking bucks. That's like 20 bucks off the price of Sonic Forces. The DLC probably has more length than Sonic Forces. Just goes to show how bad Sonic Forces is. No, what I'm trying to say here is I can go buy a better game for that amount of money. 50 fucking bucks!
Okay, this is all in the base game. What do you guys actually have to show us? Okay, some illustrations of what seems to be the new wild area. Hang on. You've seriously got no gameplay to show us. If you're gonna show something off, if you're trying to get people to buy your product, you have to show the product!
I can bet you $100 that the wild area in the actual game doesn't look anywhere near as good as these illustrations. And that's why they're simply not showing any gameplay of it. I mean, the first fucking wild area got a huge backlash. Why should they do that again? Smart move, Game Freak. Very smart move. Deceptive, but smart move.
Okay, here we have Galarian Slowpoke, which is just Slowpoke with some yellow on it. Seems to evolve into Slowbro without a shelter attached to its tail. They're trying to keep it a mystery for some reason. Guys, you have to give us at least one reason to buy the expansion pass.
Also, I'd like to point out that I was completely right in the fact that Game Freak is now locking older Pokemon behind a paywall. Or can anyone just trade for Galarian Slowpoke, no matter if they have bought the DLC or not? Because, I mean, like, they'll need the files in their game, or else they won't be able to fight against it in online battles. So let's see how that goes down, huh?
Then they focus on yet another drawing, this time what seems to be of another battle tower thing. I thought it might be a battle frontier for a second, but they really only focus on the one building, so, you know. Okay, new clothes, new hairstyles. You know, when I said I wanted hairstyles like the NPCs get, I didn't mean just rip their hair models and slap them on me. I mean making unique looking designs with more customization. I love how they're trying to show off these new clothes and get us excited and still not showing us a single minute, a single second, a single frame of how it will actually look in-game.
How much money was the pass again, Game Freak? What was it? 40, 50, 60, 100? Just take it all. Take it all. Take it all. No!
So we have the real haughty poison gym leader over here and the psychic type leader, I think. I thought he was like a steampunk style guy, but he's got the hovering Pokeballs and twisted spoon thing going on, so. Okay, now they're showing some more Pokemon models they ripped from X and Y, alright. More Pokemon locked behind a paywall. And there's Venusaur and Blastoise.
They're already in the game files. It's not even new artwork. You son of a bitch, I'm in. Okay, looks like Venusaur's got the short end of the stick again. I mean, they've been creatively bankrupt with him for years. X and Y, just give him a bigger flower. Sword and Shield, give him a bigger flower.
So it looks like the three starters are also getting Gigantamax versions.
Oh boy, that doesn't feel at all like it should have been in there from the start.
The weird thing is, none of them actually grow big. Gorilla Guy's wood grows, and that sounds wrong. Cinderace's ears seem to absorb most of the Gigantamax energy. His fireball also grows, and Italian, damn it, he gets the best one. A sniper tower, that's fucking funny. Oh shit, gameplay! Oh shit, wait. The Isle armor, hang on. Oh. Oh, not getting away that easy, Game Freak. They finally show some footage and they skip through it in like 2 seconds. I know what I saw there. Let's go back. Okay, so first up is the dojo thing we saw in the illustration earlier. That doesn't look like the same dojo. The other one had like 3 floors. What's this one doing? Also, I'd like to point out how empty this whole scene looks. It's got some cliffs, trees, grass, and the exact same muddy textures we've seen in every other area in Sword and Shield. How did they get the textures to look so bad here? I'll never understand. Okay, so the next 0.5 seconds of footage shows off a muddily textured cave with nothing interesting in it. Take my money now! Why is it so bright in here? I feel like this cave should be open to the sky with that amount of light. The reflections in the water are actually brighter than the walls. God damn it. That's not how reflections work. Next 0.5 seconds, yeah, that doesn't look anywhere near as good as the illustrations. What else can I say? The last shot is of some sort of tower that was also shown off as a piece of artwork earlier. Notice how all these small sections don't actually show off how big the area actually is, much like the initial Wild Area trailers did. In the last section, I bet if you turn the camera around, you would see the big dojo sitting there. I bet the sections they showed off here aren't even any larger in size than the first section of the Wild Area. Whoa, I actually just checked how long this gameplay section goes for. It's literally not even 2 seconds. It's 1 second, 40 milliseconds. Isle of Armor. Not impressed. Okay, so here we have another icy area being put into the game. We already have 3, but whatever, I guess. Alright, new costumes, whatever. Regice, Regirock, Registeel, and Regipaywall. And there's Regi, give us your credit card. And new forms for, of course, the red and blue bird trio. Sure! Put a focus on the Regis and then give the new forms to the Generation 1 Pokemon. Fucking hell, lucky I like the designs, especially Zapdos. The Crown Tundra. So far, what I got from this was that we're getting 2 more wild areas, each one with 1 building it, from what I've seen, and that will be our endgame. Need to remind any of you that in Gold and Silver we got a whole region as our postgame. In Emerald, an entire battle frontier. In Pearl and Diamond, a whole bunch of new areas to explore. In Black and White, another half of the map. In Black and White 2, battles against former gym leaders and characters from past games. By the way, this is me from the future. They actually laugh at you that they were gonna bring in other champions from other regions into the DLC, and they say, ha 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 ha, no we didn't. You know why? Because that means I'd have to put extra effort in, and guess what? They wouldn't even be able to use their proper teams. Despite them showing Garchomp, apparently he's not even in the DLC. Cynthia couldn't even come. A bunch of them couldn't come. I can't come when I'm playing Pokemon Sword and Shield. Need I remind any of you that X and Y didn't even have a post-game bar submissions with Looker? Or that Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire had that quite frankly insulting statue stating that the Battle Frontier was under construction? Or that the new area in Ultra Sun and Moon was simply long hallways with nothing to do in them? Even though it was stated that it was a city? This is the post-game that we would have gotten from Game Freak if they had actually been allowed to try. We should not have to pay for this. Unless, and this is a very big unless this post-game is so meaty, there's so many hours of content in it that it dwarfs any of the previous Pokemon games post-game. That should at least be expected, right? For a DLC to be more, I mean, already the game doesn't have as much of a post-game as any of the other previous Pokemon games, apart from X and Y, which is something somewhat similar. Alright, there's still 13 minutes of this direct left. We have not even been through half of it.
What did you think of this first look?
I really enjoyed it, thank you so much.
If you buy the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion pass, you'll be able to enjoy both as they're released.
I love how they still haven't mentioned anything about the price of this DLC. I mean, because if people are buying double packs, there's no way they're passing on the opportunity to rip them the fuck off.
There are 2 versions of the expansion pass. One for Pokemon Sword and one for Pokemon Shield. Different Pokemon will appear in the different versions, and you'll also run into some different people in places.
That's how they're doing it! They're actually fucking doing it! They're actually gonna rip off the people who bought both versions! They're fucking geniuses! They're actual geniuses! You know those Regis that we saw, the 2 different versions? Why one goes in Pokemon Sword, one goes in Pokemon Shield? You know those legendaries that we saw? One goes in Pokemon Sword, one goes in Pokemon Shield. The gym leaders we saw? Poison one, chuck that in Sword. The Psychic one, chuck that in Shield. There we go. The possibilities are endless. They're fucking endless. So now they say they're gonna show us concept art. They already kind of did that though. This is the exact same we've already seen as well. At least show us some new shit for fuck's sake. Okay, here's the dojo. What sort of new battle styles and modes are we gonna see here?
Okay, there's a man called Mustard.
When playing with the Pokémon Sword Expansion Pass, you'll be training with Clara. When playing with the Pokémon Shield Expansion Pass, you will be training with Avery, who is a psychic type user.
I was bang on the mark with that one! I don't want Avery, Game Freak! I don't want Avery! What, you expect me to go out and buy Pokemon Sword so I can get the other girl? I actually can't believe this. They're actually fucking doing this. Okay, now they're talking about new additions, tutor moves. That should have already been in the game like every other fucking Pokemon game. Jesus Christ, apricorns. I thought that was a Johto thing, but whatever, I like more balls. And an XP charm that gets your team more XP points. Are you fucking kidding me? I want to turn the fucking thing off! So there's also Marnie's clothes too, apparently. Great, now I can be a protagonist with no personality dressed up as an NPC with no personality.
And you'll even be able to obtain new looks for your bike.
Who gives a shit about the bike?
We hope you'll look forward to the new experiences coming in the Isle of Armor.
Well, so far you've told us that there's a dojo and nothing else about it. You've told us that there's a guy called Mustard there. And depending on our version, an NPC which doesn't even have a gym now, a new Pokemon which will most likely have a version-exclusive evolution, and some new customization items. In my opinion, that's not an experience at all. It sounds like a free update. You told us nothing about what kind of Pokemon will be there, or what kind of size of the wild area we can expect, or how many hours of gameplay we'll have, or what you can actually do in the dojo, or even how much it will fucking cost!
Next, I'd like to discuss the Crown Tundra, the second area, which has a theme of exploration.
Yeah, you said the base game had a theme of exploration too. You don't know how explorative that is.
Take a look for yourself at the beautiful scenery of this shining, silvery landscape.
Ah, yes, the beautiful scenery of the shining, silvery landscape, which isn't actually in the game. This doesn't mean shit. If you want to show off your beautiful landscapes in your game, show us the landscape in the game. I'm sure the original wild area had beautiful concept art too. Doesn't stop it from looking like a cowpat grown moldy in the sun.
You might find a strange temple where you least expect it, or maybe spy a mysterious giant tree growing in a place it doesn't seem to belong.
Fuck, man. I don't know about you guys, but I've already seen plenty of trees that look like they don't belong. Didn't realize that it was a selling point. Apparently you'll be able to go into the Pokemon dens, some holes in the ground in the wild area, okay. Okay, here's Calyrex, the new legendary Pokemon. It's got the Triforce on it. What? I mean, we already know your wild area is a rip-off of Breath of the Wild, but don't make it so obvious, Game Freak.
Get ready to experience a never-before-told story about the mysteries of Calyrex.
Is the story why he's got such a big head on that tiny bloody body? Like, not even counting the giant green thing. It's got like a regular-looking deer head and then a tiny little body with those long-ass legs coming out. What the hell is this thing?
You'll be able to meet and make allies of all kinds of legendary Pokemon during your adventures in the Crown Tundra.
Oh, okay, throwing legendaries at us again, huh? Not like they're supposed to be special or anything. Also, I'm wondering whether this co-op mode will actually be anything substantial or whether it'll just basically be a small room you can see each other in with the legendary standing at the far end.
Including ones you'll be able to catch through this co-op play.
Including? What do you mean including? I don't like the way he worded that. It makes me feel like there's a catch. They're gonna make Mew another $50 Pokeball again?
It also appears that some brand new legendary Pokemon are also waiting to be found somewhere in this land.
Brand new. So those three birds aren't just new forms for the Kanto trio? Sure.
Dozens of new clothing items will be added.
Hear that? At least 24 new customization items will be added. Wow! I am definitely expecting a high number. Speaking of, these clothes don't really look trailer ready. This one's a logo's coming off.
Both areas are in fact seamless maps, much like the wild area you can already experience in the Galar region. Where players are
more
able
gameplay!
To
Now tell me, are you really all that surprised that they used concept art to try and say how beautiful the landscape was? This looks like a PS2 game.
Players are able to move around freely and control the camera.
Oh shit, guys, we can control the camera! What a selling point!
These updates will allow people who don't have the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield expansion pass to obtain the Pokemon that appear on the Isle of Armor and in the Crown Tundra through other means, such as trading.
Oh, okay. So you can trade Pokemon from the DLC to people without the DLC. I mean, it makes sense. It's surprising. No, it's not really surprising. I mean, because otherwise there'd be a huge backlash because you wouldn't even be able to fight those people online. And I mean, the Pokemon Company's going to be trying to quell that backlash as much as they can now since the first initial reveal of all those fucking stupid shit they'll be doing in the game. Didn't stop them from selling two of the same DLC at once, though.
Okay, so Pokemon Home is coming too, and as expected, you can't bring over Pokemon that don't appear in Sword and Shield. At least it says it's a no-cost update. That's good, at least. Oh, some features require paid subscription. Is that talking about the Nintendo Online subscription or something else? Because it says some features. That doesn't ring well with me. This seems pretty shifty. If Pokemon Bank had a subscription, I bet my ass this one does too. Also, apparently going on right now, there's an update to Sword and Shield which allows you to meet the new girl Clara or the new guy Avery. For fuck's sake, I'm not even going to bother. Who the fuck wants to meet Avery? This was your one chance to get more people to buy Shield. Game Freak should have fucking used it. You're also able to catch Galarian Slowpoke. I mean, that's pretty cool. Hang on.
Galarian Slowpoke can evolve into Galarian Slowbro if you use an item that can be found on the Isle of Armor.
So what you're doing is giving us a Pokemon that we can't evolve unless we purchase the DLC packs. That's even scummier than just not giving us a Pokemon. Now, people are going to feel obliged to buy the DLC because if they want a Slowbro or Slowking on their online team, they simply can't use it until they purchase the DLC. And it's not even out yet. At the time of this recording, anyway. Not even at the time of this recording, at the time of the writing. It took a long time to get to recording this. You know why? Because it's longer than my Doki Doki video. It's fucking huge.
What did you think?
Fuck you!
Now, we looked up the patch notes to check if any of the bugs or rough areas of the game had been patched, and other bug fixes. Great, don't bother informing us what they are, sure. Apparently the glitch where you could change your Switch's time to reset a raid has been patched, but anything else? What about the freezing when climbing ladders? The FPS drops? Has the render distance in the wild area been improved? Has Ditto's animations been fixed?
Well, I guess it's up to us, Detective RadicalSoda, to figure that out. Of course they haven't.
The people are still as frozen as ever and the Pokemon are popping in and out of existence just as always. They didn't even fix that stray pixel on the flying loading screen, and somebody pointed out that there's more than one! I wonder if they fixed the mouse on the credit scene too. You'll have to figure that one out for yourselves, because I ain't playing through this one a third time. I've got a huge fucking icon on my menu now, though, screaming at me to pre-order the DLC I haven't even seen more than 5 seconds of gameplay for, so that's great.
I think this has turned out to be one of the very worst DLC packages from Nintendo that I've ever seen. And I'm saying from Nintendo because it's being sold by Nintendo to us. They have control what goes on their shop. I find it absolutely disgusting that you can pre-order something which you haven't even seen 2 seconds of gameplay for. 2 seconds. And I know other companies do this. I know EA and Activision and Ubisoft will do the season pass shit too, and they haven't even got a single second of gameplay. I'm not saying that they're any better. They're not. Just as bad. It's all just as bad as each other. But for some reason, I was holding Pokemon on a higher standard. For some reason. I don't know.
And I thought I'd point out the main counter-argument here, that being that this DLC package is better than the third version we used to get, like with Ultra Sun and Moon, Emerald, Crystal version, etc. Well, that's right, it is. It's new content and some old Pokemon being added into an existing game rather than just a small amount being added into an updated version you have to buy again. And I agree for the most part, Ultra Sun and Moon was one of the scummiest titles Pokemon has ever put out. It was barely different, and the main thing I hear from people is that they couldn't even be bothered finishing it. It was so similar. But Black and White 2, for example, and I still would have preferred an entirely new game, of course, but Black and White 2 gave us a bunch of new areas, a new story. It was a sequel, much like Final Fantasy X-2, nowhere near as different, but it was a step up at least. I think both options here are extremely scummy. None of them is better than the other, one is just less bad. I don't like this DLC model because it allows Game Freak to shave a bunch of content out and then rush out an unfinished game and then sell us what they left out at a high price. Actually, I think this DLC model is worse than the updated game, because at least if I bought Sun and Moon and not Ultra Sun and Moon, or Pearl and Diamond but not Platinum, I know at least I got a completed product, with the updated version coming out later only having small tweaks here and there, or possibly a new segment or something. Anyway, I never felt the need to buy Ultra Sun or Platinum or Yellow version, you get what I'm saying here, but I'm not saying the third version shit is good. Again, it's awful. If I could just have it my way, Game Freak would make a polished, complete, singular Pokemon game with hours upon hours of content for everyone to enjoy, and then a few years later release another one with an entirely new region, story, and Pokemon. And I think that game should be able to be played with no problem up until that point. Game Freak is part of the largest media franchise in the world. They have the resources to make something larger than Skyrim and GTA 5 combined.
Before I called this game rushed, but after further contemplation, this game's about as rushed as the spaghetti dinner. Unfinished is the word that I would use. I don't say this out of just hating Pokemon. I want it to be the best that it can be. I love Pokemon. And I realize that Sword and Shield have actually given us some really neat additions, some quality of life changes that have been needed for years. But for every step that they take forward, they take an equal amount of steps back, or even more. For every addition they add, they remove just as many, if not more. For example, adding Dynamaxing, you get rid of the Z-moves, get rid of the Mega Evolutions. Now you can change your Pokemon's nature. Well, you're taking away control of the experience share. Originally, I was going to say that I was glad that this controversy happened. You know, we've had schlock after schlock, just more and more games that don't seem to be trying anything. So an outcry is something this series needed. Otherwise, people would just keep eating it up and we would just never know, right? But after seeing this DLC and seeing the praise it's getting, seeing all these people defend it, and seeing how Game Freak still hasn't changed their tune, the Pokemon Company hasn't said anything different, nothing's changed. What was our apology? When so many people, hundreds, thousands of people, outcried that this was just not what they expected, not what we expected from the highest grossing media franchise in the world. What did they say? They said, hi, we hear you, we don't care, we're gonna go ahead with this anyway. Even when they said things that they were doing, like, for example, the National Dex, I don't really care about the National Dex all that much. It's not a huge problem to me, because generally speaking, I'm not gonna be transferring Pokemon over anyway. But I used to really enjoy that. And I thought to myself, why aren't I bothering to transfer Pokemon over anymore? Why can't I be bothered doing this? It's just because it's not worth it anymore in my eyes. What's the point? What do I get out of it? Do I get hours and hours of more fun? No, I can online battle. I can fill up the Pokédex, but what does that do? Give me a shiny charm for shinies for a game which doesn't have any content left? I thought about shiny hunting for a while, but then I realized, I can't even trade the Pokemon over, and I can't even... what's the point? What am I going to save them for? I won't even be able to use it in the next game, probably. What I'm trying to say is that for a $60 game, we sure aren't getting $60 worth of content, and that's kind of sad. Especially if you're paying $120. You sure as hell shouldn't be getting two of the same game. Like, is that not crazy to anybody else out there? It's one thing to pay $60 for a game with a small amount of content, but then it's another thing to buy a version of that game which is almost exactly the same with the same content. Why are you doing that? And if you're a kid, you don't know that they're two of the same game. You think that they're different games. They're advertised as different games. Advertised at the same time, but they're advertised as different games. This is Pokemon Sword, this is Pokemon Shield. They're completely different, but they're not. As a kid, I know specifically when I was going to play Pokemon Fire Red, I thought Leaf Green was a completely different game. This one's got Charizard, this one's got Venusaur. They're different games. They're two different games, but they're not. And I was like, that was sad, man. That was sad. It is a horrible way to deceive your audience. It is scummy to the highest level. And then it's scummy again. All of this double duo things is scummy in the first place. It's scummy to create a second version of the game. The only one that is even worth maybe being a different game is Black and White 2. If there's one thing I want you all to take away from this, is that no company is a saint. No company is always going to care about you no matter what. Even your most cherished games, your most cherished companies can fall victim to the to the unsatiable, limitless black hole. That's what I was meant to say. That is greed. And even if you think they're looking out for you, even companies that used to look out for you and used to put all that they could into each game. I specifically remember one of the directors of Pokemon Black and White talking about how his friends or his other workers were saying, are you sure? I mean, we've got enough fucking content here, mate. But he's like, no, we keep putting more and more in. Let's make this cartridge bursting with content. That's what I love to see. That's passion. That's passion behind it. I don't feel like there's any passion behind these games, and I think it's time for them to take a break. And when it's so abhorrently noticeable that there's higher-ups making decisions for low budgets and high scores, the game probably has the same budget as a Nintendo DS game. I'm sorry, but it probably does. This feels like the company said, this makes money, we're going to make a profit from it, we don't care what goes into it, it doesn't need passion, it's going to sell, we're going to sell it. And that's what happened. And we got this. So if you enjoyed this game, I really hope you did, because I won't be playing it ever again. I'll say that much.